The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink!
Stutter! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people! And welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Overreaction Monday, November 18th, 2024. This program starts now. Football is amazing, and the Week 11 Sunday slate of the NFL season delivered in a way that I don't think we've seen the NFL do in some time. We're talking about rivalry games living up to the matchup, big hype living up to the hype, and then a Sunday night football game that showcased one of our young stars and one of our teams that we've wondered, are they going to be able to be a team that can maybe win in the big moment, doing just as such. Now, there's some teams that people are saying are dead. There's some teams that are saying are going to be able to go maybe. And then there's some teams that are in a purgatory still that have the next couple weeks to figure out whether or not they're going to be contenders or pretenders, whether they're going to be champions or rebuilds. It is all in front of us. And tonight, Week 11 of the NFL season wraps up with the Dallas Cowboys on primetime football, once again taking on the Houston Texans. Now, Cooper Kush will be leading the Dallas Cowboys, who are 7-point dogs at home, to the Houston Texans, who have Nico Collins back as a weapon for C.J. Stroud to utilize and be explosive with. It should be fantastic. I believe there's a Manning cast alongside of it, and Bill Belichick will be joining us in the next hour. Adam Schefter will be joining us in about 19 minutes. There's some breaking news out of the New York Giants facility. Doesn't warrant long conversation because the team sucks.
Yeah.
But Daniel Jones getting benched. Not for Drew Lock.
No.
No, Tommy Cutlets. Tommy DeVito. He's back being a starting quarterback in the NFL for the New York Giants. Congrats to all parties over there except for Daniel Jones, I guess.
Yeah.
Not an easy decision to be made, obviously, and Daniel Jones has an opportunity to maybe restart his career elsewhere. He's already been broken off and paid very, very well, but it is Daniel Jover for the New York Giants. And I'll tell you, the 4-year, $160 million deal was certainly a topic of conversation this offseason toward the Hard Knocks whenever the GM, Shane, and the owner, Mara, were having a conversation about Saquon Barkley's future and say, well, we got to figure out whether or not we paid this quarterback $40 million for a good reason or not. Well, it was very apparent that everybody thinks that that was a waste of money. Now, Daniel Jones, I assume, is a great guy. I've seen him play flip cup before out of Duke with a big brain. Sure. We've seen a resurgence of a lot of quarterbacks that have stunk early and then come back on different teams and play well. Maybe Daniel Jones will be one of those guys, but now Tommy DeVito. The Paisan Prince is returning to action for the New York Football Giants. Doesn't matter. Nope. But we're pumped for Tommy Cutlets. At one point, trending in the United States on X was Tommy DeVito, number 4. Tommy Cutlets at number 5 right there behind them. We hope this will bring some electricity to the Giants fans who've obviously had to suffer through watching Saquon Barkley go absolutely bonkers for the Philadelphia Eagles in the same division, in the same conference, at the same time whenever the Eagles are going to the sky and the Giants are going down to the pits of hell. Now, Diana Rossini, formerly of ESPN, now working for the New York Times, The Athletic, says, Daniel Jones' best friend was Saquon Barkley. He's watching him go to a new place and have much success. Look out for Daniel Jones. And we all assumed immediately, Diana, we're big fans, but comparing Daniel Jones to Saquon Barkley is a bananas thing to do, which is why we all wondered why they picked Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley in New York, which is exactly what they're probably still doing to this moment. Now, enough with this. This conversation's Daniel Jover. Let's talk about the Sunday slate. Let's go to one half of the Hammer Dahn Cowboys Cowboys, AP tone. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, old school rivalry, old school tradition. Two teams that play very similar to each other.
Yep.
We're going to be physical. We're going to be smart. We're going to be known as a tough football team, doing battle once again. Now, there were some stats that we learned going into this particular game, especially with the Steelers being 3.5-point dogs at home. 3.5-point favorites in this particular rivalry have gone like 2-18-2 or something like that against the spread. John Harbaugh, as a favorite of 3 points or more in this rivalry, had gone 0-10-2 against the spread. 3.5 points, way too many points in this particular rivalry. I think we knew that was going to happen, and that's exactly how the game played out. AP Tone, your team is sitting very, very pretty. Russell Wilson's winning games. And Chris Boswell, your kicker, even though every other kicker in the AFC North yesterday had a case of the shanks, Chris Boswell goes 6 for 6 to win this game. No touchdowns needed. We're just going to score 18 points off of Boswell's toe. Had some Hembo stats sent over to me here in the last few moments. Chris Boswell is the only kicker in the NFL history to hit 6 field goals in a game more than twice. He's done it 4 times. Okay, in 2016, Week 15, they beat Cincinnati off of that 6 field goals. 2017, divisional round, they beat Kansas City off of him hitting 6 field goals. That seems like so long ago. 2017, beating Kansas City in the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers did that. 2024, Week 1 against Atlanta, Boz hit 6 field goals. They beat him. If you do recall, TJ Watt ended that game 1-1. And then just yesterday, in the rivalry game for the Pittsburgh Steelers of the AFC North, fighting for supremacy, not only of the North, but of the entire AFC. Boswell goes 6 for 6. Russ almost in the fourth quarter with that pick with about 9 minutes left or whatever, gives away, but instead gets a big-time win. Where do Steelers fans sit right now, and what are your thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens after the game?
Yeah, if the offense doesn't get in the end zone, we're going to get 3 points off of Chris Boswell's toe.
That's from a song.
That is from a song. That's a Super Bowl song, and that's how I'm feeling today, Pat. 8-2 sitting atop the AFC North, 2 games up on the Baltimore Ravens. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. In this rivalry, the last 8 games, neither team has scored more than 20 points. Okay, the last 8 games. This is always a defensive affair. So what's going to come down? It's going to come down to turnovers, which the Steelers got 3 of them to the Ravens 1. It's going to come off of special teams. Tucker misses 2 kicks. Boswell obviously just said 6 of 6. Time of possession, the Steelers had 36 minutes time of possession to the Ravens 23. Was it great on either side on offense? No, the Steelers went 4 of 17 on 3rd and 4th down, but the defense was unbelievable on every single level. Obviously, you see Patrick Queen, who we brought over from the Ravens, I
didn't know the big storyline was, I didn't know this was the case. I guess I learned this yesterday. I should have known this at the time. Baltimore did not offer Patrick Queen anything.
Nope.
They basically just offered him trash, because whenever he came to the Steelers, he said, I was supposed to be a Steeler. I thought the entire thing was he picked the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Baltimore Ravens. Then it was very clear yesterday the way they were telling the story and the narrative was like, they didn't want Patrick Queen. Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin says, come on home.
Get in here.
Come on home. And he certainly showed up in a massive way for the Steelers.
And he fits in so unbelievably. He made the play. Defensive line, Herbig making plays, Cam Hayward making plays, TJ Watt making plays, Peyton Wilson, the rookie out of NC State, who doesn't have any ACLs, so he fell to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he is perfect. Obviously, making the interception there, which was unbelievable after the Russ pick. In the secondary, Joey Porter Jr. was awesome. It was just an incredible defensive effort. And then you talked about it. Now, dogs are 3+ points or more in this rivalry. 19-2-3. Harbaugh is 0-11-2. Pittsburgh has won 8 of the last 9 against the Ravens. Feels good to be a Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, and let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, this is a game that, Derrick Henry didn't do much early, had a fumble. TJ Watt blows him up in the third quarter. A lot of people wondering why he wasn't on the field for the 2-point conversion that inevitably would have tied it up at the end. I don't know if you can really take this game and utilize it as something to judge the rest of the season. And that's what real rivalries are. And this is an actual real rivalry. I am pumped that it showed up the way that it did. I think these two teams are going to go on and have great seasons. I'm excited to see who ends up where. Now, speaking of that, in the AFC, we now have no undefeated teams left.
Damn.
I saw 1972 Dolphins pouring some drinks out, doing their thing. They're the only team that is still undefeated for an entire season all the way through the Super Bowl. Now the Kansas City Chiefs have suffered their first loss to the Buffalo Bills. Now, if you do recall with the Buffalo Bills-Kansas City Chiefs rivalry that has obviously blossomed between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, during the regular season, the Bills win this game. Okay, that is, they're undefeated in the regular season. In the playoffs, though, It's the other way. Chiefs undefeated against the Bills. So a lot of people are going to say, what does that mean? What does it mean? Well, I don't think yesterday's game was indicative of the previous past and records. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs had some flaws, okay? I think all season we had seen them. They have a loss to a very good Buffalo Bills team. Hopefully that'll maybe make them fix that. But for the Buffalo Bills, this Josh Allen guy, and I talked about it after getting a chance to watch him and what a signing Amari Cooper was. Go and get him at the trade deadline. So smart by Brandon Beane, who's an absolute dog, always going to make his team better. But watching Josh Allen in person, you really get to experience it. It's like an aura that comes from him. There's a moxie and a confidence that radiates from his body all the time. And with how big he is, how fast he is, and what that team has become, which is, hey, this is Josh Allen's team. We're going to build around him. We're going to trade some players out of here. We're going to have to overhaul our roster. We might not know everybody, but we'll make superstars because our quarterback is capable of doing as such. He definitely did that yesterday. And it all came down to a 4th and 2 with the Buffalo Bills being up 2 and having an opportunity to kick a field goal, very much in Tyler Big Ball Bass's range, even though he's got to start making all his kicks too. There's a lot of missing going on. Instead, they go for it on 4th and 2, and Josh Allen does something that only Josh Allen can do. Now, there is a runner in Indianapolis, a quarterback, who probably do something similar in showcase that yesterday, but watching Josh Allen lead this win yesterday, watching Josh Allen play the way that he's played, watching this Buffalo Bills team get over the proverbial hump against a team that they now know they are definitely better than. So if they run into them in the playoffs, maybe they'll be able to beat them. But what did you learn yesterday, 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler, about this Buffalo Bills team and Josh Allen that maybe we didn't know going into the week?
You know what? I wouldn't say I necessarily learned anything new going into the week because we knew he was a special player. You talked about the regular season success against the Chiefs over the years. Knew he was kind of right there. If Lamar faltered, he could jump right up and be at the top of that MVP ladder. And the thing about Josh, man, it doesn't matter who's been in there. Like Dalton Kincaid, he's been one of his biggest weapons. He's out. Keon Coleman, he's been coming along as a rookie. He's out. Coop gets back in the lineup. Shakur just catches everything he throws to him. So whoever he has around him, he's going to elevate that game, and that's what you always want at that quarterback position. Got a great offensive line, good run game. So they have all the pieces in the defense. The defense kept this Chiefs offense in check, which, a lot of defenses it seems have been able to do that this year, but it seems like every time, as soon as the game, it's a one-possession game.
Matters.
Okay, they need a touchdown. Boom, they drive down and score, and you thought that would happen again. But for Josh to just put the team on the back, pull out that cape, have that unbelievable touchdown. I mean, you talked about the guy we have here. That you're looking at Josh Allen. That's who you want, AR5 to become.
Everything to your point about Patrick Mahomes being able to do whatever he wants whenever he has to. We all remember the 13-second thing, but that's the reason why that was called right there.
Yep.
4th and 2 in field goal range. 2 minutes left. Go up 5.
Love it.
Okay, go up 5. Touchdown losers, but don't have to worry about a field goal with the new kicker in there anyways. But don't have to worry about a field goal. Instead, McDermott says, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
I know what this is going to be. We are going for this, and Josh Allen shows up for him. Now, let's talk about some stats that Hembo sent over. The last 5 seasons since 2020. Most 2 touchdowns games. Okay, throwing 2 touchdown games. Josh Allen has 65 of them. Patrick Mahomes has 53 of them. Most 3 touchdown games. Josh Allen has 38 of them. Patrick Mahomes has 28 of them. You're talking about the 2 leaders in performing for their teams, battling here in a Week 11 showdown in Buffalo, and the Bills Mafia showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
I enjoyed that CBS kickoff show being in front of their crowd.
Great.
I enjoyed everything about the atmosphere, and I appreciate the fact that these Buffalo Bills and Brandon Beane not only trying to get better all throughout the season, but they got this. They got something about them.
Moxie.
And you saw a lot of people tweeting it like, hey, if your team sucks, I think I saw Ryan Whitney of Spittin' Chicklets, NHL legend. He said, if your team sucks and is already out of it, and the Buffalo Bills aren't the team you're cheering for, you're wrong. That is the team to get behind. They're fun. They're physical. They seemingly answer all the questions the right way after the game. Everything they say is that. And they're built to go ahead and win. Congrats to the Buffalo Bills getting a big-time win.
Hell yeah. And they've never...
Congrats to the Pittsburgh Steelers getting a massive win. I think you were going to say they've never won.
Yeah.
We don't need to rain on their delay right now.
That's a fun team to get behind if a team that's never won something you want to, versus like getting behind the Chiefs.
They win their first one.
Agreed, yeah.
Cool.
Now, granted, I do think they've been hyped as a good team for a few years, so people are still going to call you bandwagon, but who cares? You're going to have a blast. Josh Allen makes every game entertaining, more so in years past because he was just turnover heavy. This year it's different.
No.
He's a different player.
Locked in.
It is fun to watch that. Buffalo Bills team, and good luck to the Kansas City Chiefs bouncing back. Get the weight of the undefeated season off.
Yeah, exactly.
Weight of the undefeated season off for sure. So Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Ravens in that rivalry game. Buffalo Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs in that rivalry game. Let's go to like the oldest rivalry in the NFL. Green Bay Packers get a massive win over the Chicago Bears. Now, the Chicago Bears have a brand new offense coordinator. Thomas Brown, remember, was put in place for Shane Waldron, who was fired last week. What is that going to do? And then there was a report from Albert Breer. Well, Caleb Williams, this guy doesn't have a brain. So doesn't know how to do a huddle, doesn't know how to do a center quarterback exchange, doesn't know how to do a meeting. And it's like, I wonder where Albert's hearing all these things. Okay, there was an offense coordinator that was literally just fired a couple days before that. We're not saying that's a definite, but maybe somebody from that world told Albert, because we know Albert's tied in. So we wonder what the rest of the season was going to look like. How many changes could be made? Well, Chicago Bears looked pretty damn good. Caleb Williams played his best game. I think they've made him more on schedule. They made it much easier for him. I think they showed up for him, and they knew you beat the Packers in the way this season has gone. That's quite a morale boost for every Bears fan and Bears worker in that entire building. Swift goes crazy in this entire game. But in the end, winners win, losers lose. Packers up 2019 in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams does everything he has to do to get them into field goal range. With where that ball was spotted, right there is now a 46-yard field goal. There's 30 seconds left on the clock. The big debate was, they should have won for more yards.
Come on. More yards.
They should have won for more yards.
Run it again.
46-yarder. If you get that to 44 yards, his percentage is much higher. They were saying under 45-yard kicks how he does versus over 45-yard kicks how he does. Has a 53-yarder earlier in this day. 30 seconds left. You get well within the field goal line. You're playing the Green Bay Packers, whose defense has been very good. It's going to be hard for me as Eberflus not to be like, all right. We send a field goal operation out there now.
Winning football.
Exactly. We're way within range of where he should be. Make the kick is what they're thinking. But what they didn't know is that the Green Bay Packers, all week with Rich Bisaccia as special teams coordinator, he said yesterday, or the day before the game, I guess, to the team, he would be surprised if they didn't block a kick because of how low Cairo Santos' ball trajectory is. Now, let's break down this particular fundamental flaw. Okay, now there was a couple rules that were certainly bent a little bit. Not supposed to be able to blow up the center. Not supposed to be able to have people pushing each other either. Go ahead, play it a little bit. Let's go ahead, play. Yep. Play. Stop that thing. Okay, so the snapper is the one bent over right in the middle with three guys around him. Okay, I don't think you're supposed to be able to just blow him up, but I guess there is rules expert Schefter will maybe be able to tell us more from that entire thing. But this is a technique that is also practiced. Drive, 3 steps, arms up, okay? Because if you look at the physics, or is it geometry maybe? Maybe it's geometry. Flight trajectory, where it's supposed to be. If you're able to get to it and you are in line with where the field goal is, you're obviously going to hit the ball. Green Bay Packers' attention to detail, beautiful. The physicality they're showcasing at the point of attack, which is right over the center, which once again, I don't know if that's legal or not. But I have no idea. They executed perfectly. They get a hand on the rock. That's a block kick. The Green Bay Packers win on a walk-off blocked field goal. Has to be the first time in NFL history where back-to-back weeks a game is won on walk-off blocked field goals. But it's the attention to detail. It's winners win, losers lose. And you talk about Hail Mary to the Chicago Bears a couple weeks ago. Now you got a blocked kick up the gut to lose for the Chicago Bears. They have to assume that the football gods are just working against them at this point. But maybe on the flip side, the football gods are working for the Green Bay Packers. Let's go to an owner of the Green Bay Packers, one half of the toxic table, at Ty Schmidt. Big win over a rivalry, pub. Big win over a rivalry, bub.
Yeah, it was huge. And I mean, I did on Friday, like I felt, 5.5 with everything that's being said about the Bears. It was like, all right, it is still a rivalry game. Granted, the Packers had won 10 in a row, 11 in a row now. But then before kickoff, I started getting even more nervous because, they had the shot of Brady on the field with Caleb Williams talking to him a bunch of times. And then the quote came out that said, Caleb Williams in the team meeting kind of addressed everybody and, apologized for basically being the reason that, Waldron got fired. So it's taking some accountability. It kind of just added up to oh, here we go. The Bears are going to play their best game of the season. And then the opening drive, the Packers went right down the field and scored, and it was okay, they're going to beat the shit out of them like they should do. But for whatever reason, offense just didn't look great. Jordan Love, another red zone interception, which obviously you'd like to see those get cleaned up. But like you said, I mean, ultimately, they did not play well. They probably shouldn't have won the game, but good teams find a way to win when they're not playing well. And this was massive for the Packers because they're 2 games up now in terms of like the playoffs, and they also jumped Washington, so they're the 6th seed right now. If they like their percentages to make the playoffs, winning this game as opposed to losing it, skyrocketed. So it was huge, and yesterday actually was the first day in a while where Jordan Love looked healthy. It's like, okay, the quad, or not the quad, the ankle isn't an issue anymore. The groin isn't the issue anymore. So I think, same deal. Like years past, Packers don't block that field goal. They just don't. The Bears make that, they lose, and then you're on Monday. It's like, okay, what the hell happened? We did it again. But that's why it does feel like this team might be a little bit different.
Now, to your point, the Bears are in the position that a lot of teams have been in where they lose the heartbreakers. Okay, the Bears are now 5-17 in one-score games under Matt Eberflus since 2022.
Gee.
That's the worst record in the NFL over that span. And we'll talk about the primetime game last night where it feels like the Chargers might have exercised some demons in the middle of the game and also over the last couple of years about losing those ones you're supposed to win. But if we go back to that field goal block, we have a side view here. Not only did they go right over top of the center, they also pushed. I mean, it's just. It was a great play. It was an absolutely great play by Rich Bisaccia. And and we get a push. Look at that. Can we put this here? Yeah. So this guy is the reason why this gets blocked.
That's a big no-no. Huh?
So they have 1, 2, 3. Go ahead. Here we go. So it's a 1, 2, 3 up rule. That is basically the rule. 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 up. Go ahead, play. Pause. Go ahead, keep going. Pause. So he's there, okay? Look where that is right now. Watch what old buddy here does. Ball is here, okay? 1, 2, 3 up. He's doing everything perfectly. This guy's about to get his arm up too. Go ahead and play that thing now. He moves the whole pile, pushes him into him, up into the back of it. It's like, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm certainly wondering about some things. And once again, I don't know if they eliminated the push just from a pre-snap alignment because guys used to go.
Line up.
There used to be 2 dudes on each of the shoulders of long snappers, and then there would be a guy standing behind each of those dudes. So 6 dudes over the long snapper's shoulders, and the guy in the back would just be hands on cheeks, pushing ass. It was tush push through, and then the 1, 2, 3 is all they were trying to do. And long snappers were just getting destroyed. I mean, just absolutely destroyed. So then there was some rule changes made where they had to go outside, but they were still allowed to loop in. Then there were some rule changes. You're not even allowed to be in the frame of the long snapper. And then I think it got to the point where it was like you're not even allowed to touch the long snapper. They touched them and they pushed, but I don't know if it's if they did it legally with the rule that it currently is, because it has changed numerous times. Because what it used to be to then what it became to what it is now, I'm not 100% sure of all of them. We should have looked into that beforehand, but that's great work by the Green Bay Packers special teams, Rich Bisaccia. And once again, they pushed the entire pile. So
isn't it a ref right behind there?
You can see him.
Yeah, there are 2 of them.
Yeah,
I feel like that push always gets called.
The push is actually the biggest problem. That was like the first thing that was eliminated, let alone like
over the long snapper. Like I feel like today in these, as long as you don't line up over them, if you get pushed into that direction, you're normally okay. But the push from like Van Ness, I feel like gets called a ton.
Yeah, hell of a play though. Hey, listen, winners win.
That's right.
Bingo.
He made no bones about it either. Like post game, they asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, Carl told me, hey, give me a little push." So I made sure I did. So,
make him call it.
What's the worst case scenario? You get a penalty? They can, whatever.
That was a great block. 2 weeks in a row. Now they got walk-off field goal blocks, and let's talk about the primetime game, shall we?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we love the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. We would like to proclaim that. There is no hashtag journalistic standards. Do those exist? Whenever it comes to judging whether or not we like Jim Harbaugh as a whole, we love him. As soon as he becomes the head coach of the Chargers, we immediately think this guy's going to change the culture. This guy's going to flip this team around. And if you follow the Chargers over the last couple of years, not as closely as Chargers fans, obviously, we haven't, but we have somebody on our program, and also we have been a massive fan of Justin Herbert since his days at Oregon. We love this dude. The more we learned about him, the more we liked him. He grew up in his house. His parents would clear out the furniture in the living room, and they would actually tape uprights onto the wall. And they would play pickup football in the middle of the snow in their house, and they would have to kick extra points in their living room. When you're talking about loving ball, Justin Herbert and Herbert family love ball. Great personality, doesn't showcase a lot. Super humble, hardworking, but that Chargers franchise over the last few years for the beginning of his career, kind of crap.
Yeah, they stunk.
Kind of crap.
Yep.
They would lose the games that they were supposed to win. They'd be in the lead to win games, and they would just give it away. Insert last night. Cincinnati Bengals come to town. Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers would cook early. We're talking dime after dime after dime. We're talking about having the time of your life on Sunday Night Football for a half for the Los Angeles Chargers. They would go into halftime with about a 3-score lead. He'd be throwing things like that. Quentin Johnson, by the way, congratulations to you.
Yep.
People were talking a lot of shit about you.
Yep.
You've become a massive weapon for this Chargers team. And Justin Herbert showcase. And look at this long-ass run. No sell it. Ball back, walk it off, keep it cool.
Next play.
This is who I am. Justin Herbert has been a phenomenal leader for this team. J.K. Dobbins has been a great addition to this team, not only here, but at the very end of the game. Then it would get to the third quarter, and all hell would break loose. A 21-point deficit would basically be eliminated by Joe Burrow and an offense that would show up and crush. All of a sudden, Chargers fans are starting to get PTSD. Oh, no, we're the same old Chargers. Oh, no, this is the Chargers of the past couple years. Oh, no, another primetime game in which we're supposed to win, we should win, we could win, but we're just going to let guys get wide ass open and we're going to lose again. Joe Burrow would lead the Cincinnati Bengals all the way back to a tie, and then what would happen? Well, what I was talking about yesterday morning on NFL Game Day Morning is the Harbaugh effect would be felt for the first time for the Chargers fans. In a game in which they could have given up, in a game in the past in which they would have lost, in a game that Chargers fans would be saying on Monday morning, we suck again. They come back and win this thing. They had to battle through adversity. Ladd McConkey goes for 2 completions for 55 yards on this final drive. And then J.K. Dobbins, when I assume they were just trying to get in field goal position for Cameron Dicker, ends up taking it to the absolute crib. This is Harbaugh being... J.K. Dobbins is so fast, so quick. Get off me. Get off me. This is Harbaugh being the guy that we all thought he was going to be, coming in and cultivating a culture of winning. And although Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals offense has done fantastic, they're out of it. They stink. This year is going to be jotted down as an L for the Cincinnati Bengals team. But for the Chargers, it's the complete opposite. Joining us now is a Michigan man who obviously got to experience Michigan man Jim Harbaugh's rise as the Michigan Wolverines head coach all the way to a national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, senior insider for the NFL for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Yeah, Shefty.
Shefty, how you doing, pal?
How's everybody doing? I'm glad you started on Jim Harbaugh, Pat, because first of all, we've seen the job that he's done there in LA. He's been unbelievable, which surprises nobody who knows him. And it also allows me to pump up something that our network has spent a lot of time on, because during the owners' meetings, when we were together there, outside that little meeting room, remember we did that little sit-down with Jim and John Harbaugh back in March?
Yeah.
It was like 35 minutes of mirth and merriment, and then I went to Ann Arbor on the day that the Jets decided to make the head coaching change and spend a day with his lovely parents, Jackie and Jack, and we had an unbelievable time. And so ESPN's put together all this stuff, and we've worked on it for months now. And it's going to start airing on the network this week. We're going to do like a 30-minute primetime special. It'll be on ESPN Plus, all about the Harbaughs, the brothers. Some really, really funny stories that I didn't know.
That's amazing. And I assume the people at ESPN NFL who put this together have enough of a brain to understand that they should put that on YouTube as well and social media platforms so that people will be able to see it.
I'll let you tell them what they should do. I don't know any stuff about that. You're much better in that area than I am. But I appreciate your input, and I will certainly pass it along. And if you want to say that as well, that's great.
Okay, I'll put the word in. Let's definitely make sure people can find this, because we assume this is going to be fantastic, because we were right outside the room.
Yep.
And literally right outside the room before, during, and after your conversation with him. And the vibes from the Harbaughs were
immaculate,
wide open. I think you got a lot out of them, I assume, because they seem to be chatty. They seem to be very chatty.
Jovial.
Whenever we're down there, very jovial. I can't wait to watch it. And let's talk about that Chargers team. Last night was a night in which they lose. That is just a heartbreaking loss for the Chargers normally. That is how it's been for the Chargers.
Yeah.
And that's just the matter of the fact. That's a reality of the situation. But instead, they're able to battle through the adversity, win that game. J.K. Dobbins goes bananas. Herbert goes bananas. What are your expectations? What are expectations around the league for this Chargers team? You know, because D-Butch said, you know, why not? They'll win a Super Bowl this year. I think a lot of people thought this was going to take a little bit. Feels like it's happening right now with them, Shefty.
I think this is a team that people are sleeping on. I think that they are good enough to stand with the Giants in the AFC and play with any of them. And
the big, not the New York Giants, not the New York Giants, like the
big dogs.
The big, yeah. The good teams is what you said, man. Yeah.
They have the ability to stand with the Giants in the AFC, with the AFC Giants, with the standout teams in that particular conference, and play with any of them. Justin Herbert is as good as anybody. We haven't given him the attention. He hasn't been healthy. They haven't won. There's been a whole host of factors, and that's why this organization hired Jim, to change the culture, to get the team playing the way that it has this season. Would it surprise anybody if this team was good enough to go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs or any team this postseason? No. Could Justin Herbert make a push here for the MVP? Absolutely. Could this team play with anybody and have a deeper postseason run than anybody Yeah. And that's Jim. That's what he does. He goes in, he changes the culture. Like the Chargers, I think we all could agree. They were a team that always has been soft. They folded under pressure. They had tons of injuries. They just weren't reliable. And it just feels like Jim has changed the culture, the narrative, the expectations, everything. And they were able to prevail last night. Another tough loss for the Bengals, but the Chargers are going in the right direction. I expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to be able to make some noise.
I think Bill Belichick said it last week whenever I said, doesn't every football team want to be tough and physical? He goes, no. And he starts thinking about he starts talking about the decisions that teams have made or franchises have made whenever they made changes. And he said, then look what the Harbaugh did. Instead of losing any of their high cash, high cap hit interior people, they got rid of Keenan, they got rid of Mike, they got rid of everybody on the outside. They keep Khalil, who's out, they keep Bosa, and then they use Alt as their top 10 pick. It's like, that was a very big message. They're like, hey, we're going to be a tough team, we're going to be a physical team, and then Harbaugh's in there shirtless in khakis lifting every single day. It's like, this is who we are. I think Herbert loves it. I think we're seeing the best Justin, and congrats, and I'm happy for the Chargers, man. I am happy for the Chargers.
You know what? You go back to the draft. I remember all these mock drafts coming out, and a lot of people were mocking a wide receiver there because they didn't have a great wide receiver. A lot of people felt, and they felt like the Chargers, that would be a natural at number 5 to go Marvin Harrison Jr. if he felt there, or Malik Nett. And I just think when you spoke to people inside football, you look at who Jim has been, what he's like. He's not going wide receiver with his first pick. He's going big man. He said it himself after the draft. We view offensive linemen as weapons. He drafted a weapon of mass destruction. And Joe Wall, that's what he did. It was what he was always going to do, I think.
So I think the video came from the Chargers social team. Joe Alt and his dad show up.
Bingo, yeah.
And Jim goes, wow. Who's taller? You guys stand back to back?
Back to back.
And he's doing they're standing back to back like this with their head. And he goes, I think Joe's got you by a little bit. Just such a hardball move. I would assume in the scouting process, as soon as Harbaugh saw this with Joe Alt, I like this guy for Justin, because we know how he feels about Justin Herbert. Like we've obviously all heard how it is. Justin, wait till you see the guy I got you. He's the biggest human. He's big. His dad, guess his dad, almost as big. Just a lineage of big people was coming to protect.
He was too big.
People are gonna be able to get under him, is what they thought. That has not been the case at all. Go ahead.
Hey Pat, we're coming on. It's 12:32 on a Monday, so we're roughly 10 minutes into the start of this. We've been talking to Chargers. I'm curious, when's the last time you had this much Charger talk on a Monday morning?
So I just want to let you know, we cover the Chargers over here.
Okay, I didn't say you did.
Yeah,
This positive though.
It was bad news.
Yeah, it was always bad. It was always bad. It was always like, the Chargers are so good. Justin Herbert's so good. The team's so cool, but they lose again. Maybe guy stays in bounds when they don't have any timeouts and they run out of time.
Fourth down.
Maybe a fourth down goes for it and they choose to do something. Maybe they go out of bounds instead of staying in bounds. Team gets ball back and comes back the other way. It's like there was just a comedy of errors for that Chargers team every time they were set up to win. Now they're winning those games. And on the flip side, Cincinnati Bengals, Shefty.
Oh, no.
Cincinnati Bengals. What's going on over there? Is it Jover over there? Because Obviously, T. Higgins has a big game.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow has had a massive game, seemingly every single game he has played. Defense, they can't do anything. What do you think happens with the Bengals going forward? And we know how that Brown family operates as the Bengals ownership. This is obviously a massively disappointing year for this team. I don't think anybody expected this, including us, including Joe. What do you think the conversation is in Cincinnati about what the future looks like for the Bengals?
Well, I think there's a short term and a long term, right? And I think that they're focused in on the short term. What I would say would be that at 4-7, despite this being a disappointing season, I mean, they're competing, I think, for one playoff spot. It looks like you come down to Denver, Cincinnati, Miami, some teams making a push for that final spot. And the interesting part about it is I think there wouldn't be a team out there that would want to face the Bengals. Like, that's a dangerous football team. And especially when they got the two wideouts out there together, Chase and Higgins, like, they just seem so formidable. And they didn't get it done last night, and they've had tough losses this year. I still think they're capable of making a playoff push. It's getting late early there. They have the bye this week. They got to sit on that loss for 2 weeks. But they got a chance to make a push down the stretch here. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. But they still could do it. And if they can make the playoffs somehow, I think that's another team that can make some noise. But they got some work to do and some catching up to do before they could even get there.
Agree. They have heartbreaking loss seemingly now. That's their thing, alongside many others. But McPherson got to start making those kicks too. Come on, money. Come on, money, Mac. The AFC North kickers did not do well yesterday, other than Chris Boswell. Let's talk about a team that didn't do well. Yesterday, Detroit Lions were favored by the most in the history of Detroit Lions football over a team against Jacksonville Jaguars. 14-point favorites whenever that thing kicked off in Detroit. They covered by like 5X against this Jacksonville Jaguars team that's seemingly absolute crop unless they're playing the Indianapolis Colts in Jacksonville. Going into the game, the conversation was like Peterson, Balky are on very thin ice here. Then they get their asses beat in front of all of Detroit Rock City by the brand new Lions. Where do we stand there? And how come nobody's bringing up chief football strategist Tony Khan? Is he also on a hot seat down there in Jacksonville? And what does the future look like in Jacksonville?
Well, look, change is coming to Jacksonville. We just don't know whether it's going to be today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or when the season ends. Now is obviously a natural time to look at it. And to my knowledge, there haven't been any decisions made. I would think that at some point today, there may be some conversations between the owner, Shad Khan, the head coach, Doug Peterson. I think that there's a feeling in the building right now where everybody is anxious, uncertain, nervous about what's going to happen. Would you be surprised if something happened today? No. Would you be surprised if something happened tomorrow? No. Like, something's coming. That was a horrendous performance. It was the worst loss in franchise history. It was an organizational failure. When you're looking at those types of issues, you know that there are going to be decisions that have to be made and changes that take place. So the only question is, when does that happen? And the bye week always is a natural time for those types of things. Again, the players, I think, are going to be leaving the building about 1:30, so about an hour from now. We'll see if anything comes out of there today. So far, it's been quiet. So far today.
Was it Florio? Who was it that that tied him and Belichick?
Florio.
Florio. And obviously, Florio has been around the game a long-ass time. He's part of Football Night in America, so he talks to a lot of people before his reports. They were saying Balky, I think he reported that Balky might be safe because Bill Belichick might be the one that they're actually looking at to go down there in Jacksonville. And Balky and Belichick worked together in 1906.
Oh.
1906 or 96. I forget which one. Either way, it feels like about a similar length of time in there. Whenever you think about who's going to lead the future down there, it's all the same contenders, or is there anybody that we could potentially link to anybody? And once again, is the chief football strategist potentially in trouble down there in Jacksonville?
Yeah, that sounded like one of those splashy Sunday night things that, I don't know, Bill Belichick, I don't know, that he's waiting around to go to work
Florio.
with Trent Baalke right now.
We love you, Florio. We love you. We love you. We love you. But go ahead.
I think right now, again, I don't think anybody is safe in Jacksonville. And again, they have to sort it out and figure out what they're going to do and who's going to be in and who's going to be out. But I think, again, when there's an organizational failure, the likes of which experienced, everybody right now is under the microscope.
Tony Khan. Jeez.
Make some changes.
Well, he had that broken neck at draft night. I think that could have been an indicator.
Yeah.
You know, he took that Tony Khan driver the night before the draft or whatever, and he's making calls with a neck brace on to free agents, and now they're the worst football team in the NFL. Who would have thought?
His dad did say this is the best roster we've ever assembled.
Well, I think that's because chief football strategists potentially put numbers down. It's like, I hope for the good of the Jacksonville fans and for the good of Shad Khan, who has invested a lot. This guy wants a winner. This guy, I mean, you're talking about rebuilding up the stadium, talking about rebuilding up a city, talking about paying whoever. It's like, I hope for his sake they get a winner at some point. But boy, it has been an abysmal situation.
For that report to come out, before Sunday, and then for them to show up and play like that as an organization, like that was a bad. I mean, at least Tony showed up. At least he had the brace.
Yeah, you're right.
The dog, he showed some grit. If the guy showed up and had some grit, that was
you're right.
That was bad. I mean, obviously the Lions are a wagon, and Jared Goff is he back in the MVP conversation? Because I heard
he was never out of it.
Yeah, well,
I don't know
you're an
about
AP voter, I guess, so that would be in your world. But there were certainly people who were saying, you throw 5 picks in one game, you can't be considered MVP. Well, the next week he has another perfect game.
Yeah.
Congrats to Goff.
Congrats to
Hell yeah, Goff.
Congrats to Detroit Lions showing up and doing what they're supposed to do. That's not what the old Lions would have done. That would have been a close one in their letter.
7 possessions, 7 touchdowns. I've watched a lot of bad football in my life as a Detroit Lions fan. I've never seen a team worse than the Jags yesterday.
Well, I don't know if you saw the Colts-Jets game. I mean, there was a lot of conversation around that as well. Schefter, let's talk about another team that isn't playing as good as we potentially thought they were, unless you have some news to break.
Here's one final little factoid on that game, just so you know about the Jaguars Lions. It's just a little afterthought here. I thought it was kind of interesting. Somebody said the Lions yesterday had 38 first downs and no punts. 38 first downs and no punts.
Damn.
That's playing against air, brother.
Hey, and their punter's great.
Yeah, I would argue they only had 3 negative plays the whole time. It was insane.
That's awesome. What a performance.
That if you had ever punted for this Lions team, that would have been the best job you ever had.
Yeah,
the best job you ever had.
Yeah, and a lot of people think like the punter, like when I was punting for the Colts, jog off the field before a game, you're going to have no punts today, bud. As if they were shit-talking me. It's like, that means I'm going to have a great night tonight.
Yeah.
We are going to have, I'm here to celebrate. I'm here to have a good time. Jack Fox is a dog. Maybe they should put him at quarterback in the fourth quarter late to get that guy some reps.
I like that.
So he can feel like he's a part of it. 38 first downs. You can't even script that in practice.
That's nuts.
You can't even script that in practice to go that well. And the Jags happen to be on the other side of it. Once again, the Jags are only good against the Indianapolis Colts. Everybody else seems like it's a dub. Good luck, Duval. You guys don't deserve this. You don't deserve it.
It'll get better.
Let's get to a team that isn't playing anywhere near what we thought they were going to play. And I am starting to worry a little bit. Conman has a question for you.
Yeah, Schefter, yesterday the 49ers in a game that kind of everybody would have thought maybe they do squeeze it out somehow, kind of the opposite of the Chargers effect of recent memory. They lose to the Seahawks after a Jonnu Smith touchdown with 13 seconds left. Obviously, no Kittle, so they were a little banged up. But is it time to start worrying about the 49ers a little bit? They're last in the division, even though the division's very, very close. What's going on over there, and do you think they're going to be able to figure it out here?
I think it was time to start worrying about the 49ers all season long. They have not been the same team. It's just been a challenge all year long. Like things continue not to go right for this team, and it's like all the injury breaks that they've gotten in other years, they don't get this year. Like Nick Bosa goes out of the game yesterday with a new hip injury. Geno has time down the stretch. He's running around making things happen. They've ill-timed penalties at the wrong time. They're missing George Kittle. It's one of those years where it just feels like every time it seems like it's starting to go in their direction, boom, setback. Okay, they get back McAfee, they pull out the win, they lose to Seattle. They can never string it together. Every time you think, okay, here come the Niners, because they're the Niners, and that's what we all expect out of the Niners, something happens to halt that momentum. And the scramble yesterday from Geno late in the game on second down with 12 seconds left to go into the end zone to win the game for Seattle. I think they had beaten Seattle 8 straight times. Geno hadn't beaten the Niners in Seattle. Most of these Seahawks players had never beaten the 49ers. And here they are in San Francisco, a team that finally got back Christian McCaffrey. You think that here come the Niners, and that's not what happened. So the good part for the Niners is nobody is running away with that division. The Cardinals are coming off a bye in first place. Cardinals play the Seahawks this week. There's a lot of football left, but the 49ers have already lost their divisional games. They've put themselves behind the 8 ball here. They've made life tougher for themselves, and it just has not felt like their year all season long.
Now, on the flip side there, Seahawks right in the middle of this whole thing.
Yeah, awesome.
5-5 with the way the NFC West is set up, with a win over the Niners here for standings and everything. It's like with what the Seahawks conversation has been, like, is this team going to be okay? New culture. They forced Pete Carroll out. Is the football god going to remember that they did that to Pete? They paint over the walls. It's not going fantastic. Get rid of some players. All that. Then Jonnu Smith's dancing around, skirting into the end zone against the Niners, and now they're right in the mix for the NFC West and the entire NFC. Congrats to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
That's a massive win. Now, obviously, we phrased the question, and by we, I mean Boston Connor, because it's very real, and maybe we have a few of the San Francisco 49ers making it to the Super Bowl in some of our long-term parlays in this entire thing. But it's like, congrats to the Seahawks being all the way back, and Jonnu Smith playing great ball against a very good team. That NFC West is going to be dynamic down the stretch to watch it all.
Well,
and the Cardinals leading it is also awesome.
Yeah, you pointed out the Niners are in last, but they're also within a game of first. And it's just going to be these divisional battles every single week that decide it. But nobody's been able to get real momentum going. The Cardinals have looked like, frankly, the strongest team so far, 10 games in for them. And we'll see if they can keep it up. They play with an energy and enthusiasm. Back to the Niners a second. It just seems like the defensive line not getting the pressure when it needs it, allowing those runs late in the game. It's just not the same defensive line that it was last year. You see some of the guys leave. There's only so many losses you could withstand, but there's an opportunity there for Arizona, for the Rams, for the Seahawks. Seahawks took advantage of it yesterday, and this division is going to go back and forth like this a few different times. There'll be a few more twists and turns left before we can figure out who's going to win the NFC West. But Seattle's right in the thick of it right now, and if Geno plays like that at crunch time, they're going to have a good shot.
Well, congrats to the Rams getting a massive win over the Patriots, too.
Yeah.
Long flight. That's a long flight all the way over there. Get a big-time win over Drake May, who we believe is going to be great in the future. But the Rams, with Puka and Cooper, are going to be tough to stop. I mean, that is just a matter of fact. What was the percentage that Cooper and Puka made up of their offense?
70% of their catches, 3 touchdowns between the two.
Congrats to the Rams getting all their weapons back. Remember, there was a time they were going to be sellers at the trade deadline. Maybe mailing it in. Instead, they get Puka back. Cooper's healthy. Now this, I believe he lost his breath. I believe he had a
scary
moment. It is the worst. If you've never experienced it, it is a nightmare. You think you're going to die. You think, oh, this is the new normal now. I'm not going to be able to breathe for the rest of my life. And then inevitably it comes back, just like Puka did, made some plays later in that game. Congrats to the Rams. Now, we got a couple more burning questions out of the NFC. Let's go to Ty in another blowout.
Yeah, similar situation, Schefter. After they signed Kirk Cousins, I think everyone was high on the Falcons, especially when you look at that division. And they had looked good until last week against the Saints, and then again yesterday just getting embarrassed by Denver. What do you think the cause of concern is for the Falcons, with the Buccaneers kind of still being right on their heels there?
That probably is the cause of concern, that they haven't played well in the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, to me, have played really well down there, and they haven't won, and they've lost, 4 straight? But when you watch them, they look so tough and gritty out there. And they're going to get some people back here, and they're going to get healthier, and I think Tampa is going to be formidable and dangerous. And Atlanta had an opportunity here to separate itself. Can we put the standings back up there again to take a look at the NFC South here? But Atlanta had an opportunity to separate itself, and it squandered that opportunity. It squandered. And now it's still, a game and a half up on the Buccaneers right now. So they're still in a good spot, the Falcons are, but they were 6-3 and rolling. And playing a Saints team that, frankly, they should handle that game, and they didn't.
It's the Ridge Saints now, brother.
Different.
This is the new Saints, brother. Taysom Hill's back to doing Taysom Hill shit, too. I put that tweet out about Taysom Hill. I'm like, it feels like Coach Riz walked into the offensive meeting room and said, I don't know what it is, but I haven't seen Taysom Hill do Taysom Hill stuff in like 2 years. Has anybody? Am I the only one that's missing anything? You got Taysom throwing touchdowns, catching touchdowns, throwing interceptions, fumbling. I mean, you had real Taysom Hill experience yesterday for this New Orleans Saints team. And I know their record says that they're mathematically close to being out of it, but why not Riz and the Saints getting hot? But to your point about the NFC South, the Falcons last week should have won that game. Then they lose this game. Now they're going into a bye week, and I know Kirk Cousins is going to be on Football Night in America, so he might be able to answer some more questions. But what is happening? What the hell is happening down there? And then when Penix gets in at the end, 9 minutes left, you look.
Spinning it.
It's like, wait a second. It's like, I don't want to be that person, but if they continue to lose, and we had Kirk on, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yep.
We had Kirk on 2 weeks ago, and we were like, remember those conversations that were happening around draft? It got loud. It's like, that's the reality of the NFL, especially when it looks as bad as it did against this Broncos team that don't look now.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is very much in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I don't know what Jaden Daniels' season looks like the rest of the way. Obviously, he is by far the leader in the clubhouse in that particular world. Brock Bowers breaking records for rookies and receptions. He's also in there. But like what Bo Nix has been able to do over the last few weeks, they're on a trajectory upward. They're yodely. But on the flip side, the Atlanta Falcons just looked bad. Looked bad.
Well, that touchdown run by Javonte Williams, that to me, that's all about will, effort, and force. And he just showed like he wanted it more. You watch this run, like he's at the 5-yard line. There's 4 or 5 guys on him, and he just pushes everybody into the end zone. Like, I mean,
Look,
again,
like those DBs thought that was going to get blown dead.
I mean, we got, a couple. That's what offensive linemen are supposed to do. Big boys got behind them, pushed them in there. But yeah, that's effort. That looks bad.
It does look bad, but I think the DBs all thought that was going to get blown dead. But to your point, you lose bad. You got that on tape, and then everything happened. And going into a bye, it's like Raheem Morris got some real shit on his desk right now.
Like a healthy tune.
But you know what? Here's the thing. They ran into a Saints team that hired a new coach, so there was going to be a new energy there that day. And it showed, and the Saints came out and beat the Falcons as they deserved to. And then yesterday, Denver has been a good team this year. And Denver is coming off 2 straight losses on the road at Baltimore, at Kansas City in a game they should have won. I felt like yesterday was going to be a tough game for the Falcons no matter what. And it went exactly the way I thought. And Bo Nix, so Darren Rizzi happened one week, and Bo Nix happened the next week. You see the numbers right there. Rookies don't do that. It's over 80% completion rate, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Bo Nix is getting better and better and better. You mentioned the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Jaden Daniels had the rib injury, and he's not looked to run at all. His rushing yards have dropped dramatically, and one of the biggest elements of his game has not really been a factor since he hurt that rib. So whereas he's been running around and making things happen, not as much so lately, and they've lost the last couple of games, and Bo Nix is coming out there and throwing dimes to Devon Vele and whoever it is. They have all these receivers out there, and, Sean Payton looked like the cat who ate the canary a little bit this summer, talking about this draft class and how it was going to be special and these rookies were going to make. I think he's known all along what he thought he had in Bo Nix, and now everybody is getting a glimpse at what he thought he had in Bo Nix. And right now, it's worked out great. Bo Nix is getting better and better and better. He's elevated himself into that conversation, and he's been, along with Brock Bowers, the hottest rookie in football the last month or so.
We were very lucky to talk to Coach Payton on draft night, and he told an entire story about the first time that Bo Nix came and visited them in Denver, and he got to hang out with him for a while. As soon as Bo Nix got out of the car to get to the airport, he said he was a part of the drop-off for him. He said, everybody has to feel the way we do about this guy. He was obsessed. In love with him, the human, in love with the style of player that he was, and in love with the competitor that he is. Now, there were some moments on the sideline. This guy still got some Ferris Bueller in him.
Yep,
that's right.
This is what Sean Payton. I still have no idea what that means. Maybe he thinks he's young. Maybe he thinks that type of stuff. But nonetheless, they seem to be perfect for each other. And Bo looks jocked in that particular photo. Yep. And I assume everybody's jocked about what's going on over there. One player that's not in conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year, Malik Neighbors of the New York Giants. They just benched Daniel Jones for Tommy Cutlets. D-Butch, 9-year NFL vet, has a question for you.
Yeah, I talked about the benching at the quarterback position. Now, you talked about the Rizzi bump. They got fired after they lost to the Panthers. Giants just did the same with benching the quarterback. Brian Daboll, head coach. How safe is he for the rest of this year and going forward? Obviously, we've seen a lot of what happened behind the scenes on Hard Knocks with Joe Shane. So with Joe Shane, the GM, and the head coach, Brian Daboll, how safe are those guys the rest of the way?
I believe they're safe right now. John Mara came out and said that they were going to be safe. I think that they are right now going to be safe. I think, look, this team's got to play better down the stretch. Everybody knows that. But I think right now this ownership wants to believe in continuity, wants to not make any changes. That's what they're planning to do. Could their plans change? Sure. But I don't believe they're planning right now to change the head coach and the GM. That's not in their plans. Now, we got a lot of time left. Let's see how the rest of the season plays out. Things always could change, and they always do change in the NFL. That's what happens. But John Mara, I mean, he said himself, we're not going to be making any changes in season, and I don't anticipate making any changes after the season. Those are his words.
Okay,
so we'll take him at his word.
Amen. Well, his words were, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night if I see Saquon as Philadelphia Eagles. So he might be a tired guy too right now, because he has had to see a lot of that in prime time at a high level. Allegedly, there was a report that Daboll picked Tommy Cutlets over Drew Lock because Drew Lock wasn't healthy in training camp, so he doesn't know the offense as well. Tommy Cutlets has had success in that offense. Is that accurate?
I think the reason he went with him is that last year, Tommy Cutlets provided a spark. They felt like he could do it again. Last week, someone called and they were saying to me, hey, FYI, when you watch this team practice, supposedly Tommy had been the more impressive, picked up things faster than Drew, was more impressive. They had a familiarity there with him with them. And I think that they were aware of the spark that he brought to that team while last year, and I think that they're hoping that he can do the same thing for them this year.
Tommy Mozzarella going out there, do his thing. We got about a minute for this question, but it's a very important one. We all saw Tyson's butt cheeks. We also saw a lot of buffering. Go ahead, Tone.
A ton of buffering. I X'd out a few times. I know Foxy couldn't even get it to work at all. That was a fight, okay? We got Christmas Day NFL games, big games. Was there any concern over at the NFL? Do you know if they made any calls to Netflix saying, hey, this cannot happen on Christmas Day?
What can't happen on Christmas Day?
The buffering, the streaming, the crashing, the everything.
I got it. Listen.
Butt cheeks.
Not butt cheeks. I mean, if Tyson wants to show up with his cheeks out
that's
on Christmas, I mean, Merry Christmas.
As long as we can see it.
He's going, holy jolly butt cheeks. I don't know if that's going to happen, but the buffering, the crashing, that felt amateur of Netflix. That felt like an amateur podcast platform that was trying to put on
an event. You know what? I heard about it. I didn't watch it. I'm gonna guess that when your pockets are as deep as Netflix's are, that you're going to be able to get that figured out by the time Christmas Day rolls around.
Yeah.
That the NFL is going to make you, hey, you know what? We don't want any buffering. We don't want any issues. We don't want any butt cheeks on Christmas Day. Let's get this all straightened out, right? And it's okay to have it in the boxing match, which a lot of people weren't happy about, but we're not going to do this again on Christmas Day. By the way, isn't it Chiefs Steelers?
Oh, yeah.
Ravens
Texans, Chiefs Steelers. It's going to be monster.
And Beyonce at halftime of the Ravens.
Down in Houston, it's going to be gigantic. And you would say Netflix got deep pockets, so they'll be able to figure it out. Who was doing the whole? I mean, I didn't need to hear a lot of those people. I mean, a lot of question marks around that entire operation. You know, they're just getting into sports, though. They'll get it figured out. They'll get it figured out. I'm sure they got it figured out. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN. We'll see you tonight on Monday Night Countdown. From home,
Look forward to it. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
From home, apparently. Yet again. Go on the road. Go see these people. Adam Schefter. Big night tonight.
Yeah.
Huge.
Texans, Cowboys. Texans favored by 7. Nico Collins coming back. CJ Stroud, Cooper Kush. We'll talk about that and more on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the commissioner of the NFL. Don't listen to them. No. Roger, good. Shut your mouth. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. You're our commissioner. Don't worry about these bums. From us to you, we'd like to give you a gift that we know you're a big fan of. Ladies and gentlemen, some peanut M&Ms for our commission.
This is just why we're on set?
Yep. You can take these with you. You can take them home.
I might just I got a gift for you. What? Oh. You ready?
Yeah, I like that.
With the 222nd pick in the 2009 NFL Draft.
Oh, yeah.
The Indianapolis Colts select Pat McAfee, Hunter, West Virginia.
Hell yeah!
smothering, baby. Good pick. Good pick.
I'll pick him up. Thank you, Raj. I'm not going to pick you up because you got that
That's
back.
all right.
Yeah.
I got it. There's your card, baby. That's real.
That's awesome.
I've been keeping that for, 15 years?
You had it in your back pocket this whole time. This is cool. Thank you for this. So whenever we say that you have to answer to 31 billionaires, how accurate is that?
32. Well, you're not counting Green Bay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Doesn't count.
Big Pop. There's a Green Bay Packers.
I didn't know he did.
Yeah, no, that was.
I don't actually think that way. I actually think I answer to them. I think I answer to the media partners. I think I answer the players. I think I answer to the owners too. The idea for me is to try to keep everyone happy. I always say that my biggest job is not to piss off more than 24 owners in a given day.
How did you know the draft would be awesome if you traveled it, and did you see this happening?
I'd be kidding you if I thought it was going to be as big as it is. We felt like we could be bigger than we were in Radio City. But what happened is Radio City actually put a holiday show in and said, you can't have the draft until June. And that's when we said, we're out of here.
So they kicked you out.
That's when we went on the road.
Well, Taylor Swift, we know.
Well, that's a different kind of influence.
How about, hey, listen, a lot of jokes from
They're booing Taylor Swift.
Yeah, you can't, Bill.
They're idiots.
Yeah, you're going to be a part of an album.
Wow.
Do it. Get a little louder. She is going to cook you. A lot of the internet was saying Roger Goodell was sitting at home through the moon about this.
Well, they thought it was part of the script.
Yes, everyone talks to it. There it is. Is there a thought of adding another one, maybe adding another bye week, or are we good at 17 right now?
Well, I think we're good at 17 now, but listen, we're looking at how we continue. I'm not a fan of the preseason. I don't think we need preseason.
Waste of time, right? And energy.
I don't buy it, and I don't think these guys like it either.
Well, they have to spend full price for the tickets for those games.
No, they're actually discounted now. So
Thank you for doing that.
I'd rather replace a preseason game with a regular season any day. That's just picking quality, right? If we got to 18-2, that's not an unreasonable thing. The other thing it does, which I thought you were going to, is that ends up on President's Day weekend, which is a 3-day weekend, which makes a Sunday night, and then you have Monday off. So that.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
Why?
let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this magical Overreaction Monday, November 18th, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now. Football is awesome. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for a living. It is Overreaction Monday, and we are doing as such. We still have overreaction tweets from around the X-verse that we put out a bird call for this morning. Ended up being the number 3 trend on X, which we appreciate everybody for participating. We have Bill Belichick joining us in a matter of moments, and the Talks Table's here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt Conman. We talk about Bo Nix going bananas. And then obviously Jaden Daniels has done what he has done, and Schefter brings up a good point. Since the rib injury, it feels like the movement hasn't been as good as it was early, but Jaden Daniels, heavy favorite for the Offensive Rookie of the Year for what he's already done, a lot to play.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams already has an offense coordinator, been gone, and is he going to get better and move forward? Then there's your guy, Drake May. We all just kind of assume he's a guy, right? In a losing effort against the Los Angeles Rams, and in weeks past in losing efforts against the teams that they play against, we all think Drake May is the future. Is that how you feel, and is that how New England feels?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is all aboard the Mayflower right now. People are very excited about what he's doing. Some of the throws he makes, too. It's not just, the off-target or off-balance ones like the play right before that, but that one, that's a dart. That is 3 steps back, sling that thing. A little sidearm action he had going yesterday, too, and he can move. I don't think there's been a quarterback like Drake May that the Patriots have had with the mobility. That's something that's very exciting. Obviously, loves his offensive lineman. We saw him last week after the Bears win. Hey, let's get dinner. Let's get dinner tomorrow. And then he's throwing touchdowns to him. But everyone in New England's very, very excited. The team as a whole stinks. Not to, be negative about it, but overall the team isn't good. Obviously, we're 3-8. I assume this might be the last time we talk about the Patriots this year, just because every week it is what you said. Hey, the Patriots lose, but Drake May's great. People are kind of sick of that. They are. We actually ended up cutting receiver this weekend on Saturday. Only 2 guys left from the 2022 draft class. So right now it is kind of a reset when it comes to the New England Patriots as a whole, but we bring up the Chargers. What do? They go get Justin Herbert, a big old white son of a bitch, Joe Alt, playing left tackle.
Big old.
Playing right tackle.
Big
whatever.
old.
And that's exactly what the Patriots are going to do. They're going to load up on offensive line, kind of O-line, D-line, Howie, like Sirianni would say. Sure. And then we'll see what happens from there. But, the wide receivers, Drake May still slinging the pill. He threw for 282. It's not as if, we don't have anybody to throw to. I still feel good about that. Feel good about the run game defense. Got to clean it up. 2 guys on the Rams you would assume get circled during the week. Hey, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, and they go out there and absolutely slaughter you. So I don't know what the hell happened there. But no, still feel good overall about the Patriots. Drake May is for sure the future. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to play for 20 years in New England, probably win a couple Super Bowls for us too.
So we like Drake.
Mm-hmm. Love him.
We like Jaden.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We like Bo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Penix. He's playing in trash time. He looks good. So Caleb, I guess, is a question, but who knows if anybody would be able to be successful in that current operation up there.
He looked good
Of
yesterday.
Chicago, made some massive plays.
He did.
And felt like he was on time, too. Everything that was kind of being said.
Read option stuff. He ran for 70 yards.
And I guess he spoke to the team and said, owned up to a lot of stuff. As a rookie, it's does this draft class of quarterbacks potentially the future?
Mm-hmm.
Congrats to all of them. That's not normally.
No.
That's not normally the case.
At all.
At all, which leads us to last year's draft class.
Yep.
There was one particular quarterback that a lot of people had questions about. We didn't get a lot of answers because he only played 3 games last year. Then he gets injured, has a season-ending surgery, isn't around, out of sight, out of mind. Now this new draft class comes in, and boy, there's a lot of shiny objects, bright toys. C.J. Stroud does what he does last year. Jaden Daniels starting to do what he's about to do. And then there's a guy who's a Florida Gator. Didn't play a lot of football at Florida, didn't win a lot of football at Florida, but whenever he was playing in the NFL and he was healthy, boy, he was electrifying. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to say it. If Anthony Richardson seemingly has figured out how to be a professional off the field, watch film, go to work, do your work, be a teammate, be a professional, be a face of a franchise, understanding that you're 22 years old, but this is a multi-billion-dollar operation where it all revolves around you and how you act and how you show up. Well, yesterday, he showed up. Anthony Richardson, the roller coaster ride, the experience that is one of a kind is back, and he's 250 doing that to people. Now, DB had no chance, and he had to stand up and go, what the hell, how'd we even get here? I like the fact that the DB thought he was going to do what he had to do, but AR not only makes this guy's head a Pez dispenser in his first touchdown of 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, he also bounced back up, didn't get hurt there. That is a big deal. He not only didn't bounce back up, he was talking shit. Oh, you want to say your stuff? Could have been talking to us, to be 100% clear. Don't care. Love what he's doing. Playing football, the team rallied around him. Now, the Jets look bad. Jets look bad at football. This was a tough game to watch, to be honest with you, because of how the Jets looked in its entirety. The only thing that was a saving grace is the fact that AR is electrifying when he's on the field and feels like he has a much better sense of who he is, what he is for the Indianapolis Colts. 9-year NFL vet, former Indianapolis Colts, Darius J. Butler. Alec Pierce continues to do his thing. Josh Downs does his thing. AR's doing his thing. Jonathan Taylor has a chance to be great, always has been, always will be. Offensive line's moving. Defense is the reason why everybody's saying what they're saying about Aaron Rodgers right now, and they're burning jerseys.
Yeah. What?
They're burning Rodgers jerseys all over.
Come on, guys.
We'll talk to them about it tomorrow. But nonetheless, Colts make the Jets look bad, make the Jets feel bad, and Colts are right in there for a wild card playoff spot. D-Butch, you and I both have watched the Colts more than anybody that's watching.
Yep.
Okay? I have invested more money than anybody that's watching this show in the Indianapolis Colts, because the other people that have paid for the suites that we're in, that are the most expensive suites, aren't watching the show. We know that, and they're all entities. They're not human beings. So whenever you say invested in a team, that is a very real thing with this. Watching AR play is a spectacle. Yesterday had an edge about him. Team was around him, but also wasn't making massive mistakes. He missed a couple layups, but other than that, hit every single shot. Off the field, seemingly going great. We're in it. And that's a nice little reminder to everybody. I believe Chuck Pagano gave me the stat yesterday before my NFL Game Day morning hit. He said Colts only have one team left on the schedule that has above 500 record, and that's the Lions this weekend. So this weekend at home against the Lions, with the way the Lions are playing, going to be tough for anybody.
We'll see.
But the rest of the way, after the bye week, the Colts are in a good spot.
And this is he is correct. That was before the Broncos won yesterday, so they are 6-5 now. That would be the second team.
But the Broncos are going to be competing with us for a wild card spot, so that's going to be a potential playoff game.
Yeah.
So in it all, the Colts literally have it all in front of us if we're able to do it. And this is the reason why we're so passionate about winning now. Because a lot of people are like, no, just kick on the year. We need to do whatever. It's like, this is a good team. This is a team that has a lot of money spent on it. This is a team that has a lot of veterans on it. They get a huge win against the Jets. They might have been able to kind of unleash something in AR. If he's going to do this to people and pop back up every time, let's go.
Huge game. A lot of coming into this game, both teams were pretty much fighting for their life. You know, both teams still alive. The Jets were still alive mathematically. Colts still alive. Obviously, you know those couple teams were chasing for that last spot. And anybody invested in the Colts, you and me both, like as a fan, as a team, whatever, this is what you wanted to see from Anthony Richardson. Now, it's going to be some bumps in the road, and it definitely was. He got benched for 2 games, and he said all the right things in the media, and he showed up, most importantly, like efficient. He was efficient from the pocket. They jumped all over the Jets in the beginning. I think they went up 13-0 before the Jets got a late touchdown before halftime, but efficient from the pocket. They used his legs, had some QB design runs, obviously the one that went and ended the game. And then this drive right here, this drive,
quarter.
this read, this throw, you know, they had a specific play for that specific coverage. Shane Steichen talked about it after the game. It was a palms coverage, so you waited, you know, for the out to break and then hit that whole shot right down the sideline to Pierce. So this is everything we wanted to see, everything you wanted to see from Anthony Richardson, and obviously all the things between Monday and Saturday. This is how you get these type of performances. Now, it was obviously one performance against the Jets, but week in and week out, we know this guy's talented enough to be the best player on the field any given Sunday. So this is what that throw, like it's not 3 or 4 guys in the league that can make that throw to guy on his back. So this is what we want to see. This is obviously what we want to continue to see. And I love this for Anthony Richardson, bouncing back with all the shit that has been around him for the last couple
included.
weeks. Of course.
Us being the shit included.
I mean, we got a job to do. I call it how I see it, you know, and it is what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. You call this shit how you see it. And as a player, that's what we're used to as well. When we go in at meetings, coaches aren't, you know, kissing our ass, teammates aren't kissing our ass. Hey, Pat, just keep doing, you'll figure it out. Like, nah, get your shit together. Everybody's got to be accountable to each other. So it's not about what happens to you as a player or a person. It's about how you respond to it, and he responded.
And also, if he, and he's not, we know he's not now. But if he was to waste all that, just because he was not invested as being the quarter. Like,
it sucks.
That sucks. Yeah. That completely sucks. So it's like something had to be said. Something was said by a lot of people, both in the building and out of the building. But there's still enough time and everything in front of him. He's young. He's learning. 22 years old. You still got a lot of things that you can figure out. It's not like old dog new tricks. He's still developing his traits, his routine, his schedule, his weekly everything. It's like.
And it's not like us either. It was like, you show up, you do your job, you'll be all right. I show up and do my job as a DB, I'll be all right. As a quarterback, it's not just, I just show up and do it. Like, nah, you got to be an example for guys. They could be 30 years old, but that guy's, he's, first one in the building, last one out, not necessarily, but when you in there, you're doing your work, you're doing extra, you're leading the guys, you're saying the right things in the media, all that shit counts when you're the quarterback CEO of that franchise.
Yeah, and like they are 5-6, and sure, like okay, whatever. They beat the Jets. Still an NFL team. Still on the road. Still have to come back, face adversity after being up, 10-0. But when it comes to the Jets, like it might be time. I had the Lions playing the Jets in the Super Bowl. Sure. So to say that I'm disappointed, hand up. To say that I'm bummed out about the Jets would be an understatement. But like when you're looking at that type of situation, who knows with Joe Douglas? I think you can also assume he's probably out the door, especially with how the whole Hassan Reddick thing happened. I'm not calling for him to be out the door. It just feels like you read in the tea leaves. Ambassador Woody Johnson, he's probably gonna leave that building for a little while, pass it back on to his brother. Hey, I'm sick of this shit. I don't know why I came back to America to run this team. It stinks. And then when you talk about Rodgers, we love him. I love Aaron, not just a football player. Everything he's about, I'm about. Okay, okay. So this stinks to kind of have it set in, but they might just have to call it. on the entire year. Not Rodgers as a whole, but like on this year when it comes to the future of the team. Now, who knows who in that building's thinking about the future of the team? If you think that a lot of those people in the building are going to be out, they're probably not. But when you're just looking at it from a bird's eye view, I think you bench everybody. I don't know.
We don't need any injury guarantees.
Don't need any injuries. You don't need anybody missing next year. I mean, Devontae's gone. It's not as if he's on a multi-year deal, so maybe you run him into the ground. But Garrett Wilson, you don't really need him to be playing very much. Breece Hall, who had an unbelievable game, he's
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah, he's awesome to watch. Don't need him getting hurt. He got hurt, blew his knee out against the Broncos a few years ago, and then he missed a little bit of time. Like you don't need that to happen for a young running back. Like it sucks in New York as a whole. But here's the thing, if you don't want to do that, maybe you do. Keep wheeling everybody out there. You win a few more games. You don't get one of those top quarterbacks. You go get Dan Jones in the offseason.
He's got a house here.
Danny Dimes, you don't got to put your house up for sale, brother, because you're just trading
That's a good call.
that blue and white for green and white, and you go be a Jet.
Yeah. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. He's a college football national champion with the Ohio State University. He's a Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, I watched that Jets team yesterday, and obviously we've seen the Jets on primetime a few different times. The Colts needed that one. Okay, the Colts needed that one. Thought they were going to give it away. Thought the Jets were about to say and do their thing. They inevitably don't. Anthony Richardson runs over some more people. He has a fourth quarter comeback drive that is beautiful. But watching that Jets team, if I was a Jets fan, it would be hard to find. You'd be grasping for a lot of things to hold on any positivity, AJ.
I mean, yeah, it's just, I cannot imagine how Greeny is feeling. I know I got to see the still shot that his wife took of him when he got home in time to see the end of that game. But yeah, it almost feels like, what's the term? Snake bitten, whatever it is. Like whatever they do, they just can't seem to either get out of their own way or, but I got to give AR some credit, man. This dude runs like an absolute monster. Like, can you imagine anytime you're trying to defend this team, if they get down to the red zone, how dangerous they can be when he is such a big physical back, but then he can obviously get out there and throw when needed. But it's just a whole nother dimension to try to stop.
Yeah, and I think, I like the fact that Shane Steichen said we had to tush push in Philly. That's fun. But everybody hates it on the offensive line and the quarterback. So I'm just going to run my guy out to the outside, and we're going to have a 250 versus 175 battle every single day. That's a smart idea. That was like he was just going for it. Like, we got a 4th and 1. I think there's a good chance, and I assume other teams are going to know this, they're going to be trying to get AR out on a safety or a corner every single time.
Linebacker.
He's fast. I mean, he can move.
He had no chance. I give credit for sticking your head in there, buddy, but you had no chance at that angle. There's zero chance you're stopping him from scoring. So, yeah, I love him throwing his head in there.
Zero fun, sir, there, taking that one on. And hopefully, right, we talk about everything that happened off the field. It's like, if AR over the last few weeks has been able to craft a perspective of an NFL franchise quarterback too, with his immense talent immense talent on the field. It is all over the place. I don't know how you flip the switch on everything, but if he has been able to do that, which it looked like yesterday, making little to no mistakes and also being super invested. We talk about the halftime high fives. He sprinted over to be able to give it to everybody. There was a 2-point conversion though where he gets like visibly pissed and then like back to it, as opposed to being the cool guy. Like, oh, we didn't get it. Damn. It was like showed emotion, but then was professional immediately afterwards. It's like, we got a guy. We got a guy. And he won't be up for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which is a damn shame. But he is damn near a rookie at this point. And every week he's only getting better, I hope. So congrats to the Colts on a big win. And to the Jets fans.
Boy.
I watched that game through your lens as well, because we got to talk tomorrow. And I was like, I don't know.
Still a lot of season left, too, man. That's the scary thing. Still a lot of games left.
They tackle better?
No.
Sauce Gardner actually.
They don't really do anything.
It was all bad. It was all bad.
Sauce didn't play good?
I saw he did a jersey swap with Alec Pierce because Cincinnati.
Yeah,
that was cool. That was pretty cool to see that.
The coup de grace too, though. You see that tweet going around. That's you assume like, oh, okay, this is a Barry McCockner tweet when it shows Rodgers' win percentage with the Jets compared to Zach Wilson and some of these other guys.
Darnold.
I mean, are you kidding me?
272 or something like that.
Yeah, just like
lower than Darnold, lower than Zach Wilson.
Crazy.
I think you put Joe Flacco's up there if you want. I think it's lower than that.
Vinny Testaverde.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who Connor, I think, does have.
Yeah, he does.
He's a man who beat the hell out of the Jets for a long time.
Yeah.
was a Jet for a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest coach of all time, greatest general manager of all time, Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Coach, tough one for Navy this weekend, but nonetheless, shout out to America. This Jets.
Yeah, well, lost the quarterback, and that was tough. But yeah, head coach of the Jets twice, undefeated, unscored on.
Boom.
I don't know if they have you in the Hall of Fame over there. They certainly should.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just stating the facts. Undefeated.
I mean, you put the records up. You put the percentages up. You put the records up. These are just facts, Jack. Those are Hall of Fame numbers. On the other side, though, Indianapolis Colts, obviously a team that your Patriot squads had a massive rivalry with for a long time with Peyton. That's a brand new team in there now. I don't even know most of the guys that are in there, and I live in the city. If you're one of these teams and you still have hope, you still have chance at a wild card, and you're playing good football, what is the messaging to the team you think that Shane Steichen's given to them? Because I think it's them, the Broncos, the Bengals,
and the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins, who are all fighting for that 7th seed pretty much. They're in it still, very much in front of them. What do you think the messaging is to that type of team at this exact time of the season?
Yeah, keep grinding. Yeah, just keep stringing good days together. Yeah, he had a very exciting game, and I really think, when you watch Milroe from Alabama, you see a lot of similarities between Milroe and Richardson. Milroe's probably a little faster, but that same kind of big, strong kid that can run over people, can run 50 yards, 80 yards for a touchdown, can throw the ball, make all the throws. Little inconsistent, but the people that like Richardson, they'll probably like Milroe too. This kid's tough. He's a great kid too. First one in, last one out. Love his work ethic. There's a lot to like about him.
Yeah, and the people that are fighting for that 7th position, obviously quarterbacks are going to have to play great. Let's go to one of them, the Bengals. Joe Burrow is playing fantastic football. They run into a Chargers team last night on primetime that ends up getting a win when usually they would lose those particular games. At the very end, how much do you think Jim Harbaugh helps this Chargers team kind of change their mindset and win these games that normally they would lose, Coach?
No, I think he's definitely changed the culture out there. I mean, honestly, it's the same thing he did at San Francisco and then at Michigan. Just develop a hard-nosed, very workmanlike culture with, a lot of positivity, and but really demand a high work ethic, play good defense, run the ball, don't lose the game, and then take advantage of the opportunities to win it. And they've done a good job. Cincinnati can certainly move the ball. They had a couple chances at the end of the game there. If they had moved it, they probably would have won or been in a position to win, and ended up, going 3 and out and giving the ball back, and finally, Chargers scored. So tough loss for Cincinnati for sure.
Yeah, tough loss. Big win for the Chargers, though, especially Coach Harbaugh and Justin Herbert, who we've all been massive fans of, I think, since he came into the league. But now they have a real opportunity, it feels like, because just like you said at San Fran, just like you said at Michigan, Jim Harbaugh makes winners, baby. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, the Bills got a big win over the Chiefs, and we're big Josh Allen fans here. And speaking of Anthony Richardson too, I'm just thinking, if you have a big physical running back that is not scared to throw his body in harm's way, how do you balance that as a coach? Obviously, you want that and you love that competitive nature, but is there any way to back him off a little bit or somehow protect him, or is that something you think that you can be successful for a long period of time doing?
You talking about backing Josh off?
Yep.
Yeah, like trying to, maybe, hey, don't throw your head in there so many times. Like, yeah, we want you to get those tough yards, but, is there any way, like, how do you balance trying to keep him healthy and also keeping that fire in him?
Right. Well, I think if you watch Josh, what you'll see, AJ, is him making a lot of those kind of plays in the fourth quarter in a 2-minute situation or near the goal line or in the red area. He does it when the game's on the line, when things are the most important. That's when he's going to, take matters into his own hands, and he's a hard guy to stop. So I don't think you can take that out of him. I think that's his competitiveness. We had Cam Newton for a year. Cam, these guys have been doing this their whole life. They just been bigger and stronger, faster, and more physical than everybody since they were in, I don't know, whatever grade it was. So they're just kind of used to doing this. They still do it, and I think it's going to be hard to just change this. But I think picking the spots is the right thing to do. But, Josh did it here in the fourth quarter again on a 4th and 1, and that's when he's going to rise to those occasions, just take matters into his own hands.
Now, you talked about that going for it on fourth down there, 4th and 2 for the Buffalo Bills against the Chiefs. I remember I was a part of the game where you go for it on fourth down against the Indianapolis Colts because, Peyton Manning and the boys had it figured out or whatever. Sean McDermott wasn't going to let that happen. They could kick a field goal there, go up 5. McDermott said, no way, we're not doing this whole thing with Patrick Mahomes again, you think? Or what was his mindset?
Well, I don't know, but it's probably something along the lines of, rather than let Mahomes have the ball on 4th and whatever and one play to win, we've got one play to win here. Let's let Josh do it and see what he can do. Pat, when I came to Indianapolis, they always, used to really give me the Bronx cheer. They would boo the heck out of me and call me every name and everything. They hated me in Indianapolis. Then when I went for it on 4th and 2 and we didn't make it, after that, it was, hey, Coach, good to see you. How's it going? Hey, you going to go for it on 4th down this time? I got a lot better reception after I did that. So the Indy fans like me because of that decision.
Yeah, well, get you a nice St. Elmo, Harry and Izzy Steakhouse. You had a lot more wins against Colts after that.
Oh, yeah.
And before that. But I will say that was an electrifying time. Melvin Bullitt makes a big-time stop, but you came out afterwards and were like, yeah, I didn't want to give the ball back to Peyton. We're either giving the ball back to Peyton, he's scoring, or we're going to go ahead and control that. And I think you saying that was a huge deal because we all view you as a genius coach, defensive mastermind, but that's just how football goes sometimes. So watching McDermott make that decision yesterday, I think Bills Mafia was pumped up about it. Now, in that game, go ahead, D-Buck.
No, I was a rookie DB on that field. We were glad you went for it, too. That was definitely the right decision at that moment. How Peyton had it rolling. And to your point, Bill came in the team meeting the next day, I believe, and was like, hey, look, I'm going to make a call what I feel is best for the team. I'm not scared. I never will be scared, and that's what we moved on from it. But speaking of those moments, obviously Peyton and those great teams that the Colts had, you obviously coach a bunch of great teams as well. It's only one team that has ever gone perfect throughout the regular season, then the playoffs, won the Super Bowl, the Miami Dolphins, obviously 1972. You were close. You came the closest to it. Why is it so hard in the NFL when it's only 20 games max to go perfect? Why hasn't it been done again since?
There's so much equality in the NFL. Every team's got good players, good coaches, and they work hard. So it's tough to do it every week. But look, these two teams are two of the best teams. It was a great matchup, heavyweight fight. I thought that the leadership that Mahomes and Allen both gave after the game was really, really impressive. And I think that shows me why these teams are what they are. They both took it in stride. Mahomes is like, we can learn from it and we can move on. Allen's like, yeah, it was great, but we haven't beat him in the postseason. That's when it really matters, which is the truth. So I think that these two guys showed a lot of maturity and that, hey, there's a long way to go. The team that wins the next game between these two teams is the one that's going to really matter. Was this a big win for the Bills? Absolutely. Not taking anything away from it. And they deserve to win. But Kansas City is somebody's going to have to go through Kansas City. Somebody's going to have to go through Buffalo in order to get any further. It looks like those are the two. So they're certainly two of the best teams in the AFC.
I appreciate it afterwards. We'll do this again. Both of them, Pat and Josh. We'll do this again. Mm-hmm. We will see you later. And then you talk about the press clippings, too. It's like well-run organizations that are having a lot of success. Let's stay in the AFC with that exact same thought. Massive rivalry game yesterday. Go ahead, Tone.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about those two being two of the top at the AFC, and Pat talked about well-run organizations. The Ravens and Steelers, I believe, fall into that category as well.
Yep.
What was your takeaways from that game yesterday, and do you think those two are also going to be there in the end?
I mean, two great games. Yeah, of course, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I mean, there's no love lost there, and they played like it. Another great job by the Steelers defensively, really limiting the quarterback yardage, limiting the points, and just really playing good football. Got a couple turnovers, and that was big for him. Henry hasn't fumbled much, but it seems like when you play the Steelers, those things are more prone to happen. And they did a good job on Lamar. Certainly got him on the 2-point play. They're ready for that, and just an outstanding game. Pittsburgh kind of made it close there with Russell's interception in the end zone, which is kind of uncharacteristic of him to make that mistake. But Steelers played well, and they've got a good football team. They know how to win, how to play, and I guess I was a little surprised. You're just so used to seeing Tucker make all these kicks, and we know Boswell's really good. He doesn't miss either, but you're just used to seeing Tucker make all these kicks, and he's just not making them this year. And once again, that kind of, was a big impact in the final score. So, hey, if he starts making them, maybe it's a little different story, but it's kind of been that way all year. And, I'm sure he's working hard to get it back, but just not there yet.
Yeah,
Two good football teams.
Great football organizations, great football teams, obviously. Great rivalry, which is always good for the NFL. The AFC North kickers as a whole did not do great other than Boswell. McPherson's missing as well. Hopkins missed a 27-yarder after missing a 32-yarder where he was given a mulligan because of a penalty, and that was his second miss of the day. Seems like there's a little bit of tightness on all these guys are missing left, Coach. They're all missing left.
Well, they're getting them blocked, too.
Yeah. Which
they're getting them blocked, too.
Hey, good call. Second week in a row with a walk-off block field goal. Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, speaking of that, with the whole Bears-Packers situation, a lot of people today saying, hey, Lucas Van Ness pushing the pile like that and pushing Carl Brooks, and then on top of that, they're all over the center. No flag is called. It stands. The Packers win. When you look at that play, do you think did the Packers do that by the letter of the law as it's written in the rule book, or should have that been a penalty and a re-kick?
It's a tough one. They've almost made it illegal to block a field goal. I'm surprised that they haven't passed a rule where you're not allowed to cross the line of scrimmage like they had in the Pro Bowl a few years back. You can't overload, you can't jump, you can't push, you can't hit the center. It's so hard to block a kick that I don't know if we're going to start. I don't know. It's just frustrating. Because that used to be such a great part of the game, and kicks weren't automatic. And, going back in the days when, those guys could jump over the line of scrimmage and block kicks. And, you had guys like, the Minnesota and teams like that were blocking 8, 9, 10 kicks a year. It's so hard now. And even kicks like this, it really needs to be a little low in order to get it. Most of these balls get up so fast that, honestly, we would have plays in practice where we would let the defender go through almost untouched, and still couldn't block a good kick because the ball just had so much rise on it that he just couldn't get it. So, but look, we see how important every single job is when you walk out of the field, whether you're the left guard, the right tackle, the right end, the snapper, or whatever it is. Like, if you don't do your job on that play, there's a chance it's going to cost you. And we saw it last week. We saw it in the Giants game against Seattle. Got another extra point blocked yesterday at New England, which kind of changed the dynamics of that game a little bit, And so, they're not making them as much as they did earlier in the season, and those block kicks have continued to go through the year.
What was the conversation, Gup? They wanted to thin the uprights. Remember, they didn't want to...
Yeah, it was too easy for the kickers at the start of the year, remember? Let's make it impossible to kick.
Yeah, long season, man. You got muscles that are operating there. Long season, a lot of reps. Hopefully, some of these guys, and I mean this in the most positive way, are tweaked. Something's tweaked. That's why they're missing. And it's not just they've lost their technique completely. Because, like, this Tucker stuff, I'm baffled, Coach, just like you. Whenever I see... Because he was... dead center, perfect up and down flight pattern, and that thing was flying perfect. He never undercut it, never hit it too fat. He was a perfect ball striker for 12 years, however long it's been, and then all of a sudden it just changes. I don't know how that works.
The ball didn't move. It always went straight. It didn't move. It didn't have any curve or hook or anything to it. But look, we know it's a very it's a high skill. Yep, and that's right. Just a quarter of an inch changes the way that ball goes, and there you go.
Yeah, and I think I read something in once again, might have got fake news, McCocknerd here. Tucker maybe changed kickoff stuff this offseason because maybe he had to make some more stuff. I don't know what it is. I hope he figures it out. Hey, Tuck, come on, Tuck. Come on, baby.
You said something about the surface, too, or was that a different answer?
Full quote, he said it was a part of it. He didn't just say that. Now, Boswell goes 6 for 6 on the same surface, 3 from 50 plus.
Yeah.
So people are going to obviously exploit that, but Tucker wasn't making it. He was just adding all the things that could. Tough job. And he's a GOAT, and they're talking about McPherson over there in Cincinnati. They're like, this guy needs to get the hell out of town. They just paid him.
Yeah.
This guy hasn't really missed. It's like, you're 4 misses away from your fan base saying,
do we like this guy?
Do we really like this guy?
Sure?
Jake Elliott.
I don't know. Conman has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, how do you feel about the job Sean Payton's doing with Bo Nix out there in Denver? Obviously, they absolutely dismantle the Falcons yesterday. Why doesn't every coach just do what Sean Payton is doing with his rookie quarterback? And do you think that they're going to continue to roll this season and make the playoffs here?
Well, I think Denver's played really well defensively. Let's start with that, and I think that's been a big asset for the entire football team, especially the quarterback. Look, there's no better feeling for the quarterback than to know that if we don't turn the ball over, we're going to get it back. We don't have to go out and score 47 points to win. That we can count on our defense, and that's a good thing. Sean's a great coach. He does an excellent job of attacking defenses and mixing up personnel. But obviously, Nix is really a smart guy. He has a lot of experience. A full college career, and has adapted very well to the adjustments. You see him changing things at the line of scrimmage and getting people in the right place and all that. So his experience and his poise. But if he just doesn't go out there and make a lot of mistakes, they can win with 20 points, 24 points. They don't have to go out there and score 49. So take what's there, take the positive plays. I think Sean really should, be in the running for whatever executive of the year, whatever you want to call it. I mean, to play with, a team that's 30% under the strength based on a salary cap and the dead money that they had to carry. Like, they don't even have a full team here. From a salary cap standpoint. But these guys are playing really well, and, they're in a tough division, but seems like they're getting better, and they're good on defense. I know they had a tough day last week, but overall, this has been a good defensive football team. They didn't do well against Baltimore, but they played pretty well all season.
Great defense. Bo Nix seemingly made for the Sean Payton offense.
Yeah.
You go back to some of his Oregon tape, it looks a lot like what they're doing here with the Denver Broncos. Now, the first couple weeks, obviously there was some time, and then there was that Ferris Bueller comment, but it was like these two seemingly match made in heaven, just like he told us on draft night after you reached out to Sean Payton to join us. He loved him from the jump. How important is that, or is that kind of overblown, you think?
Well, I just think that he was a good fit, and he didn't throw the ball down the field very much at Oregon statistically, but when he did, he was productive with it. And I don't think it's an issue of arm strength or anything like that. It's just something that he wasn't asked to do a lot. So he had a high completion percentage, which he still does. He's a pretty good decision maker, and that's gotten better. And certainly he's matured a lot through the year. He's gaining a lot of valuable experience, but really helping the team operate the way Sean wants it to. And Sean runs a tough offense. He does. They substitute almost on every play. They change formations a lot. They don't repeat plays. They repeat concepts, but not plays. There's a lot for the quarterback to do to get things organized cleanly, and it seems like Nix is doing a good job of it. And I'm sure Sean is, adding to it as we go. He didn't give him everything at once, but it's a pretty smooth operation in terms of lack of false start penalties, delay games, and bad formations, things like that. That they're clean, and that puts a lot of pressure on the defense when they operate like that.
That's a massive conversation around a rookie quarterback too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, handling it all, handling it all, moving it forward, getting better each week. It's been fun to watch the Bo Nix experiment with Sean Payton, because they almost got into it on the sideline.
Oh, yeah.
What was that, 4 weeks ago? They have a little moment, and he...
That's all right.
I think Sean kind of liked it.
I know, Sean loved it, though. He came out and was like, you got a little Ferris Bueller, you got a little fire. Yeah. Calls him in the office the next day.
Yeah.
You got a little energy. Oh,
I like that. And to Bill's point, he played a lot of football in college and played for different systems, different different players, different coaching styles. So well-rounded coming in. Even I think one of the safeties for the Falcons talk a little shit about his extended college career. So for him to show up like that, I love it.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
Coach, Niners lose a tough game to the Seahawks, and I guess I know me and myself, like as a fan, I look at the Niners and I just assume they're going to win every game they play because of the roster, the firepower they have. Everyone just looks so good, and Shanahan calling the plays. I know they've had some injuries, but when you watch this Niners team, what are you seeing out there? Like what's what's going on and why have they not really put everything together yet?
Yeah, well, AJ, as you know, every game in this league is not every game, but so many of the games in this league are so close. They come down to a play or two, and you win them one year, you don't lose them the next year, and you think the gap is an ocean, and it really isn't. It's just a handful of plays. But look, in the end, their season will be defined on what happens, in the last 6 games of the season. I mean, they're close enough to be in it. They're going to have to play their best football going forward. They've kind of stumbled around here a little bit and been, disappointing in themselves, I'm sure. But you look at teams like, Tampa and the Giants and their Super Bowls. I mean, those teams barely got into the playoffs. They barely had a winning record and then played their best football when it really mattered. So I think the 49ers are capable of doing that, but obviously they have to do it, and they just haven't consistently done it. But they've lost some good players in the offseason now. I mean, this isn't quite the same team that they had, a year ago or 2 years ago. They've got a lot of good young players, but they're still obviously putting it together here, and we'll see what happens. They need to get it going, that's for sure, and they know that. That's no secret.
That NFC West is wild right now. Has been for like the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's still just right across the board. 6-4, 5-5, 5-5, 5-5. Everybody's still very much in it for a home playoff game. Who's going to make it out of there, or whom is going to make it out of there? Go ahead.
Keep your eye on those Cardinals. I mean, they've quietly, are having a really solid year. Murray's playing well. The running game is good with Connor. The offensive line doesn't look good on paper, but they're productive, and they've been playing well defensively. Coach has done a good job down there with the defense. So it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. But again, they're all right there. It'll be a question of who plays good from here on, not who played good, in the first 10 games. It's a wash at that point. We'll see what happens in the last 7.
All right, let's move to tonight, Coach. There is a Manning cast. You'll be on in the first quarter. Jim Gaffigan will also join the Manning cast. And then in the third quarter, the last guest will be
J.J. Watt.
J.J. Watt, fresh off a appearance in Buffalo that those people will be talking about forever. Texans favored by 7 in Jerry World. Nico Collins back for the Houston Texans. Cooper Kush starting for the Dallas Cowboys. What do you expect from this evening, and how do you think this Cowboys team responds to all of the noise that is currently happening without their starting quarterback?
Well, those things are always tough to measure, Pat. As you know, internally in the team, sometimes teams respond, real positively or real negatively to those exterior comments and kind of what the outside thinks the team's state of the team is. It could be quite different than what the perception is, but in the end, I think defensively, Coach Zimmer is going to challenge the Houston offensive line. They certainly had their issues all year with pass protection and inconsistencies, getting picked inside, and blitz pickup, and all that. And I think whichever team can get ahead is going to have a big advantage. Cowboys have had trouble on their offensive line too. I think that's going to be a tough matchup for them against the Texans. So I think whichever team can get off to a good start and can play from ahead will have a big advantage on the other one. Running the ball would help both offenses, but we'll see how well they're able to do it if the defenses are more than what they're matched for.
You think CJ is going to stay upright here? You talked about Zimmer attacking that offensive line. How do you think they'll be able to respond to Zimmer attacking the offensive line?
Well, I think the Texans have had trouble with that all year. They've had this. It goes all the way back to the Baltimore game last year in the playoffs. They've had, blitz issues against Minnesota, against Green Bay, against the Jets. And the same thing with a lot of the inside stunts in there with pick games and picking the center, picking the guard. They've had a lot of trouble with that too. And in the games they lost, that showed up a lot and it hurt them. So we'll see. We'll see how. I'm sure Zimmer will try to do that, which that's part of his package anyway. So it's not like he's got to come up with anything new. But we'll see whether the Texans can handle it better than they have in the games that they've lost. It's really been an issue for them against the Jets, Minnesota. I mean, Green Bay was a competitive game that they lost, but still, it was the same issues. So I think they're going to keep seeing those until they can show they can handle them. Now, Stroud does a good job of getting out of some trouble, no doubt about that. But still, it's overall, it's an issue.
Got to put the fire out, and if not, just keeps on happening. Yeah. We'll put on ESPN2 this evening and get smarter whenever you're alongside Peyton and Eli. We appreciate you so much, Coach. Have a great one.
All right, thanks. Have a good week. See you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Belichick.
Yeah, Bill.
they going to be able to protect CJ? I haven't really thought about tonight's game that much, you know.
Mm-hmm. What?
At all.
Get the ball out of your hand quick. If not,
I have not thought about it at all. Because of how awesome yesterday was, and then I saw what tonight's game was, and I was like,
why?
Let's not think about that. Yeah. Exactly.
Yesterday was awesome.
With the primetime game delivering, too.
Primetime. And then Thursday, I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
You go all the way through. It's like, this has been an awesome NFL Week 11, and then it's like, all right, now you got the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, great. But on the flip side, Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, a lot of question marks. Micah has obviously been in the middle of a lot of discussions that don't involve being a good football player. It's been everything else that has been Micah Parsons' conversation. On a primetime night, in a primetime game, against an offensive line that has some, question marks, he could take this thing over. I mean, Micah could take this thing over tonight if he really wanted to silence some shit that was being said about him. So the 7 points feels like a lot. How'd the public do this weekend when it came to the gambling against the sports?
So the favorites had a bounce back weekend. The favorites were, 9-4. So it was a good bounce back weekend for them. The Chiefs, Packers and Ravens were three of the most bet teams though, so they didn't cover. So it was kind of an average weekend for the public. But I would say the Texans are a tough defensive line if you're trying to get right as an offensive line. You got Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson on one side, Danico Autry up the middle. I think he's healthy. But, yeah, it's a tough defensive line to go up against if you're the Cowboys tonight.
Yeah, and if you're the Houston Texans, everything that you have had problems with is right on the other side of you.
Bingo.
Feels like it's almost a good matchup.
I feel like it got to be. With the
7 points, a lot of points.
The week
Can the Cowboys score, though?
That's the question.
Yeah, bingo.
Cooper Kush, they haven't had a run game, really.
CD's kind of banged up, but probably going to play.
Yeah.
Pretty good game to really, as we try to, actually not that terrible of a game.
Texans might start a little slow because their locker room still smells like Mike Tyson's butt cheeks.
Oh, yeah. Was he in the away? No, I bet you Jake was in the Who do you think was in the away?
I just assumed, Tyson was, but that's a good point. I don't know.
To your point about Netflix, though, figure it out.
It was bad.
Have to.
A lot of it was bad.
Bad.
A lot of it was bad.
Mics were cutting. It wasn't just the buffer. Mics weren't working. The people that on the mic.
Ariel did well. Ariel was good.
Ariel,
Great.
I love that he gets an opportunity for all these independent things that happen, and I think he's supposed to be at those things.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there that I was like, how is this?
What's Rosie Perez? What's her connection again?
She was awesome. She was awesome.
She's great. Yeah, she's great in White Men Can't Jump as well.
Yeah, great at Jeopardy. What things with Q, I think. Things that start with
what is it,
the letter
Keats?
Yeah, I believe that was her.
So stupid.
Billy was so stupid. But I got her on Jeopardy, so that's great. But the whole thing, I had a lot of questions like, this is what Netflix is rolling out here. You know, this.
It was their test. It was their test run for football.
Okay.
It was a good fight.
They had a good card, leading up into the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Like Serrano.
Man, Serrano's cut. I can't believe they didn't call it.
Headbutted. She got headbutt.
That was a nasty cut.
Congrats to Jake Paul and the win. Everybody's really happy for him.
Yeah, everyone is really happy.
Are they?
Everybody's really happy. Jake was in the Cowboys locker room. That means Tyson was in where the Houston Texans will be this evening. So you're right. We do wonder if Tyson's cheeks will still be on maybe some of those seats over there. Boys, let's make a scan. Let's get some photos. Maybe rip the leather, get it autographed, get that thing out there. But I was watching that. I think we're all relatively disappointed because Netflix is getting into sports. We like that they're getting into sports. But you can't be worse than, what was that one called? Trumbull? What was the one that was having those fights? Triller.
Triller.
That felt like a Triller event.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like. It's
a little bit.
You're Netflix. Like what the hell? And they're getting Monday Night Raw. Okay, every single week. It's like you guys got a lot to sort out.
Coming here. Yeah.
And like thank God the WWE was handling the content, so they don't even have to worry about hiring people to run things. But like, has there been that big of a buffering issue since like a low budget podcast platform was operating? Legitimately, that's what I felt like I was watching. I'm like,
terrible.
Is this my internet? And then I go on the internet, then I go on X, and it's like, no, this is Netflix's fault.
Yeah,
and it's like Jerry Jones has built a stadium that's the most connected, the easiest to operate out of. So if you can't get something off the ground in Jerry world, how are you going to be able to do it anywhere else?
Yeah.
That's the
Well, how many
Netflix-
live events has Netflix had? How many live events have they actually put on?
Plenty. They've done a lot. They've done a lot of stand-up. They had the tennis shit. They did the...
This is the biggest, though, correct? This has got to be the biggest, right? At one time?
Certainly the biggest, and you would assume every next thing is going to be the biggest.
Oh, yeah. I'm
that
not
you
making
do.
excuses for them. Like, believe me, you drive down any street in the Midwest, you see gigantic, huge buildings that are all like server farms and server factories. Like, where I don't know if Netflix has them as well, obviously, but you would think they would have some kind of AI equations that would realize, hey, this is what we need.
So when Amazon was bidding on a bunch of these things, you know, I think they bid on Big 10. I think they bid on Big 12. I think they bid on NFL, more NFL stuff. They got Thursday night, obviously. A lot of the people that are making those decisions were like, can you even get a game on the air? So then, like, Thursday night football with the NFL, with the numbers that are coming in, 13 million, 15 million, and it didn't crash, and there was none of that. I think that kind of eased the worries of a lot of people. Sure. But, like, Netflix and Amazon are in that same FANG conversation about the top corporations and companies that are happening. So for Amazon to never really have this issue, I don't remember for any of the NFL shows.
Not like that.
Ever. And then for Netflix to do it, you just look amateur. Like that's just what you look like whenever it all happens. It's like, that was my biggest takeaway. It was like, I'm kind of bummed out that these people are the people and they're getting invested in a lot of shit that we are involved in.
Yeah.
And it's like, who's making decisions over there? Got some bums making decisions. How do we get to the point where nobody can see the shit in the sports world that everybody wants to see? And you're Netflix. It doesn't make any sense to me.
If there was one thing they should have been prepared for, it should have been the traffic. Like it's not like they were expecting 20 million people to watch, and then all of a sudden 60 million people get in there, and it's like, oh shit, that should have been the only. And they have it in place already for the most part. Like anytime one of these massive TV shows debuts on Netflix, like people are slamming the app and like their servers. Like there should have been no and to not even think that could happen. So not having like a backup plan where, hey, if this is going to go wrong, like certain people couldn't watch the whole thing. Like,
I couldn't get in.
Yeah,
I literally couldn't even get into the fight. It was awful.
That's great. Netflix, good job. You'll figure it out. We assume. Really smart people over there, we assume.
Don't ruin Christmas. Don't screw that up.
Don't ruin Christmas. Do not.
Especially with the Thanksgiving games we got.
Peacock did an NFL playoff game last year. Imagine if that happened for an NFL playoff game.
I don't even want to get
It
into
would be awful.
2-minute drive.
And I would assume the amount of money that is at Peacock's disposal is a little bit different than the amount of money that is at Netflix's disposal. So go ahead and figure that entire thing out over there. Then let's go to Saturday night. Michael Chandler, great to have you back. Great to have you back in an octagon.
Yeah,
I know you had been waiting a long time. I think they said 700 and some days since the last time he got in there. Him and Oliveira doing their thing, and then him ending with a couple back body drops, trying to break either his spine or his head or his hold on it. And then at the very end, once he lays down for the second time, and he taps Charles' arm to say, like, respect, I thought the ref thought he was going to tap out. Yeah. Like, I thought he was like, no, you're not tapping out right now. This thing's got to go to the distance with the way you've been able to handle this. Iron Mike Chandler is must watch. Always has been, always will be, and he lives by that. Like, that is what he wants to be known as. He even said that in his post-fight interview. And then getting to watch the GOAT do his... See, that could be considered a tap there, but instead it was...
I thought it was.
Yeah, it was him saying, hey, great fight.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But I was, like, watching in my house. I'm like, holy don't smile. And thank God the ref took some judgment there and was like, yo, are you... is this a quit, or are you just saying great fight? It was clear they were saying great fight to each other, which is very cool. I don't know. I didn't know Chandler could speak Portuguese to talk to Oliveira nonetheless. And then the GOAT doing his thing against Stipe. And a lot of people are saying that wasn't Stipe that we know. And obviously, he is older in this whole thing. But just like when you talk about execution, when you talk about just like everything about it, let alone the body flip, the judo toss that he did to Stipe early, where he was just like toying with him.
The elbows at the end of the first round.
There it is.
Doing everything. And then obviously hitting the Trump dance to make everybody super pumped that potentially voted in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That lineup of...
oh, my goodness.
It was Ari Emanuel, I believe. Ari Emanuel, who owns the TKO group. And then I believe Kid Rock, Elon Musk.
Oh, no.
Donald Trump, RFK Jr. behind him. Then I think Saudi Arabia, big-time player there. And then Triple H is there. Stephanie McMahon's there. The whole lineup there. Dana White has, hey, everybody that is currently in the middle of the political conversation universe, why don't you come to Madison Square Garden? Let's have a good time. The USA chant that radiated through New York City, Madison Square Garden, was a beautiful thing. But yeah, whenever you talk about a spinning heel kick to the body, landed numerous times. He started early with just some straight ones, and you saw Stipe kind of like, a little bit. And you could tell Jon Jones was just calculating the entire time. It's weird because he looks here, and Stipe looks eyes. So, John is like feeling everything. John is like, who's that Russian guy? Fedor. Who's the Russian fighter? Fedor.
Fedor.
There it is.
Fedor?
Matt Mitrione fought Fedor in Madison Square Garden. And he said when he was fighting him, he could tell Fedor was just calculating everything the whole time. Like the distance, the stand. It's like you watch Jon Jones do that throughout the entire fight. He gets a distance check on you. Let me go ahead and check this. It's like a first 15 plays for an offensive coordinator. Jon Jones is just kind of seeing what's all possible. And in between rounds, standing, not sitting, just kind of casual. Heaviest
Think of mentally what that does to your opponent when you see that look at it as he's coming at you and measuring, and then he's standing like in between rounds. Like that's what John does to everybody, though. Like John is an absolute freak. Pound for pound,
greatest fighter of all time. And I appreciate that he has come out in the face of the fans. Because on Friday night we asked, or on Thursday night we asked Dana about it on Friday. Hey, Tommy, everybody wants the winner of this to take on Tommy Aspinall, for a unified heavyweight champ. And Jon Jones goes like, I'm 37 years old, okay? I'm the greatest of all time in this thing. And he almost talked about Tommy being like a splash in the pan. So is every splash in the pan that is a heavyweight, I just am supposed to bend over backwards to go fight? He said, I want super fights. I want people that have already accomplished a lot in this, that are in the same sphere of me in this whole thing. And if they're going to have me fight Tommy, I'm going to need some fuck you money from Dana. And it's like, I think Dana needs to be like, all right, let's do it.
Yep.
Because watching John is awesome. And it relieves some of my worries about these aliens, because I forgot that there's Jon Jones out there who's going to be able to beat the shit out of any of these people or things that come from other places. He is, he's fun to watch, man. He is fun to watch. I couldn't even imagine being in there whenever they shut that door. And just being like, all right, now I got to.
He's like an artist. He's like an artist, man. Like how he fights, like how violent he is and everything he does. He always seems to be in control. He's so calm and collected and then just vicious, man. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
Full bag, just so many different things. Like, and his entrance, always electric. You can tell just the confidence. I've seen his family. We know his family, seeing him. And like you said, once that cage closes, like I couldn't imagine, like just pure violence. Like when you watch him, I'm just thinking about taking those shots. I saw that kick land. I'm like, oh my God.
Early.
He's like, you usually don't see heavyweights or even light heavyweights with that type of bag, that type of full arsenal. Listen to the guys after the fight try to explain it. They were like, look, we can't even explain. It's not like he's one of those guys that outworks everybody, last one in the gym. He's going to show up. He's going to prepare his way, and he's just going to fucking dominate. It's crazy to watch.
His brothers are both Super Bowl champion NFL players.
Yeah.
And he's the baddest one of them all.
Ever.
And the baddest ever. And it's, I'm 38, he's 37. It's been an honor to watch you, brother, no matter what's next. He said, maybe I retire. Maybe I go do these celebrity fights. I just saw 20 million, he said yesterday.
Yeah.
You don't think I could? All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. Have fun tonight. We'll see you then. Goodbye. That was awesome. But yeah, those front kicks in the first round to Stipe, like heavyweight. Heavyweight, we're throwing bombs. Not normally is there like a crafty, exacta. So Stipe's just standing there and he's got a kick coming to the inside of his leg. Okay. All right. Yeah, I've done this.
Fast, so quick. It happened so quick.
And there's a kick to his body. Okay. But you can't protect the body because he'll kick that thing right to your ear, too. He did like a question mark kick, too, I think, just to kind of check it early. And
oh my God.
And Stipe had like a little bit of protection, but then Jon Jones immediately was like, oh, he's just leaving his body wide open here. Okay. No.
And what are you doing right here? These elbows are coming. Like, what are you doing if you're on the bottom?
Those elbows have always been a part of the Jon Jones masterclass. I chatted about it. I don't know who he fought in Baltimore. I should figure it out by the amount of times I've told the story. But it's like he literally just held the guy's forehead and just for 3-4 rounds, just fuck with this guy. And then boom, elbow right to the guy's face. And then that one right there. Those little front kicks, that's all because Stipe's scared to death he's going to kick him in the head. So John is literally just kind of toying with his food here. Just kind of, let me beat him down a little bit. And the strikes, whenever they put that up, obviously, it just far outweighs the other. But like, Stipe Legend, we appreciate you going in there, brother.
Oh, yeah, Stipe.
We appreciate everything you've done. I'm done. I think you see his hand going.
Tight right there.
All right, dude, it's over. I can't breathe. He said, I'm 40. I'm done. I am retiring, and thank God, I think he said afterwards. And obviously, it's big payday for Stipe. Not as big as obviously one of these celebrity fights, which a lot of people are bringing up. And John Jones is utilizing his potential leverage in it all, as he should. You do whatever I thought John Jones was able to go create his own fight. Like, I actually was on a big run about that. I think it was when our show began.
I remember that. Yeah, I used to talk about that.
Yeah, like Floyd Mayweather is able to put on his own fights. Floyd Mayweather is able to put on his own fights. So he owns the pay-per-view, owns the tickets, everything like that. Normally, you need a group of people to be able to do that. UFC, obviously. Look at our fight card. This is our main event, obviously, but boom, boom, boom. John Jones was at the point where he could have been selling out arenas by himself. He could put on super fights and own the entire pay-per-view, and people would be interested. Like, that's the type of guy that John Jones has been. So him coming back, I think the first fight was 230. This one, obviously, middle of the second round. Everybody on earth knows he still got it. And if you wanted to box, I think...
For sure.
I think he'd be able to figure that one out pretty quickly if he had to. And his name is big enough. People would want to watch. Business-wise, it's going to be good for him, but he's awesome. Yeah, you talk about his family. Arthur Jones, obviously teammate of ours, friend of ours. Yep. Nice to see him. He looked happy.
Looked good, too.
He looked so good. Looked happy.
Yeah.
Moving.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he was moving. Chandler, we saw him. He looked good.
He looked good, yeah.
It was good to see him out and about. Dad looked
good, yep.
phenomenal. It was like the entire Jones family had a great Saturday night, and Madison Square Garden looked electrifying.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I potentially had an invite to go. Was not able to make it. While I was watching, I was like, I should be in there.
Right next to Kid.
Mm-hmm. Secretary of the liquor cabinet.
Oh, he made it?
Imagine if I look at him and go,
imagine that picture.
Ball with the ball, the back, diggy, diggy, said the boogie, said up, jump the boogie. And he goes, ball with the ball, the bang. Could you? My name is. Him being right in the middle. McDonald's afterwards, wild. Wow, that's crazy. I did see a couple quarter pounders with cheese lovers in there. They have better palates than everybody else.
They know.
I will say.
They know.
All right, let's get to a break. We got Jonnu Smith of the Miami Dolphins joining us in 2:05 Eastern.
Hell yeah.
How about it?
Nice.
Huge game yesterday for the Miami.
Yeah, dog.
You love him down there. You have to. He's been big catch yesterday at the end there to secure that thing, but he made a bunch of plays.
Been waiting for a tight end like this since we got McDaniel. It's kind of what we've been missing in this offense.
What year is this for him down in Miami?
3.
Nice. Wonder how he feels about Tua being back. Can't wait to ask. Hey, what's the big difference with Tua there versus everybody else in this particular offense? Obviously, insane athlete, wildly fast. What a weapon. Cannot wait to talk to Jonnu. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Like our friends at Dude Wipes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Clean your cheeks with Dude Wipes. Have no more stinky ass after you take a stinky dump with our friends from Dude Wipes. All right, take 5.
5.
Belle Sessions, who got here at 3 a.m. this morning, was the winner. Her ticket was pulled, and you thought to yourself immediately, what, Belle?
I knew I couldn't do it, and he was next to me, and he said that he could, so we're splitting it.
Okay, so Belle Sessions made the decision to talk to my man, Henry Silver, who Henry got here yesterday at 6 p.m. He's been waiting for this moment. Now, Henry, you told her that you could make it. Why do you think that's the case? Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I've kicked a ball before. I've played soccer my whole life. I think I can do it.
This kick is for $150,000. You said you would split it in half, right? Okay, so let's make it $200,000. If you make it, you will both get $100,000. Where are you from, Henry?
I'm from Fishers, Indiana.
Who's your favorite NFL team?
The Colts.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Come on, bro. Hell yeah. To hell with the Falcons. That was rude. They didn't deserve that. I like that. Henry, 33 yards, $100,000 for you, $100,000 for her, $200,000 to hurricane relief, $400,000 on the line. Henry, are you ready?
Of course.
Have you ever said anything bad about kickers?
Of course.
Shut up. Let's go. Now, here in Athens, Georgia, it would be beautiful if $400,000 would be up for grabs. Why don't we double it because the Georgia Bulldogs. So, $800,000 kick right here, Henry. But what I want to let you know is you're not getting a second opportunity. I don't care if this entire place starts chanting for a second kick. One kick, 800,000 racks, 400,000 to Hurricane Relief, 400,000 to you two split, 200 grand each. Henry Silver from Indiana for Bell Sessions. Let's go, Henry! Oh my! Henry! Come in, buddy! Come in! Let me see this, Henry! That was amazing. I mean, he walked in like Henry! Congratulations, Henry! Congratulations, Bell! Dude! Congratulations, Georgia! What a morning! College game day's the greatest. College football's amazing. Bell, you just won $200,000.
If you're the NCAA and you're sitting in that stupid office in Indianapolis where we happen to live, it's a great city. It's a great town. And there's a dumb institution that is ruling over college football. Because if you don't want these people dancing... Celebration, bitches!
What's a major? Is that the president's name?
Oh, that's Kurt Signatic.
Do we like the NCAA? Do we like Pat? Do we love the Dukes?
I wish when I was asked, like, why did you punt? I could say my subcommittee recommended I punt.
Talk your shit.
This guy's hot. This guy's hot.
We'll see you in the next hour. I say today, we take a stand against the NCAA. Let them bull.
Let them bull. Amen.
Rest in peace, Dale. Moment of silence for Dale Earnhardt. Moment has passed. Thank you, Dale. This one's for 3. AJ Hawk, $5,000. This has been one of the coolest moments of my entire professional life. JMU! Thank you so much for the hospitality. JMU! You understand quickly that there's idiots making decisions in every single place that you would never guess idiots would be making decisions. You don't think bowl season deserves to have this situation cooking behind it? College football's better because JMU's football is crushing. College is better because what their football team is doing. The community is better. And the NCAA, yet again, adds to their long list of decisions. Look at that steamboat in the hills of Virginia. You know what?
Chief.
To hell with all of them. James Madison, right here. Right here. And that chef looks damn good. I'd eat that guy's meat any day of the week. If you're able to bury this 33-yard field goal, kicking is easy is what you have said to kickers before. Others have on the internet. Now, 90 racks on the line. We believe. Oh! Kill the kid! Kill the kid! Our worst kid yet! 100 racks of charity. This dog stinks! And that's that the JMU are going to crush App State. They would crush anybody this weekend, especially in this city with how dumb the NCAA is. Let them bowl and let the boys dominate today.
In my Constitution, I have the First Amendment right to free speech. Pat has the Second Amendment right to take its sleeves off and show the bare arms all the time. But I'm saying, if we are so lucky to go undefeated this year.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You pink.
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this massive Overreaction Monday, November 18th, 2024. Hour 3 of the program starts now. Football is awesome. That's AJ Hawk. The Talks the Tables here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys AP. Tony's here, 9-year NFL vet, host of Everything DB, Good D, Bad D. Darius J. Butler's here, looking super cool. You know what would be super cool?
What's that?
If I was a tight end, okay, at FIU, on one particular Sunday for the Miami Dolphins, I go for a historic amount of yards and touchdowns in Miami Dolphins history.
That'd be cool.
While scoring one of the 2 touchdowns that I scored, going over 100 yards, being the first tight end to ever do that, I actually, in celebration, I throw the football up into the air. Holy shit, I'm so pumped. Guess where that ball lands?
Where?
With my family. It's in the stands.
No.
Yeah, sounds like a storybook, right?
It does.
Movie.
No, it's this guy's life. Ladies and gentlemen, tight end for the Miami Dolphins, Jonnu Smith. How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? How we doing, man?
Congrats on the historic day down there, brother. I hope you feel good. I hope you're excited taking it in. Now, let's start talking about everything happening in Miami. Okay, so we had the opportunity to see you guys play the Indianapolis Colts without Tua, and then obviously we watch you guys in prime time with Tua and with Mike McDaniel cooking. What is the difference with Tua as the quarterback with that offense versus anybody else seemingly, Jonnu?
Yeah, man. I would just say, simply put it, it's tailor-made for him. You know what I mean? Tua, man, he is who he is for a reason. I've alluded to that, plenty of times. And, those guys that stepped in, they came in, did a great job. And we got, we were able to, come in there and continue to establish our offense. But he is who he is for a reason, man. And that guy's he deserves all the credit in the world, man. Like I said yesterday in the interview, you got the best quarterback on the planet, man. So excited to be in this system with him and just watch him go out there and make the plays that he makes, man. It's a sight to watch.
Okay, so let's talk about the offense that is tailored to him, because we watched you go absolutely bananas yesterday. Why is this offense perfect for you, seemingly? Obviously, you're with the Titans, the Falcons, the Patriots. Now you're with this Dolphins team. Why do you feel so comfortable in this offense? And is it because you are a freak athlete, Jonnu? Is that the reason why?
Man, Mike just does a great job of getting guys the ball, utilizing our skill set. Getting guys the ball in space. And, when you got monsters like, Jalen and Tyreek, man, it would give anybody, man, the opportunity to have a lot of space down below and just go to work. So, you got guys like that that's going to draw a lot of attention. And, we got a lot of playmakers that'll take advantage of that, man. So this is a perfect fit for me. It's like, match made in heaven, man. So, just continue to and try to, carve this thing out and continue to, take this thing head on and keep going on the streak.
Dolphins fans are thinking the same exact thing you are about the match made in heaven. Gumpy came all over his pants 4 times yesterday. You were 2 of them. That's awesome. Go ahead, AJ.
Johnny, one time when Gumpy was busting big time, we just showed it. It was fourth quarter, and you can see you come off the line, and you look back at Tua right away. You knew, like, hey, these guys, something's up. They busted this coverage right here. You see, did you have it? What was the design route, and what exactly did it happen on this play?
Nah, that was off schedule. That was just me, using my instincts, just playing ball, hoping that, Tua was thinking the same thing. And, we got away with it right there. We know that, it's not too many plays that you could, go off script in the league and they turn into, 50-plus yard touchdowns. But, it was a big play in the game, a big moment for us, to continue to get that thing up 2 more possessions. So, the Red Sea's part of man, and just play ball and just found the open space and Tua found me.
Okay, so let's not talk about that touchdown that goes off script. You do your own thing. The other one, you throw that ball up into the air. Okay,
this is crazy.
This is crazy. Okay, so you did not do this on purpose. I assumed you were just so athletic that you made it look like you weren't trying to do what you were doing. But this lands with your family, right?
Not only with my family, with my oldest son, man. Him right there, that's picking up the ball on the floor. That's my oldest son right there, man.
Oh my God!
Oldest son, and my 2 nephews that's on the right and to the left of him, man. I didn't even know they were sitting over there. I had no idea. I think I found out later. It was probably in the second half that I saw them. They was calling my name. So I realized then, and then later in the fourth quarter, one of the guys came over to me and was like, "Yo, my girl is sitting over there," and they said your family caught the ball. So I was like, what? That's crazy, man. And then literally after the game, they come and tell me that it dropped in my oldest son's lap, literally. And that's him right there, man. Like, I'm glad we got the footage because nobody would ever believe us.
Never.
Nobody would ever believe us.
Oh, that's out of a movie. That's a storybook type thing.
Literally.
So you lost your shit. You were so jacked up, throw the ball.
Yeah, man. Had an out-of-body experience right now, man, and just chucked the ball up and literally just landed in my son's lap, man. Listen, man, God makes no mistakes. That was God's timing right there for sure.
Amen. Amen. That is awesome. Hey, that's beautiful.
Yeah, sweet.
Hey, Universe, man. Hey, is this a team of destiny?
Could be.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone, especially on the same day where a team who was undefeated loses. So the Miami Dolphins continue to be the only team that has ever gone undefeated. Then he scores a touchdown, throws that thing in. Then he has another touchdown late that cements the win. Are the Miami Dolphins a team of destiny?
Yeah.
Possibly. Massive Miami Dolphin fan from South Florida. He has other teams too. Darius J.
Always South Florida kid, always going to be a Dolphins fan. And to be a team of destiny, so obviously one thing to have great play on the field, but off the field, the vibes are definitely important, especially with your quarterback. I want to show you this clip. Obviously, you were there, but Tua crashing your post-game press conference. Then I want to ask you, obviously, balancing coaching and playing, and then how's your squad doing?
How does it translate with you being on the field to the coaching mindset with the kids? How do the kids look at you? Do they look at you as, that's just coach, like he's supposed to do that? Or do they look at you when you have a game like this as like, dude, that's our coach?
Man, I say this. So it's funny too. It's that I had my pups come in, man. We just won 2 championships. My 7U and my 9U team, we came in Saturday's walkthrough yesterday. And I brought them, man, because we just won 2 championships. So I wanted to show them around, bring them around the guys. But it is, obviously.
Okay, so you answered the question of how the squad's doing. Obviously very good, but how is that balancing during the season?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's coaching. It's a big commitment. I'll say that, man. It's demand some long hours. It's funny because when Mike saw that, I had all my guys, all of my kids at the walkthrough, man. He was like, "When do you have time to coach?" You know what I mean? And literally, like it was, we had to get it in. Like I would leave after a Wednesday's practice. Pat, you played, man. You know how like Wednesdays are. You know what I mean? So you too, AJ. You know what I mean? Like you guys know, man. Like you leave after Wednesday practice and you want to get home. You probably watch film. You in bed by 9, 10, whatever it is. And I'm literally heading to another football field to do some more, X's and O's, man. So, man, shout out to the 7U, 9U, Optimus Cooper City Dolphins team. Man. You got it done. You know what I mean? Won a championship in both age groups, so I'm excited about that.
No big deal. The Optimist Dolphins, is that their name? You said the Optimist Dolphins?
Yeah, Cooper City Optimist. Yep, Cooper City Optimist. Yeah, the team name is the Dolphins. Yep.
Cooper City Optimist, the Dolphins, rolling out there. What type of coach are you? A hard ass out there? We a hard ass?
Man, I mean, when I need to be, I try to be a player's coach. I I understand. You know what I mean? As a player, I understand. But kids this age, man, you kind of got you got to be a little bit more hands-on, just because the attention span can slip a little bit. You know what I mean? But they did a great job of differentiating. You know, Coach New and Jonnu Smith, the tight end. You know what I mean, for the Miami Dolphins. That's why we won 2 championships, man. So.
Hey, can I get an autograph? Yeah, go run. And then I'll get it on the other side. I love that. Giving back to the community is obviously a beautiful thing, especially the football world. And if you have a wealth of knowledge, sharing it with the younger group, that is beautiful. Connor has a question about coaching.
Yeah, excuse me, Johnny. Coach Johnny, I guess. Yeah, Coach. When you played for New England and Bill Belichick, and then obviously Mike McDaniel comes into the league, and he coaches a little differently, you could say, than everybody else. What is it like playing for a guy like that? And does he ever say things in that slow, kind of odd surfer guy demeanor, and you're like, how the hell did I go from Bill Belichick to this guy? Because this is not what I've been used to in the past.
I'll say this, man. It's definitely night and day. It's definitely night and day. Mike is Mike, Bill is Bill, 2 different human beings that come from 2 different places and have 2 different outlooks, both great coaches. You know, I would say that's the one similarity that they have is they're both great coaches, but they go about it in different ways, man. I play for obviously, one of the greatest coaches of all time, if not the greatest coach of all time. Much respect to Coach Belichick. And now with the young phenom Mike McDaniel, man, and he's a heck of a coach, man. And personalities is like I said, man, it's night and day. It's night and day, man. Just Mike's all about, you know what I mean, setting a easygoing environment, you know what I mean, coming there and, you know what I mean, the players feel at home, you know what I mean, and, I think that's kind of where the league is just going nowadays, man, you know what I mean, I think that's just the direction it's going, and, guys are winning this way, and, Bill approaches a little bit more militant, you know what I mean, but it worked for him, and he did a great job doing it, man, and it was all ball, and, that's just the 2 differences between those guys.
Yeah, pretty vast differences, feels like. If you were to go from one place to the next, that would be the one going in there. Obviously, both have had success. One of them has won so many. Could you imagine the Miami Dolphins winning the Super Bowl? Jonnu, I don't know how closely you have followed the Miami Dolphins history. We got a guy in the back who's one half of the Hammer. Dahn. Cowboys, Bubba Gumpino. Dolphins fan. Buddy, everything and every time you guys do anything positive or win, this guy thinks you're winning a Super Bowl. Know that you got people out there that are living and dying with every single play. Is that an accurate depiction, Gumpy?
Spot on. We've been waiting for a tight end like you since Mike McDaniel came on. You're perfect for the system. You and Calais Campbell. So thankful you're on our team. Feels like you guys really kind of changed the culture in Miami this year.
Man, I appreciate that, my guy. Much love, man. Much love. Appreciate you, my guy.
You like Calais? You ever walk up to him and go, Jesus Christ, you are so tall? Do you say that to him? Is that
I'll say this, man. Calais is one of my favorite teammates in all the sports that I played. One of my favorite teammates in all the sports that I played. To me, I think I said this the other day, he's like the LeBron James of the NFL right now. You know what I mean? Just as far as his age and his production that he brings to the game, still playing at a high level. I mean, the guy is 1,000 years old and is playing like
he's a dinosaur.
21.
This guy's an actual dinosaur. I mean?
Literally, man, one of my favorite teammates of all time, the best leader I've been around. Good dude, good person. Deserves everything that's coming to him. And it's guys like that, man. When you come in here and your season could be looking kind of cloudy. You know what I mean? You like, man, this guy's like that. I'm gonna go through a brick wall for. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, Calais. Way to go, buddy. Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Bones, body, age, years in the league. He's a dinosaur.
Almost blocked the punt.
On the punt.
Yeah.
On punt, safe.
Yeah.
Calais Campbell is out. Almost goes through his arms. Guy would have had a blocked punt. Talk about sacks last week. Forced interception. Then he would have had a blocked punt the next week. Year 17. given that.
Crazy.
I mean, absolute dog.
I had the pleasure to be with him last year in Atlanta too. So it was, you know what I mean? This is my second year back to back with Calais. You know what I mean? We played against each other. We battled a lot. I was in Tennessee. He was in Jacksonville. You know, when he was over there winning defensive MVPs and, you know, going to championships and, you know, so we battled a lot, man. But I'm glad he's on this side now.
Amen. Walt's paid man of the year as well. I mean, just everything about Calais is awesome. Happy to hear, just like your point, everything that's coming to him right now, he is very well deserving of. Now, let's talk. Let's go back in time a little bit. You talk about one coach being a little militant, one being a little bit more easygoing. I think one coach would fit in well at a stadium, and another would not fit as well. This is Tone Diggs with the question.
Yeah, I think your current coach would fit in a little bit better at Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide's Pitbull Stadium down at FIU. Now that FIU's got that Pitbull money, what is it, 2-3 years before national championships coming?
Good question.
Yeah, it's coming soon, man. You know, we gotta you know, get some more of this local South Florida talent rolling through, man. We got a lot of talent in our backyard, man. We got to get some of these kids, you know, staying home. You know what I mean? So we got to get Pitbull to come and sponsor the stadium for them to stay home. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
I think
a lot of talent back here, man. So we gotta rack them all up.
I think that is the greatest recruiter you could have in South Florida, right?
doubt.
Pitbull?
Oh man,
One of
who
them.
else?
Yeah, Pitbull.
Yeah.
A house T.Y. Hilton built. You know, our former teammate.
T.Y.'s a beast. He was supposed to go to West Virginia. Chose FIU over WVU.
Yeah, another baller right there. T.Y. We got a couple dogs, man, that came out for sure. Got a couple dogs that came out of FIU. You gotta get some more, man. Gotta get some more.
I mean, Pitbull needs to open that pocket up a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
You know?
Some backstage passes, maybe.
He goes from, I watched his documentary back whenever he had the cornrows and was doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
To now, Mr. Worldwide. Like,
switched it up.
If you guys are going to want to win, Pitbull's going to have to open up, not only performances, he's going to have to be paying. That's how it goes.
But I mean, like, you know, you get, man, obviously Pitbull, you know, but we in Miami. Like, what 18? You bring 18-year-old to Miami, you like, man, listen. Like, where else you want to go? You want to go to Nebraska? You know what I mean? Where you want to go? Like, you want to go to, you know what I'm saying? Like the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. You know what I mean, man? So it's, you know what I mean, man. It's I don't, you know, we gotta figure out ways to. Your boosters
actually getting them private planes to fly to those cities, like in December, January. Where you want to go to Nebraska? Huh? That's the second one on your list. All right, let's fly up there right now. Let's just drop in. Let's just drop in and see what's going on. Then we'll come back, and then you got Pitbull coming out. I mean, there's a whole opportunity there. All right, Jonnu, good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate your time.
Hey, man. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off a 2-touchdown day, historic tight end for the Miami Dolphins, Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, Jonnu.
First tight end in Dolphins history with at least 100 yards and 2 scores in a game. His 57-yard touchdown late in the fourth quarter was the longest play by a Miami tight end since 2020. Right. So I believe it has happened before. That was off script. Hey, yo.
Look at him. He's looking right away like, oh, these guys do not have me accounted for.
That's 8 years in the league right there.
Yeah.
You know, that's the type of shit.
Credit to Tua for getting back to him, though. For real.
That's what Tua
could have missed
doing.
that.
And since he's been coming back, them off scripts, off platform, you know, second reaction type plays that you didn't see a bunch of before, and then you were like, okay, once he's coming back off the concussion, definitely more throwaways, probably just falling down, but he's been playing fearless out there.
Let's talk about a couple of the teams we have not chatted about. The Vikings defense dominant yet again. They beat the Titans. Will Levis fun to watch still.
So fun.
Oh yeah,
he's the best, man.
I didn't get to watch the whole game, but I was just following in clips. Will Levis is electrifying.
I love him.
He leaves it all out there, man. He leaves it all on the field.
He certainly does. And in Nashville, they have an L against this Vikings team, even though, 16-3 becomes a one-score game in the second half. Congrats to Sam Darnold and the Vikings continuing to win.
Yeah.
Congrats to doing that. They were a good squad. They played the Colts really well a couple weeks ago. Everybody forgot. Hey, listen. Minnesota Vikings aren't the same old crop Vikings. That NFC North is producing good football outside of
that one.
Chicago. Chicago, but they could have 2 more wins if it wasn't for literally the last second plays that are like very slim to non-happenings.
Kind of why it's bad football.
Exactly. Feels like the football gods have kind of looked down at them and said, nah. Hail Mary off a tip from your own guy.
Can't happen.
And then a blocked field goal. Did you see them talking this morning? It felt like it was everybody in uniform, and they all had big brains, so I'm not going to judge them, but felt like they wanted the Chicago Bears to run a couple more plays. They had 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
They had a timeout. They get into field goal range. They're in field goal range. They continue to move into field goal range. It's a 46-yarder there. 30 seconds left. A lot of people were wanting them to maybe run and get a couple more yards because his percentage under 45-yard field goals versus 46 yards, 3 feet longer, vastly different. And he gets it blocked after a low kick, and they certainly blew up the long snapper and had a pusher in there. And I guess the Bears a few weeks back were actually called for this. Somebody tweeted me during when I went to the bathroom. They were like, check back 2 weeks ago against Cardinals what the Bears got called. And it was just one guy over the shoulder of the long snapper, let alone 3 dudes getting pushed over the shoulders of the long snapper. So the lack of consistency, I think, is probably what people are going to complain about. But nonetheless, a winning team gets a win, a losing team gets a loss. What are your thoughts on how that ended for your Packers?
I mean, I was thinking about Zeke and Bears fans because they thought, here we go, we got to win. We beat this Packers team. No one thought we could win, and then that happens. But also the rule, though, I thought you just can't line up head up on the center.
No,
you can line up offset and get in there. I thought.
No, I think they've changed the rule like 4 different times. Like I legitimately think they've changed the rule so much that nobody really knows what's the call or what's not the call. Eberflus, I said, came out and said he's going to send it into the league. We'll definitely send it into the league.
Nice.
We'll get an email back saying, yep, we changed the rule that you're not allowed to. Because they're doing a couple different things now, AJ, and I know you're a Packer legend here, so you feel like you got to say this, but they were pushing as well. So,
I don't think that was design push. I think they kind of fell into the push.
Oh, okay, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Know.
I agree completely, but none of it was lined up as. So I think that would be the Packers. Bisaccia would say we didn't line up in any of this, but it ends up over the snapper. There ends up being a push that matters because that guy in the front gets like. You literally see him getting, whoa. Mm-hmm. I think he probably in his head's going, whoa, shit. As if he's like a bull rider in that entire thing. He gets a block. Great technique, though. Like, if you're going to comment about it, and once again, we do not know what it's been changed so many times. That rule has been changed so many times. I think almost by design. So, like, people could be like, no, that was the old one. No, you're allowed to, I think if they were to explain it to us, we'd all be very appreciative. But let's say what they did was legal. Let's just say that was the case. You're talking about technique, detail, buy-in, you name it, everything in that one particular play to win the game in the biggest moment. I think if I'm a Packers fan, I'm very pumped about that.
Yeah, jacked up. And the crazy part, too, is the guy who blocked it was coming down. Like, he wasn't even at, like, the top of his jump. It almost was like no matter what was going to happen, and Rich Bisaccia already said it, of course, but they were going to block this kick. This is just Bears football. Because you would assume, like, sure, if that guy gets all the way up there, times it perfectly, like, okay, that's one thing. But, I mean, he jumped almost a little early to the point where he was falling back down. And, I mean, this is just Chicago Bears football now.
Yeah, and Green Bay Packers football, maybe.
Yeah, amen.
Maybe that's Green Bay Packers football. And it doesn't matter, I guess it does matter, right? Complete opposite. All you have to do is get in the trajectory. So the closer to the ball, the lower you got to be, So it's just like the more drive.
Kick's got to be a little bit low, right? It's got to be a little low, huh?
Definitely, yeah.
It's
definitely a low.
I mean,
anything Santos can do, or is that just like kind of his stroke, like his golf swing, basically?
Cairo Santos has become like a Chicago Bears kicking legend, and everything about his kicking style, I don't think is very like Chicago Bearsy.
Conducive.
Like he came up short from 56 against the Colts in Lucas Oil.
He's definitely no Robbie Gold, but yeah.
But he's done great for you guys, right?
100%. Yes,
he's done like very, very well. So I got to get the ball up quick, but Bisaccia knew that he doesn't get the ball up quick. And there's some kickers who've made full careers that don't get the ball up quick, but then the op time's so quick that they don't have to worry about it. It's like, I don't want to say situations are situational, but very much so. Situations are situational. Because Cairo, I don't think he's ever been known for being like I'm hitting bombs.
Yeah, Bill said he would let guys in practice just go straight through. So I'm assuming, Vinatieri or Gostowski, like they obviously had a different trajectory where it didn't matter if you got through.
Well, it's the speed of the op too. So
snap the hole.
With how fast that thing's getting off, like the guys who hit the ball lower, normally their op's a little bit faster. So like when everybody's working at 1, 2, 3 up, it's gone. It's gone. They utilize that as like an advantage, like almost like you're not going to be able to move forward enough to get to the point where you can also get your hand up before the ball's off. So the fact that they had that much time to get back there and still get the hand up and get the block, I think that is kind of a conversation piece that hasn't been hit yet is the op time. I don't know what it was.
Also, Cairo said after, he said the op time was absolutely perfect and like all that. So, and again,
Operation or op time?
He said operation. So I thought.
Yeah,
that was
so
the same,
operation would be snap and hold if the snap was in a good place for hold. Op time is actual how fast it all goes
What
off.
were you and Vinny's? What was the mark?
130 is what you're trying to be. If you're under that, obviously fast. If you're too far under that, you're chaotic. So, but there's some people that go like 125. There's some guys that are like 121. Then there's some like 1-4, 1-4-5. You're asking to get blocked. Like that is you're asking.
Does it have to do with when you take your step?
Who?
Like you as the kicker, can you make that quicker? It depends on. Hey, some guys I would imagine like to see that thing. I don't know. Some guys probably start their step earlier, right?
And what I think everybody's aiming for 1.3. I think that's what like is just the standard time that has become 8-yard field goal operation. 7-yard field goal operation in college, I don't know what it is, but they have an 8-yard or two. Some colleges do 8 yards instead of 7, which is fascinating. I like that they're doing that, anything similar to the NFL. But yeah, like 1.3 seconds from ball moving to being kicked is about standard operating procedure there.
When do you move? When do you start moving as the kicker?
It depends, yeah. It all depends on how long your steps are. Like Vinatieri moved as soon as I would lift my left hand to go catch ball. That was like a green light. That was like a green light for him. But some guys have shorter steps, so they can kind of wait until ball's caught, and then they can go, you know? Nobody's waiting until the ball's set. If you're waiting until ball's set, I mean, that thing's blocked for sure.
See ya.
But 1.4 is normally like block. Like that is, isn't that crazy? Okay. Tenth of a second.
Yeah.
Everything's close. Like if you want to slow down a kick and they're actually rushing, you can find somebody in there, whether it's off the edge or something. It's like close. Like in a team meeting or in a special teams meeting, if a special teams coordinator wants to find one and says, we're close, we're almost there, every kick. It's like, we're close. It's like, yeah, you're close. That's kind of the whole thing. So whenever it starts getting blocked, it's like, is it the kick? Is it the operation? Is it the block? Like everything starts coming into question. But if the op time is slow, like you got no chance no matter what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been so close if that guy didn't block it, how close the dudes right next to him were. Like, could you imagine that would be the same conversation? Like, they were this close to blocking. If this guy's hand is just here,
If he didn't get
the
pushed.
middle. Yeah, bingo. If he didn't get pushed forward, actually, probably just a really, really close attempt at a block.
They almost got it.
Yeah.
You know, that would be the conversation. And that one seems going a little left, too. I don't know if it's coming back. I don't know what Cairo's ball flight is, but, I mean, that's a great block, attention to detail, as I take some ibuprofen. This tooth.
Still hurting.
It's got to, right? It probably hurts worse now, doesn't it?
It did there for like until like this morning. It hurt worse than before the thing. And I'm like, what did I do? Why did I do this?
Makes no sense.
Saturday, I blew out one of the things when I took a bite out of that sandwich. Hope everybody's happy.
The stuffing.
They bring that sandwich up. Yeah, and they're like, look at this here. They put it right in front of me. Normally, that would be my bag.
Sure.
Thanksgiving. Stuffing was on there.
Oh, yeah, it looked great.
Turkey, gravy, is big-ass bread. I mean, that is right in my wheelhouse.
And they pan the camera right to you, waiting for you to eat that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, everybody. And the restaurant was just staring. What do you think of it?
Do it, huh? Do it.
Like,
Come on.
People don't even know. I can barely open my mouth right now. I got a jaw that's swollen
painful.
like I just got a kick from John Jones. I'm slobbering in between taking drinks. I think this guy can't even shut my mouth because of this entire thing. And then, I busted. I was looking at the peanuts. Give me these. Give me these. Give me these. Look how small these are. The night before for dinner, we were at an Italian place. I was having to shove this pasta in my mouth because I couldn't open my mouth. I was getting like pasta sauce on my nose and my chin because of the entire thing. Hey, why don't you get that sandwich? Okay. All right, we a break?
Yes, Tony.
Jeez.
That hurts so bad. Hurts so bad. Hurts so bad. Yeah, it just blew out.
I had to.
Swallowed some blood immediately afterwards. It was great.
Clean fit.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very
much so.
Shout out to David Allen on the jacket. The jeans, very comfortable. I don't know the brand. They were relatively expensive, though.
Nice.
Okay.
He had some real fashion stuff on.
Nice.
It's because I forgot my jeans, had to buy them.
Sure.
The whole song and dance.
Classic.
Classic situation. They were very nice, very comfortable. I appreciate that. Yeah, and then Shaquille O'Neal shirt.
Oh, nice.
That's what that was?
That's from the Shaquille O'Neal brand. Got that at JCPenney, that shirt.
That was my favorite part of the fit. It was perfect.
Yeah, it's big and tall.
Nice.
It's big and it's longer. I like longer shirts And that's from the Shaquille O'Neal brand. Very comfortable.
Shaq have everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
he does.
He does.
Everything.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
What?
Yes, he does. Speaking of, Inside the NBA has been licensed to ESPN for the 2025-2026 season. Congrats, all parties.
Man, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Huge.
That is huge news. That is very good news. Their show is being licensed through ESPN, just like our show is licensed through ESPN. So congrats to whoever negotiated that deal. I think it was somebody at Turner that did that. And then in return, there's like 13 Big 12 games that ESPN has that maybe don't have a proper primetime slot for that they're giving over to Turner. So in the negotiation, not only they get some football, they get inside the NBA. I assume there is about a money exchanged, but nonetheless, Jimmy Pitaro gets a deal done. And now the best show in sports media is headed to ESPN. That's a beautiful thing. Congratulations.
Yeah. Great trade.
Good for basketball.
Great for basketball. Great for us, too. They might come on the show.
Absolutely.
Might feel.
Will they still film same spot like that, or how will it go? Do you know?
Turner Show, license. Just like,
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. I'm sure all the sports media people will be able to understand it this time when they're reporting it because they have respect for those people, because business-wise, that's an incredible move. They're able to keep full creative control. That means the show won't change at all. That means they're still running their show that they have run forever. It's just being licensed through ESPN. Somebody else did that within the last couple of years. Didn't get any fucking respect for it, but pretty historic whenever people look back on it 10 to 15 years from now, I assume. And all the dipshits now that have pens will be fucking doofuses then, too, even more so, I assume.
Did all of the Inside NBA's fans call them sellouts and stuff like that?
I don't. A little different. No, I guess. No, yeah, they did not. That was people were saying very mean things.
Very mean.
People still say very mean things to me on a regular basis. I don't even know you guys. I assume you guys get a bunch of shit, too. I think it's just part of life these days.
Part of it.
I'm about sick of these college football fans and their bullshit, though.
Oh, I can imagine.
I'm giving away $800,000, on a Saturday. Lucky to do it. Thankful to do it. But then I got a bunch of people, this selfish piece of shit is probably not even his money he's giving away. I'm like, all right, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea. They're passionate, brother. They are very, very passionate. I didn't even hear, my first time listening to this kind of shot back, I watched his kick a bunch of times. What a beautiful kick.
He drilled it.
It was a cool situation. The whole thing was awesome.
I am so proud of Henry Silver, obviously Indiana boy, who his Instagram profile pic is one of the coolest things that I've ever been a part of. Picture of me and him from training camp back in the day. But he got there at 6 p.m. on Friday for game day. She got there at 3 a.m. You're talking about being committed to the program and to the show. Like, I am so incredibly thankful for Bell Session and Henry Silver for doing that. But then I've been waiting for somebody to do what Bell did. Waiting for it. Mm-hmm. I've actually mentioned numerous times in conversations, didn't want to say it on this show because didn't want to give people ideas. Somebody needs to think of this themselves. But how has nobody said, because I've never made the rules against it. The rules are the first 300 people get tickets, raffle tickets, if they want it, participate. Then the ticket is drawn, and then whoever it is gets a chance to do the kick. Now, we have never said that person who wins the drawing can't say, I pick you. Do you want to, how do you want to go about doing this? And go in there. Smart. So whenever I was told of the happening, they're like, the person who won doesn't want to kick, they want to pick somebody else or whatever. I'm like, genius. That was my reaction. I don't think the person, his name's Jeff, he works, I appreciate the hell out of him. He's a massive piece of this entire thing. I don't think he was expecting that reaction from me. I think they were trying to figure out, is this even allowed or whatever? And I was like, immediately, genius. Yeah, good. He was like, so we're good. And I'm like, definitely good. So I meet Bell, and I'm like, did you plan on doing this? Was this a work? Hey, I'm going to get here in the first 300, and I'm going to find somebody that can kick. And she was like, no, he was just standing next to me. Didn't know him. She didn't even know who he was. He just was standing next to her. And then whenever she looked nervous after she won, he looked at her and was like, I can make that kick. And she was like, deal, let's do it. So it was that was a beautiful... I was very, very pumped that it came together like this because I think it's a great depiction of understanding the situation. How do we beat the situation? How do we at least put ourselves in the best situation to beat the entire opportunity? And they did it. And then for him to strike that ball, I don't care if he had been a high school kicker. He obviously played soccer, I think, here, Hamilton Southeastern. I saw a lot of people talk about it. But for him to strike that thing, that was good from like 40.
Those are not good kicking shoes either, I feel like.
Not good kicking shoes, not good kicking ball, not good kicking surface. You've been standing, he's been there since 6 p.m. the night before.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's warming up, you know, and then the crowd.
Yeah, the pressure. That's like, shit, I'm sure it's a lot of good golfers that once that crowd gets around you, oh shit.
Exactly.
It's a lot different. So for him to step up, now did he tell you like about meeting you in the moment,
No.
training camp, like in the moment, or did?
Not at all. I didn't know until afterwards. We were in the car, I think, leaving the set, and I opened my phone, and I think it was, I don't know if it was somebody from West Virginia. Somebody texted me and was like, "Yo, did you see this kid's Instagram profile?" And I was like, "No," and it was. They sent the picture. It didn't load because everybody's around, and the phone, I think, is the fucking worst one. I think I have the worst fucking one. I think I do. Gumpy used to have the worst one. I think I now have the worst fucking one that is out in the wild. That's what I think. Can't upload anything. Can't download anything. Can't send anything. Can't connect to internet.
Oh.
Can't do.
The worst.
And then there's no internet on. Okay. Nonetheless, there's a whole thing. But once it loads, I almost got emotional. I almost got pretty teary-eyed because I thought about Henry and he wanted to do this. That's why he got there at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know when he made this his profile pic. Did he make this his profile pic on Friday before he got there? Because he kind of all saw
manifest
it all happening. You know, it's there's so many parts to it. I can't wait to catch up with old Hank. I assume whenever he comes home in the summer, we will have him through here at the Thunderdome, and we'll see if that motherfucker makes another one.
Sure.
No, I'm joking. But he was awesome. So was Bell. And then obviously another $400,000 hurricane relief, which puts us way up over $1 million, let alone Lenny Lemoyne down there in Louisiana, and Vans and Tim's and everybody else that's donated. It's that was a cool moment, man. That was a really cool moment.
All time.
Could barely open my mouth to yell and that whole thing. But then Henry going to the camera, too, immediately. Like this.
It's a good solid.
I was like, this kid's a dog.
Yeah.
This kid
got some moxie.
He does. He absolutely does. Yeah, I was proud of him, man. That was a cool moment. Expensive. Very expensive. But a cool moment. And then I explained on Instagram, because all those people that say it's not my money, it's tax write-off. It's okay. Giving 2 college kids $400,000 is a tax write-off. Okay. No, that is not how it works. Do a little bit of research. Not everything is just a tax write-off. And also, tax write-off, look at the percentage of money that you're getting back versus what you actually have to give. It is nowhere near what you think it is. And also, with the amount of donations we've given, that whole write-off thing is normally checked off by the end of January each year. Yeah. Okay, so that shit really does piss me off. But then also, I think it is kind of confusing to think whose money is that? You know, whose money is that? Because normally this wouldn't take place. Normally it would be a big corporate sponsor, okay? Normally it would be some business. But with the amount of bullshit that you would have to get through to get an actual good segment, and I put on Instagram, they would have a $1,500 kick. Because, I saw a kid hit a 45-yarder or something for $10,000 this weekend at halftime. It was sponsored, obviously, a big thing. It's that's a much farther kick and everything like that. A $500 kick would potentially be offered. I think we saw at one of the games we were at.
Penn State, they offered $1,000 right before halftime.
$1,000 for a 40-yard kick. Yeah, for somebody on the field. It's that is what corporate shit is. And whenever this idea was pitched and everything, it was I want to make I want it to feel I want there to be a palpable. Also, how do you get nervous if you're for $500? It's fuck it. I'm just here or not. That kid having $800, and I watch his ass, which is another cool thing. $800,000, you only get one shot. I watched him lock in, and that was cool to watch. I think he's going to med school. I believe he's going to utilize this money, hopefully, going forward to go to med school. He needs to be in surgery. Because those surgeons have to execute with a lot of pressure. Watching him flip the switch was cool. Henry, you should be incredibly proud of yourself. You really should be. And Belle, genius.
Yeah, smart move.
Absolutely genius. Belle is the second girl that has been randomly selected from the raffle drawing. First one was at Alabama last year. She missed a kick, as did many others. Now Belle is the second ever winner. And I'm excited to see what this turns into. You know, I'm excited to see what it is. And who knows how long this kicking thing will last.
It's already turned. What do you mean? I don't know. I'm sure you see it, but every so many little kids love the kick. Like young kids, my own kids, they freak out if they feel like they're not going to get to watch the kid, whoever's going to kick it, and they think it is absolutely hilarious when they shank it hard and you guys go crazy. Like it's a great segment. The whole thing's awesome.
Right. It was to display, that college kickers aren't the worst humans on earth. Just kicking is hard.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the evolution of it, and now we got governors saying, hey, way to go, buddy. And what it's turning in positive-wise with people donating, it's cool. It's very, very cool. Anyways, shout out to Georgia. Damn good dogs down there. They get a huge win over Tennessee. That was a massive win for Georgia. Massive win. And the way they went about it, Carson Beck's best game by far.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Mm-hmm.
Able to run the ball a little bit, too, with Frazier. Haven't been able to do that for some time. Defense showed up. They were able to stall that Tennessee offense that's been rolling, and Tennessee's defense has been phenomenal, and Carson does his thing. It's like, what a win for the Georgia Bulldogs, who I assume tomorrow night are going to be very in to the college football playoff. And shouts to Cody Rhodes. Ban-a-dang. Ban-a-boo. 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 Ban-a-bam. Ban-a-bam-bam-bam-bam-bam. Ban-a-bam-bam-bam-bam. Whoa! AJ, do you not know the songs or every other person?
I like to give you guys your space. I like to give you guys your space and not step on you because I'd be like a tiny bit behind you guys. You know that.
Okay, so you do know the song. You know that, obviously.
Come on, Cody Rhodes. We're talking. Let's go. And I know that's. I don't want to step on Tone. That's like Tone gets rocked up to do that to finish that.
Only during Mania season. I don't care right now.
It's in Athens. No,
jeez, Tone.
It's always Mania season.
He was great. He knew his shit.
He was dialed.
Yeah,
dialed in.
He knew his shit.
Yeah.
He really does. Like, there was a couple people, whenever I would go do Raw or whatever, and I get there that I don't want to say don't have anybody else to talk to about these things, but it does feel like, oh, hey, I would like to let this person know, college ball fan, let's talk about ball, and also expecting me to have answers for everything that they're asking in this thing. Cody Rhodes, very much college ball fan, very, very big Georgia Bulldog fan, and I think obviously he did his research for all the other games in the slate. There was one of those games in the slate. There was a Big 12 game.
Yeah.
That shout out to Arizona State. Shout out to Arizona State.
You're the only one, right?
I think Dez was just trying to crack a joke, and that ended up going the other way. But yeah, they're a good team out there.
Yeah.
They are
rolling. Why are you even picking this shit?
That was now, whenever he says that, I look over, I'm like, that's just shit on a Big 12. There's no reason. He potentially is talking shit to me in that moment. So, because I Big 12 advocate on that particular program, a lot of talk about, this is a wide conference, not really a deep conference or whatever. It's like everybody needs to slow down just half a beat here for a second. But what Arizona State has been doing this year, I'm happy we got to talk about. I'm happy I got to pick them. Because as Des was saying that, and he makes his pick Kansas State, I think to myself, like, oh, I'm going to be the only one. And then the Kansas State happens, I'm like, oh, I don't think they know. I don't think they know. And I go Arizona State, and then I go next to me, and I'm like, Cody might give me though, because I'm on a. And then everybody kind of picks the way they do, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys have watched enough of this. Tone's a big fan of this particular coach and this particular team, so it's like a thing that I see, and I'm like, hey, the way they've been playing, 7-2, it's like,
Scatabo is one of the best running backs in the country too.
Dog. Now they're 8-2. How you doing? Keep it moving.
They got BYU at home this weekend, too.
Which, with BYU reeling the past couple of weeks, how that has gone.
Massive game.
Huge. And Colorado obviously has an opportunity. They get a
Colorado's at Kansas, who's rolling now, too. There's a couple of huge matchups in the Big 12.
Kansas is absolutely rolling. They're like how they were at the beginning of the year, but it could be Arizona State, Colorado.
Yeah.
In this entire thing at the end.
Who you guys got? I see you guys are doing a
West Virginia?
Whiteout?
Big brownout. No, brownout, yeah. They're wearing their brown jerseys.
Brown out.
Yeah, for Neil Brown.
Never heard of it. Oh,
yeah.
Never heard
What happened?
West Virginia's doing a brownout this weekend.
Everyone's going to poop their pants?
No,
serious?
They've been doing that every weekend, but they're doing everyone wear brown for Neil Brown.
What? What happened?
I didn't hear this.
In support for Neil Brown,
Jerseys
everyone
new?
is going to wear brown in the stadium. So it's a brownout.
So brown out is a support of Neil Brown?
Yeah. Like we're all wearing the color of his name. Like let's show him some support.
Oh, okay. So they're all coming in saying, we're wearing your last name.
Bingo. We stand with the Browns, so it's brown out.
I read that different.
How come it's not a brown in then?
Well, they are also brown in because that's where the poop pants comes from. Saying it's brown in their shorts.
You're right. So brown in, brown out.
Yeah, bingo.
Which I think they are supporting you.
Yeah. Or it's just a nice little send off.
What do you mean?
Like, hey, give this guy one last nice moment before we fucking shit can him and get him out of here.
So, for instance, senior night for my class, I just so happened to be so lucky to be Pat White's, classmate. Senior night, white out. For
Bingo.
Pat, for Pat
Oh,
White.
that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. Same exact thing.
Packed house, probably. I would assume. For you
Massive
guys.
snowstorm.
Oh, shit.
Like actual feet and feet of snow. So people were showing up during game. Like first time where like you saw like people actually weren't like battling through conditions to get to stadium.
Yeah.
And it ended up being packed out, but it was a real snowstorm. We were taking on South Florida, I think, USF, if I do recall.
Had to smack them.
Yeah, in the snow.
Yeah, I think we did win pretty good. We did win. The only thing I really remember from that game is at the very end, it's your last game there. I stood in the middle of the field and I like looked up to one side and I did like what's that called? A panoramic.
Yeah.
So I did like a panoramic view of like the stadium one last time. And I still like see, that's how I see the stadium whenever I think of it. And then walking off pretty emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Walking off pretty emotional. Yeah. Because on that field, so many things had happened to me in my life, let alone the 2 kicks against Pitt in the first quarter. But then you're talking about all of our strength and conditioning and all our running was on that field, So it was like, I've had my life threatened on that field and I've almost died actually on that field. And then,
Question a lot of things on that field.
Bingo, yeah. That field presented a lot for my life. So walking off was a pretty surreal moment. I don't know if that's what the brownout's supposed to be.
That's what I assumed. That's how I read it.
I can't think of what else it would be.
Who wrote it? Do you know?
No, I have no idea who wrote it. I don't know. Who
Did you write? Is this a
didn't-
Cockner thing?
No, well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Fucking
All brown,
shit
brown
about
pants,
that
brown
anymore.
shirt, brown hat.
Everything.
Everybody's wearing all brown.
I'm looking at it right now. I think the university's doing it.
The university's doing a brownout?
Nice.
Gordon Gee?
Hope Neil does a panoramic too. Takes it all in.
Why?
What do you say?
Just take it all in.
He might be coaching flag football next year. Stadium's a little bit smaller.
What, Jonnu Smith?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
I don't know if he
I don't know if he's
coach
qualified. Yeah, I don't
If
know
they're
if
winning
he'll-
down there, they're winning 9U in South Florida, then 7U. You got a squad because you are playing some studs. I
And
bet it's unbelievable.
Good coaching.
Oh, yeah.
Good coaching.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens with West Virginia. I saw a basketball team played Pitt the other night.
What happened?
You know what happened.
I did
That's
see
why you
that.
asked that question.
I did see it.
I thought our basketball team was supposed to be the real deal.
It's supposed to be good.
I was talking a lot of shit.
They got blown
I was
out.
talking a lot of shit about our basketball team to some Pitt people,
Sure.
And then I just got updates throughout that game, and it did not get better. Halftime was bad. And then I go, second half team, this is fucking new squad. And then I get pictures sent of the score to
Worse.
me. It got worse.
Yeah.
We were not a second half team. We were in the first. You're going to have nights like that.
Yeah, you are gonna have nights like
Long
that.
season.
West Virginia Soccer won the Sun Belt Conference.
There you go. There, you hang your hat on that. Going forward.
That's huge.
I don't know. We're in the Sun
You're in the
Belt.
Sun Belt. You're in the Sun Belt in soccer. Is that happening in different
Soccer's
sports?
weird.
Your different conferences?
I have no idea. I saw the picture. I saw how happy everybody was. I had so many fucking questions.
How does that work?
I don't know. Wow. And why is it the Sun Belt? I don't know if the Sun. Who's all? Does the Sun come to every state as much as it goes? I don't. Yeah, we won it though. We fucking beat them.
Congrats.
Thank you. Shout out to the Sun Belt champs.
Hold on to that. It'll be a while everywhere else.
No.
Yeah.
Rifle team.
Boom.
Yeah, hold on to that too.
We're ready.
Yep.
The rifle team actually has this new heart controlling breathing exercise they've been doing. They created it. So
Yeah, but unfortunately, no one gives a fuck about rifle teams in college sports. We do.
Really?
But nobody does.
I want to hear more about the heart breathing thing they invented.
yeah, well, they won't tell anybody. It's fucking.
Oh,
It's like Area
smart.
51 over there.
What's the
Respect.
college football playoff looking like for the rifle squads this year?
Oh, well, obviously we have a first round bye because we're champion of the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
Okay, which we know.
Oh, you're in the rifle team. So, okay.
The Sun Belt is the best marksman
men's soccer Sunbelt is so weird.
Okay, Don just looked up some information.
No, I'm just saying, like, WU's in it, Kentucky's in it, South Carolina's in it.
Kentucky?
That's what I thought. We're fucking champs, too.
Wow, congrats.
He's Marshall, you
they're
said.
not-
Marshall makes it.
It's SEC. Bunch of schools not have a men's.
I don't give a shit about soccer down
team.
there.
Yeah, okay.
Kidding me?
It must
Football,
not. Yeah.
baseball.
Kidding
Greg
me?
Sankey canceled
Yeah.
men's soccer.
Yeah, no thanks. Go play in the fucking Sun Belt. It's football season. I'm playing soccer.
Yeah.
West Virginia soccer team's a real deal. Just
Yeah,
didn't know that.
Sun Belt champs.
Huh?
It's right in the NCAA tournament's right around the corner. We're going to win that one, too.
Can't wait.
We're going to win that one. The Sun Belt is going to be represented properly in the NCAA by West Virginia.
I agree.
You need to know that.
Biggest, best season they've had.
Rich Rodriguez has won like 7 straight games down at Jacksonville State.
Bring him back. Bring him back.
Don't look now.
Don't look now. You know, Signetti grew up in the West Virginia program. You let him get hired by Indiana. Jimbo Fisher, obviously, name and thrown around a West Virginian college football legend. He's out of coaching a little bit. How did it go at the end of Texas A&M? Would it be different in West Virginia? You know, there's a guy who has a massive chip on his shoulder. Massive. He would have to exercise some demons for sure. But there's somebody who is motivated to get West Virginia back to being great. More than maybe anybody that could possibly do it. Could you fathom Rich Rodriguez going back to West Virginia? I could not. I thought maybe John Gruden does it, you know, because he's been talking about it.
Yeah.
He's now in Barstool running up numbers. I don't know if he's ever getting back into coaching. He's about to
great.
He's about to take
great over
over
there.
digital. He's about to take over the digital landscape. I mean, no questions asked. John Gruden is about to take over the internet as a whole. You know, for those of us that have been watching him on the internet over the last, few months?
Yeah.
It's like, this is fucking good. And he was using old school camera.
Oh, yeah.
No lighting at all.
No mics.
Perfect.
Now he's Barstool Gruden, and it's like, they're going to have some play and some ideas, some critiques, and then he's all right. So maybe he'll never get back into coaching. Who knows what he's going to do? Maybe he's just coaching all of us on the internet, which we can hope for. But it's like, Rich Rod going back to West Virginia would be crazy. That would be a fucking wild, wild scene.
I hope they do it. I thought they were looking at Shane Waldron. Bring him in. Kind of revamp that offense.
I mean, bring it. They're doing a brownout to celebrate their coach. Why would there be?
No, for OC, not to be coached.
Guy's got NFL experience.
So the brownout is a thing, right? But we're
I
not
don't
sure on the
think the
motivation. We're
brownout-
not sure on the intentions.
Don't know.
I'm pretty sure on it.
Okay.
You're pretty sure on it existing?
Pretty sure on it.
On the intentions being to support Neil.
All right. Let's do some overreactions and get the fuck out of here. Let's make our picks before we do the overreactions.
Did I go undefeated this week?
You had a great week.
I tell you what, I legit thought I might have gone defeated this week.
Completely defeated.
Yeah.
Couldn't see the board very well.
Swinging a
apparently.
hot bat.
That's a wrap on
I'm swinging a hot bat. I'm
Unfortunately.
due.
I'm
winning this one tonight.
I guess the picks are doing pretty well here in the NFL. I don't know about college. I know.
You're killing the NFL picks. You kidding me?
I think that college okay too. I think.
You got 8. I feel like you got 8, 9 wins every week.
Yeah, it's been okay thus far, you know. And I've waffled a couple times, obviously on this Friday segment.
Sure.
Tough not to.
I've waffled a couple times. This evening, though, this is a tough one. This is a very difficult one because there's so many question marks. It's like, will the Houston Texans offensive line be able to protect C.J. Stroud? We have no idea. Now, if they are able to protect C.J. Stroud, what happens with Nico Collins' addition back to the offense? Well, you would think electricity. You would think big numbers. You would think Cooper Kush would never be able to keep up, especially without a run game. How are they going to be able to do anything? This is a tough one to pick in my eyes. D-Butch, what are your thoughts? Who you taking? How you taking it?
You know what? With all the shit surrounding Michael Parsons as of late, I know him and C.J. Stroud spent a bunch of time this offseason together, so they'll probably do it again going forward. A lot of shit talking to be had. I think this is the Michael Parsons game. I think he is an absolute game record tonight, and I think the Cowboys cover and speak with my heart, bet with my heart here, and they win. Texans stumble, Cowboys win straight up.
With your heart? You want the Cowboys?
Yeah, I want. I mean, I
Texans
love
lose.
C.J. Stroud and Texans. Nick,
We need
consider all
them
those
to
guys,
lose.
but need them to lose with what area because AR is cooking right
Yeah, I hate culture all the way.
now.
through.
yeah, good call.
So give me Dallas straight up.
Okay, doesn't even want the +7.
Well, actually, I want the +7, but
Oh, okay.
All right,
Just so we're clear.
Good call.
So we're clear. I would like the touchdown, yes, for sure. AJ, who do you like? How do you like it?
Man, I don't know how many points the Cowboys are going to score on offense. I don't know. Maybe Coop has some magic tonight, but I'm taking the Texans here. I know 7 does feel like a lot, but I feel like the Texans get back on track a little bit. But I think D-Bud, that's one thing that does worry me a bit. I could see Micah being an absolute game wrecker, especially feeling good, feeling healthy. But I will stick with the Texans here, -7.
What was the tweet I just saw about the Texans' money? There's some insane stats around the Texans right now.
It's all on the Texans.
Nico's back.
It's like 87%, I think I saw.
It's over 70% at every book, over 80 at most.
How's that usually go?
Well, this weekend, public did well.
matter.
Stroud,
Right, the favorites.
Stroud's also 3-8. ATS as a favorite of 3 or more points.
Okay.
Never been favored by 7 in his career.
And he stinks in the road, but it's still in Texas. So is it really
Cowboys
the
at
road?
home have
That's a
been.
good question. How is he with
There's no sun. It's game time, though. Nighttime, right?
Yeah,
So the
good
sun's
point.
down.
No sun? What were you going to say, Tony?
Cowboys at home this season lost 44-19, 28-25 to the Ravens. That was a good one. That was close. 47-9 to Detroit, and 34-6 to Philly.
Jesus
They're not going
Christ.
to do it again.
Jeez.
I'll take the Cowboys +7.
Wow.
I don't like it. I don't love it.
I want to see a good game. I want to
Want
see
some
it back
more
and
of it?
forth. Let's see a game.
Good call.
Colts and Creamery. I think that's their sizes. Like it.
Really?
Love it.
Yeah, that's Cold Stone.
Want
Yep.
some more of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It was on DoorDash the other day.
Oh, I didn't know.
No
Colts
free
did
ads.
that. I like that.
But last night, boy, got a cookie dough with extra cookie dough. I don't want to mention where I got it from. It's cold. It's blizzy. It's just so delicious.
Dairy Queen?
Yeah.
So much better than Cold Stone.
So fucking good, dude.
Cold Stone,
Blizzard, yeah.
Cold Stone's too cream. Like the ice
Yeah.
cream is not good.
Custard. Is it like custard, they call it?
It's not. It's ice cream, but it's nowhere near fucking DQ's ice cream.
It really isn't.
Blizzards are the apex of things like that.
I have no idea what they're putting in their ice cream versus other people's.
Who
I'm
cares?
sure there's a full conversation about that whole thing. Dairy Queen is, I mean, they reign supreme.
If they're not putting good stuff in it, we got a guy that'll get to the bottom of it.
Who's that?
Yes,
Well
it
said.
will. Did you see the Canadian Fruit Loops and the United States Fruit Loops?
I did.
yeah.
Hope,
So a
that's,
couple things different. I don't know what he's talking about.
hope that's changing.
Where's the journalistic standards? Do they exist? I don't know. All right, let's go to some overreactions. I'm on the Cowboys. You're on the Texans. You're on the Cowboys as well.
Cowboys, yep.
That was a good point about us wanting the Texans to lose. I almost got caught up in the fact that I like CJ.
Yeah, love it.
And I like the Texans as a whole.
Love Nick.
But we need them to go.
Need it. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry about it.
Let's do some overreactions. Ty, how was the batch this morning if you had to give it a one-word description?
Okay. I would say we're getting to the point where it's tough because a lot of the overreactions are just kind of the same week in, week out. It's like how many times can, if you're a Jets fan, say like, fucking Woody Johnson needs to go back to England. Like I've seen that a billion times.
Okay,
You know what
got
I mean? Getting a little stale. So
lot of
hopefully kind of next week we jog the creative juices a bit.
Okay. Let's not. Listen, these are still going to be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
no,
at this point in the season.
Cannot wait to read them. Ladies and gentlemen, I put out a bird call and said, Happy Overreaction Monday. Would love to hear your thoughts. All you have to add in your tweet is hashtag I don't want to overreact. But best ones to make the show. We ended up being the number 3 overall trend in the United States. Shout out to
Saw it at 2.
Okay, shout out to the people. We appreciate the opportunity to read through. And if you're bored, taking a dump or anything like that on your phone, go ahead and scroll through all these. These are the ones that Ty picked to be on the program. This one's from Tone Diggs. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but we're from the town with that great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Cheer the Steelers. Black and gold. Here we go. Town of Pittsburgh's heart and soul. Here we go. I love it. Break out all the Super Bowl songs because that is exactly where we are going. See everyone in NOLA. Tone, I don't think it's an overreaction, brother. You just knocked off a very good Ravens team.
Yeah, very, very good. And we talked about it last week. Was the belief was starting to build, and now it's. We just talked about the apex. It is at the apex. I fully expect the Steelers to be in the Super Bowl, and all those songs are going to be awesome. We're going to party in NOLA all week. On 7's coming home.
I saw there was a couple tailgates that were moved this weekend.
Yeah, saw that too.
Around Acashore, still looked like the Angels showed up and had a good time.
Yeah, they did show up. They had a good time. The people that bring their, their pictures from home, from their house, they take them off their walls. They hang them up on the walls.
So sick.
That's just Pittsburgh Steelers tailgating football, baby.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
So sick.
That's a wall just
Good for
downtown,
you.
out in public.
Good for you guys.
Need to put the chief up there and go ahead and do that. That's awesome. Pittsburgh is a great football town. I'm so happy they have a chance to go because when they were just a good football town, obviously they're in it, they're excited, they're thankful, but the national audience isn't paying attention.
Correct.
But now that they can really go on a run, like everybody has to pay attention to Pittsburgh, and I saw Yinzer smack a Ravens fan right in the mouth.
Need that.
Yeah. Saw him smack him right in the mouth. No fight, just get the fuck, you need to relax.
That's respect because that would have been a close fist against the Browns or the Bengals. That's a slap.
Okay.
I think a slap is more disrespectful.
Well,
that's a rivalry.
I think very.
Well,
very.
depending on the end result.
Yeah. Well, Pittsburgh Steelers get a big time win, and Yinzers are obviously celebrating everywhere. This Bones guy,
man, oh man,
he is through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the moon.
Yeah.
With this Pittsburgh Steelers
throwing mud right now.
Absolutely. Speaking of, Paul Skeens at the game, having a great time.
He looks good. That was a great pea coat.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. And now he doesn't just have the mustache. I tell you what, mustache is a great look, but his facial hair is fucking top notch.
He looks like a goddamn model.
He does. He legit does.
And that pea coat was covering up. You got to remember, that dude's base is a fucking barrel.
Yeah.
Both of them. Bang. Pow.
Trunks.
2 whiskey barrels hanging off his hips.
Actually, I completely forgot. I got a picture from one of the tailgates yesterday. One of my buddies was at. That's Danny Smith, and that's who they're praying to.
That's special teams coordinator right there. And you see all that gum. That indicates every piece of gum that's in his mouth at all times. That is a concurrent gum rate, not a full gum rate. Okay? He's up for assistant coach of the year, I think, for a lot of people. And Boz going 6 for 6 yesterday and winning that game.
Thank you, Dan.
He's obviously only helping it. This Steelers team is going to be fun for people to continue to learn about. All right, let's go to the next one, shall we? This is from Gumpy. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but that was the best NFL Sunday we've had all season. Shout out to Sheamus, banger after banger after banger. I think he was on the New York Jets pregame show. Shout out to Sheamus, still doing his thing. But you're right, Gumpy. Yesterday was awesome.
Yeah, usually we get all stinkers in that afternoon slate. It was nice to have that Bills-Chiefs, and then the Sunday nighter was unbelievable. Huge comeback, and then the Chargers to win it like they did was awesome.
Steelers-Ravens lived up to the hype.
Yep.
Chiefs-Bills lived up to the hype.
Colts-Jets.
Colts-Jets played, wasn't really that hyped. Bears-Packers lived up to the hype.
Seahawks-Niners.
Seahawks-Niners, people didn't expect to be as good, especially with Geno going crazy. Geno does. And then you're right, the primetime game lives up to the hype. It was a great NFL Sunday slate, and tonight we're in for another banger.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see Sheamus back on a field. I think it'd been like a week since he wasn't at a game.
We need him at more fields.
Yeah, Notre Dame needs to just, hey, you're our mascot now.
I saw Navy lost to Tulane 35-0.
Yeah, they did. Tulane's a good football team.
Tulane's very good. I did not expect him to do. I was picking America.
Yeah. Always.
Which I saw. And
good move.
You can always respect. Army's got a big one this weekend against Notre Dame before they play Tulane in the AAC championship, and Army's got some fucking sick uniforms this weekend.
Oh yeah, I saw it just got reported.
Battle of the Bulge, I believe, uniforms. They are
really.
Awesome.
Is that real?
Yeah.
They look sweet.
Oh, let's go.
They tweeted it out within the last hour or two.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I didn't see him in depthly, but I just opened my phone. I saw it, and I was like,
Not a brownout. It looks sweet.
all right,
Look at
Okay,
this.
so they actually did.
Okay.
yeah, that's sweet.
Because we weren't joking. We were just like saying earlier how sweet it would be
Oh,
if they did
yes.
do Battle of the Bulge. That's incredible news.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. Battle of the Bulge.
Big time
Yeah.
WW2 battle. Very Band Brothers kind of showcases it. It's insane.
Walking through the woods.
Okay. Should have had a gun.
He does.
Just an American Eagle
see
just
it.
sitting there on the shoulder. How you doing? Keep it moving.
Give him 2 rifles in that picture.
Maybe 4.
Strapped to his shoulders,
Fucking
brother.
give him 4 of them. Army, exclamation point. Love that. All right, boys. Gonna be not picking against Army.
No way.
No, can't.
Picking against Tulane again, I guess.
Yeah.
For the sake of America. Well, they got Notre Dame this weekend, I guess. All right, let's go to another overreaction, shall we? It's from Peep at Peep NATO. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but if the Jaguars don't fire the whole staff by the time you go live, I'm going to drive to Jacksonville and take a shit on the deck of Shad Khan.
Come on.
You said these were bad overreactions.
I love it. This is why it's leading off. I love this one.
Peep NATO.
It's a good one.
Where's his yacht? I'm going to take a shit on it. Listen, Shad Khan, I don't think he's to blame at all. Now, granted, he's done all the hiring.
Sure.
He's obviously been a part of leading the culture, but I feel like he's invested as much as he possibly could into an NFL team and has tried to be as hands-off as possible in an NFL team. Now, maybe that's the issue. Maybe the guy that created bumpers and got bazillions of dollars off it should be a little bit more hands-on. We know his son, chief football strategist.
Knows ball.
So if your football team sucks, does the CFS have to fall on the sword before the GM and the head coach? We shall see. This Detroit football Lions team is just fucking ruining days.
It was incredible, too. I mean, the Jaguars started with the ball. They went down. They got a 57-yard field goal, 3-0, and then it was touchdown, 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 touchdown. And they could do anything they wanted. Didn't matter if it was Gibbs, Monty, St. Brown. It was everyone. It was honestly one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
Hold my dick.
Jamo's so fast.
He's
with
awesome.
with the Marshawn in there. I mean,
the line had so much time for Goff. It was
Mac Jones, though, I mean,
He
look,
spun it pretty good.
there were a couple. Ooh, that guy. That guy might still have something in the tank.
How about Mac Jones being a part of so many things that you're not supposed to be a part of? You know, that you don't want to hang any type of award up for.
After statistically the greatest college football season
all time.
After Burrow, beat Burrow's record.
Poor Jags fans. I mean, they were so getting Trevor Lawrence. He was one of those guys that was hyped, just like
This
Caleb
time last
Williams
year,
was
they were
for
first
years.
place in the AFC.
Yeah, but I mean, just the last few years, they went AFC Championship with
Blake
Bortles. Blake Bortles
The
a
boat.
few years ago. Then you get Trevor Lawrence, you get Urban Meyer, who, that was obviously split, but now it's ugly.
They're up 24-14 in that AFC Championship.
Kneel it out. Remember? That was the big deal.
Yeah.
Kneel it out.
Shit changes quick.
Urban didn't do that bad of a job looking back.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Who's going to be the next coach?
I mean, Doug Marrone didn't do that bad of a job looking back.
Mike Florio is reporting that maybe Trent Baalke, Bill Belichick kind of rekindle. And you would think we'd just be able to ask Bill, but he won't give us a fucking answer.
Bill loves Jalen Milroe, though.
No,
he loves Milroe.
He does.
He should love
Yeah.
Milroe.
Whoever's thinking about hiring me as a coach, I got an idea. Milroe. That is who we need. You ever think about AR? I love him. A lot like Jalen Milroe, now that I'm thinking about it. And Jalen Milroe, first in, last out guy. I mean, this is a no-doubter here. Sound like he was saying. He loves Milroe.
Yeah.
How could you not? That Alabama team, they have that situation in the middle of the season where everybody's wondering if they're going to go or they're going to go. Now, their strength of schedule is better than everybody. The football judgment, watching them better than everybody. And if Jalen Milroe is going to continue to just kind of do Jalen Milroe shit, I mean, they're
DeBoer's
almost unstoppable.
First Bama coach to ever win 8 games in his first year at Bama.
Attaboy, Caleb.
There it is.
A lot of people transferred out of there, too. Remember, just poach that entire roster for 2 weeks. Coach leaves, you got 2 weeks to just go ahead and take this entire fucking thing.
Good roster, too.
Yeah.
Good fishing.
Caleb Downs leaves. Yeah. And they're still good on it.
Isaiah Bond.
What, Ohio State, you guys feel good? Ohio State, you got Indiana coming up. College game days coming to town.
Yeah, big test for the Bucks. Yeah, I think people are super juiced. You kidding me? Indiana, followed by Michigan. We got Thanksgiving and holiday season. Yeah, great time of the year.
I know I was about to say, big noon game. I think everybody's pretty pumped up about it. I've heard.
Well, Michigan was always a noon game. I know this whole situation. Yeah, these noon games, people are pissed.
What is it? 6 straight, I think. 6 straight noon games for Ohio State Buckeye fans. And
yeah, well, I guess I don't hear it as loud from Ohio State fans as others.
What?
Oh, really?
Okay.
Are Ohio State people losing their mind about it as much?
I think there was a couple tweets, but obviously, like, tweets are things that can get echoed into a frenzy to get a little bit larger than maybe what everybody's feeling on boots on the ground. So I'm happy you said that. But with that being said, I think there are some people probably at Ohio State that are like, our fucking light show is sick.
I did see that tweet.
We've invested millions.
Oh, I saw that.
And millions of dollars into this light show to make this one of the premier buildings in all of sport. And because we're the cock of the walk now, every fucking week we're at noon, nobody can do it. We try to run our fireworks in the middle of the day, it don't work as good.
Can't see them.
We try to run our light show middle of the day, it doesn't work as good. Think we got a cloudy weekend coming, so we might be able to put a little bit of it. But it is, Penn State also said the same thing. Ohio State said the same thing. I wonder how big that convo is going to go in the offseason. I wonder, because it's loud.
It just makes no sense. Like, I understand there are like metrics and they've done a bunch of bullshit on why it's there, but like the best game on your slate shouldn't be at noon every single week. It just shouldn't. Like when you have a bunch of top 5 matchups, like maybe let's throw one of those at fucking 7 p.m. Like it makes no sense.
And the teams.
Yeah.
Like I know AJ will say, I don't care what time we play in or whatever, but it's like.
No, I want to play night games as well. I agree. You should have a couple night games a year in your home stadium, especially when you have an unbelievable light show that you don't get to show off.
Yeah, it's like prime time. Like that is actual. Like, hey, I thought we're doing this entire thing.
We've been waiting all day. We've been waiting it's a whole buildup of all of it, and then all of a sudden, they're actually come out to warm ups. Like, you know what it's like for those night games when there's so much buildup, and you see the first yeah, man, there's something about it.
The lights, playing under the lights is like a part of anything. You know,
you're a kid.
You don't see like heavyweight boxing mat fights happening at noon. For good reason, because it's like under the lights at night. Like that is the prime time, legitimately. And like I'm a Colts season ticket holder. It's like we have no primetime games.
Which
sucks.
Well,
hate it completely. That's what you're like aiming for, though. Like that is what you want. You want your team to be like that. So in college ball with the noon thing happening, it's very. I can see how fans would be pissed, but also Fox is like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah,
it's our best.
Yeah,
we paid billions of dollars for this.
When they get the schedule at the beginning of the season, is it like us in the NFL, is there a lot of TBD?
Yes.
TBD.
Okay.
All of it.
Because I know us, that's one of the first things you look at, how many primetime games we got. Thursday night football, bye week, obviously, but so it's just TBD after.
Big noon kick is decided kind of like.
Oh, okay, got it.
Because then CBS does 3:30, and then ESPN, ABC is the night one.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I'm excited to get over there because last hour of game day will be on field.
Nice.
Shout out to being on field. And then you just turn around after the show ends and Indiana, Ohio State's playing. It's like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is the greatest setup for us. Now, not being able to do the picks in front of the people and doing the whole thing, real bummer. And IU, Ohio State, I don't know which way I'm going.
Yeah, no, how could you?
What's the line?
I don't know.
12.
IU needs to take over the game day.
I don't know who's favored. It might be. No.
Yes, to your point.
IU needs to get over there and take over Saturday.
College game day, it's some of these schools. Some of these schools who have had it a lot, could get a little comfortable with game day being there. Game day's here, okay. There is an opportunity with how close Indiana is.
That never happens.
Indiana, we talked about this morning, not wishing for it, but just the opportunity is potentially there for Indiana fans who are very jacked up about this Indiana season. This is not real.
Once in a lifetime.
This is what's happening right now. Now they just extend Kurt Signetti or whatever for until 2032, and he said we're a powerhouse or
emerging superpower.
Emerging superpower in college football. Why would I go anywhere? I love that, but it's like we had a conversation earlier in here about like Indiana fans could potentially just be like, where are we parking? We'll figure out parking. Where are we tailgating? We can just go to game day and then just go.
Can go to the game.
Will be. There'll be a bunch of Indiana people there.
I think so.
There will.
And it's it wouldn't be the first time, obviously, that has happened, but I think Indiana understands the situation here, fans base, because how close. It's very close.
Yeah.
Like this isn't traveling.
It's 3 hours.
This is very close to get
2.5 hours.
And then the game being at noon as opposed to being at night.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to wait, like, hey, why would we drive over early and then have to wait 12 hours and then drive back? No, it's like games at noon. We head over there 6 a.m.-ish.
Yeah. You're home by 6.
We're kind of, there's a chance for that entire thing. So I'm very excited for the game day atmosphere and the game day vibe that we're going to have. And then getting down in there, that place is so cool. That fucking stadium is so cool.
You make the walk through the rotunda, right? Right down where the band comes down that ramp?
Yeah, and I don't deserve to be doing that. Every time I'm walking through there, anytime we do that at any of these stadiums, but at Ohio State, you literally make the walk, I think, that the team does, right?
Oh, yeah. It's exactly what the team does, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, I should not fucking be walking here. And there's like a line of fans, too, because they're waiting on I think.
The stadium was built like in 1908. Like, there's some history there.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not doing shit. I'm going to talk on a microphone in there. I got better seats than you guys somehow. I don't deserve it. You should not be doing that for me. But so I try to give as many. I try to run through it, get through it as fast as possible. I'm uncomfortable. We should not be able to do this. Thank you. And then get inside, and it's like, oh, thank God. And then we walk down the fucking where you guys are walking through, I think, where the band walks through. And it's like all eyes are on you as soon as you get there. Like, I do not deserve this either. Like, I wish we could go through a fucking, like a side door. Because it's like a gladiator through the people, down through the thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go talk into a fucking microphone. It is, it's a really cool setup over there. It's college ball, man. Ohio State is one of those just OG college ball places that the entire state loves them. And they're in it right now with Indiana. Hey, it's a good Indiana team, AJ. It's a good Indiana team.
Great Indiana team. What do you mean? Great team.
What's that Northwestern guy doing to Jeremiah's foot?
That's dirt.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a bit,
Didn't love that.
bit upsetting.
It was like, like an ankle lock, like a sit back on it.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we, Northwestern?
Come on.
Oh, I've heard things about you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
many things.
What'd you hear?
Well, I didn't know that was one of them.
Yeah. They love the movie Shrek.
Wrigley Field looked sweet.
It did.
Wrigley Field looked very cool with that stadium or with the field in there. Because sometimes those places.
Ohio State was in the bullpen.
Is that where they were?
Yeah, because I think it was a super long walk. Bobby told me the day before that he's like, oh, Ryan's having them dressed in the bullpen because it's such a long walk to wherever their clubhouse would be. So, yeah, whatever. I saw them make their way at halftime. They're heading down to the bullpen or whatever.
So whenever I said it looked cool, everybody in Ohio State that was actually there was like, it is not cool.
No, they loved it. No, they loved it. I think everyone loved it. I know a lot of people that actually, like, before the season were, okay, I want to go to Wrigley and watch this game. They wanted to go. But I think just like the old Minnesota, the old Metrodome, you walked up 75 stairs to get to the playing surface. So when you got there. You weren't going back and forth much. So I think he just wanted to limit that.
That's like up there in Detroit. Detroit has that long ass walk up that tunnel.
Yeah, you're right.
You remember that?
Both teams come out the same tunnel too.
Long, way up there. What's it? Houston. Houston has.
Come out the same.
Houston makes you walk a mile maybe from where the bus drops you off. You have to walk through stadium, down field, all the way down the sideline of the field, all the way up in another tunnel, and then back down a hallway. It's like, only way you can get dropped off right over here, a mile out. Sorry about it. That's what you got to do. I love those places. I think it's an advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Let's go to another overreaction, shall we? Here's from Haggle. Hashtag I don't overreact. But the Bengals are destined for failure as long as Zach and Duke are in charge. Joe Nuno ball out every week, and the rest of the team shows up with Skyline chili in their diapers. Oh, and Money Mac? Okay. He's been replaced by Evan Misfearson. Guy is fucking cooked, says Haggle. Pretty clever there.
That was good.
Misfearson out there. Anytime you're missing kicks, they're going to come for you, obviously, no matter what you've done for a program. Zach Taylor's taking a lot of heat. I saw him taking a lot of heat for a lot of decisions last night. And then Duke, obviously, he has to operate in a fashion that the Brown family will allow him to operate in. So how much is it all on them? I don't know. But was that a common sentiment there about Bengals fans?
A lot of that, because I think a lot of people, they're saying the stuff about the Brown family, like the sell the team stuff. It's like, well, guess what? The Brown family isn't going to sell the team. So, that's kind of just a non-starter. So, yeah, a lot of that stuff about Duke and mostly Zach Taylor. It's been like that all season.
Oh, and we love them, but, they won 86 yards in 4 plays.
Yeah, a lot of that, too.
Lad McConkey won bananas.
86 in Lad McConkey, we've mentioned Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson had 2 catches. Like, if you're going to zero in on somebody, it's probably just Lad McConkey there at the end when they need to get some, big plays. So, Lou Anarumo probably doesn't feel too great today either.
They played better in the second half, too. They
For
came
sure.
out the second half, played better, created some turnovers, but, you can't finish that way.
Bengals, speaking of them, I guess they're with the Cowboys on Monday Night Football.
Oh, great.
Stop that. Didn't we just watch that game?
Say why. Tell us why.
You're going to love this.
Okay, thank you, if anybody could. For those asking, the Bengals-Cowboys Monday Night Football game is not eligible to be flexed out because of all the drawings, voiceovers, and other work that has been done for the Simpsons Altcast that will air that night.
Wow.
All right, so I used to be a firm believer that Matt Groening was a time traveler, the guy for the Simpsons.
Yeah.
This kind of goes right against that. This kind of goes right against that entire thing. So I don't know how I feel about it, but nobody wants to read that shit. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody wants to watch that shit. But the Simpsons thing will be cool. There'll be a couple clips.
If he was a time traveler, he would know that it was getting flexed, and he would already have that artwork.
And he would also already know that that's not good for the Simpsons there.
Correct.
That they're part of the reason why.
Yeah.
Shitty-ass game.
Is he still a human?
Groening?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a lot of alien talk right now. I'm seeing a lot of clips.
Oh, yeah.
Too many clips coming out.
A lot of
Too many clips. A lot of underwater stuff. We need to talk about that.
Ton of underwater stuff.
Maybe we not need to go in an ocean as much. I don't think it's our land.
I agree.
This land is our land. That water's their land.
There you go.
And up in spacey, I think it's their placey. I think they're everywhere. I think, from what I'm reading.
They're amongst us.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other thing. Like, do we know if they are?
Nope.
I saw this cloud just moving.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so what
do you mean?
I've always had a thought that, what if these fuckers are just clouds? You know? Everybody's like, where's the UFO? Where's the UFO? Ah, wait, what if it just fucking decided to look like a cloud? What if it just, you know, and then just, that cloud's moving real fast. Well, it must be windy up there, and then it's just fucking, you know?
Are you saying they're?
Yeah.
I'm not saying like definitely that's the case, but it could be. Fucking
anything's possible.
Are they tornadoes?
You're talking about them being devastation to places. I mean, there's something happened in water too to some boat. I think that came out of nowhere. I mean, there's just.
Are they hurt?
When are we going to find out? I'd like to find out. And let's go shake their things, hands, whatever they got.
Shake their thing.
Hopefully.
Go shake
What
their
if they
thing.
only have a dong? What if that's it? What if
gotta
that's
shake
how
it.
they talk?
You gotta shake it.
What if it walks over 7
Yeah.
feet tall and it's just got a stick coming out of the middle of it?
You gotta shake it.
You know, I just got to walk over and just grab that.
That's just customary for them. That's customary.
Good to see you.
You got two-handed. No, you got two-handed.
Well, we don't
Shake
have
it.
big ones. We don't know. We don't
Yeah,
have
you
big
have no idea.
Some of them.
What if that is?
They probably wouldn't want to shake your hand.
What if that's their hand, dick?
Yeah, you would probably just have to go.
Yeah, rap dongs is what you're
Go
saying?
what? What do you mean?
Paul, I'll let you guys figure
Head to head?
fill in the.
What are you
blank.
talking about?
You're gonna,
I mean, you
you're gonna
can't-
dock. You're gonna
I'm
dock
not-
penises.
I'm not talking with
That'd
this.
be a pound situation.
You think we're
Yeah.
fist bump?
Oh,
right
you gotta
there.
pull your meat out and pound it. Like here you go, boom, with your tip of your meat.
Oh, we're going meet.
Are they always
Nice
hard?
to meet you.
Meet and greet.
Yeah, but what if it was to pop out a little hand at the end?
Now.
What if it does? What if it like that?
And he grabs your tip of your meat and he's like, I got you, buddy.
That'd be sick.
We don't know.
Like,
These are the questions I have to ask.
The
you.
little
Like,
hand. What's the little hand do?
Just
How's the
what,
little
what if
hand
it's
come-
just like, good to see you?
I think Austin Powers Shadow did that intent.
You're right. I mean, we need.
That
we
would
deserve-
scare the hell out of me. The little hand came out of the tip of that dude's meat.
Is it a dude?
That
We
part?
don't know. We don't know.
Person, thing, bean.
Bing. We need to know more because we're going to continue to think like this until you give us the answer.
That's right.
So fucking let us know, please.
They have biologics.
Yeah, like I said in my interview, non-biology, yeah, that's kind of the issue we're talking about. And then all this Lazar stuff's popping up now. Just to reiterate what they said in this UAP hearing, here's Lazar actually explaining what he saw in this entire thing. And it's like, all right, why did he say that in the 70s? We haven't learned it. What is the deal? Can we shake their hands? And also, do they want to fight? Because Bones is in shape.
Yeah, bingo.
Bones is in shape right now. You got your little dong with your hand sticking out. Bones is going to break him.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah. Spinning back elbow right there.
Has ever been put in a chokehold?
Yeah, what if he does do a fucking spinning kick right in the tip?
Boom.
That'd be risky.
And the thing just
melts
inside.
What if it
Like
catches
a
his
hammer.
foot?
Yeah,
A hammer to a nail inside of a deck. That's what this guy's dick just goes inside. You want to talk now? You don't even got a dick. There's a chance.
Yeah.
Is worst case scenario if that hand catches John Jones' foot and we're like, oh shit.
Well, then we know what John
Then
Jones.
we,
Yeah, no.
then we know it's over.
Worst case scenario is that we do that thing dies, and then the aliens are like, "Oh, okay, so we have to obliterate your planet." Then I didn't realize we were fighting.
Well, we shake his hands first.
Well, I think they have to showcase. Yeah, would like.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, shake their
conversation.
dong hand. Shake their dong hand first, and then see if they want to.
We're not sure if they have dong hands, but if they do, we will have to do that.
Yep.
Customary. Welcome to America.
Let's hope they.
You know, if we go to a fucking planet where it's all dogs, we assume we'll have to sniff an ass to say hello.
Exactly.
You know, if that's how it all goes. Sometimes you got to do that type of stuff to move forward. But with that being said, we will try to talk to them. But if they don't want to talk, John Bones Jones is in great shape right now. He's in great
Yeah,
shape.
Elon and like, what do you call it? Like, be the guy in between and like basically tell us what's going
Mediator?
on. Yeah.
Yeah, so Elon's one of them. We know that.
Yeah. I think he's on our side.
Got to clone John.
Jones?
Yeah, we can't just have one. We need like fucking army of Bones Joneses.
So then once you talk about the clones of them, then who is it, you know, and then who's running it, who's in control? So many questions.
There's rumors on the internet that that's where Brock Lesnar is. He's just been training for aliens.
I think I saw a picture of him pop up in and out. I think he's very jacked.
Yeah, he's training for aliens.
I think he's very jacked. Could you imagine them seeing him for the first time? What the fuck is that?
One of us.
Does that guy's arms go to the middle of his fucking shins? How does that work? And he fucking jumps up on top of the guy's shoulders. Let's get to another overreaction. We need more information. Yeah.
Brock's not shaking those dong hands. You know that.
No. Brock's not shaking dong hands.
He's fighting right off the bat.
He's not part of the shaking hands crew. He's part of the fight crew.
That's right. Call them in. Call them in.
Yep.
John Shelley, wasted talent, golf. This guy's so good at golf, just fucking can't put it together. This guy's got like 13 holes, 14 holes, great golf. Puts a snowman on the fucking scorecard. One hole carries into the next. He's got a 9. All of a sudden, he's not in the tournament anymore. John Shelley, if he could piece together 18 holes,
oh my God,
3 straight days, this guy's life would be so different.
Guy can't putt. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, flat stick will get figured out at some point, but then he can't drive. This guy, if it's not one thing, it's another. And that's John Shelley golf, baby. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but the Niners are dead. Shanahan's the most overrated coach in the NFL, and the world is finally starting to see it. They'll never win with him as the head coach. Jeez Louise.
A lot more of this, too.
Yeah, you're right. I'm seeing a lot of Shanahan slander now.
Really?
A lot of
which I didn't
NFL's
think.
figured out his offense slander.
Really?
People are not happy with
Slow down.
There's no good head coaches, dude. Like, Niners fans do this every year. I don't think you know how good you have it with Shanahan.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good point, because if your team doesn't win, we need to blame somebody. And the head coach is, we would assume, in charge of strategy and over there, play call, offense, idea, roster construction. You know, it's a lot over there with Shanahan on board. So if they don't win, I guess it does fall at his feet. And John Lynch as well. They've made so many moves. They have so many, like, did Schefter tell us it's a very different team than last year? I was like, really? I don't.
Bill.
No, it's Bill.
Bill?
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, Greenlaw's not back on defense. We know that. I think that has a bigger impact than we might think.
There are some guys on the line.
He's still there. Kinlaw's gone.
He lost a child, so I think he missed his game as well.
No Ayuk.
Hufanga had,
Hufanga, yeah.
He's been banged up.
Yeah, kind of a different.
Yeah, I guess so.
A little bit.
And their offense, they just haven't, it's always, they've never had their foot. Yeah, Kittle, C-Mac just getting back in the fold. Ayuk's out for the year. Jennings had a big game, but that continuity.
I haven't given up hope on him.
Nah, they'll be in the playoffs, and
How
then
long's
you don't
Bosa?
want to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Bosa all right?
being hurt is bad.
Groin?
Hip.
Hip. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hopefully that's not a thing that just continues throughout the rest of the season.
All right, let's go to another overreaction, shall we? This one's from way out. This guy lives way out.
Way out there.
Take this road, turn right on dirt road, take a left, and you just go way out. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but the Bills are a wagon. I can't believe some dipshits picked them to finish third in the division. Coleman, Kincaid, and Milano are coming back. And Josh Allen is a fucking junkyard dog. No one, and I mean no one, circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Amen, AJ. They do look like a goddamn wagon. And the way they showed up for that CBS kickoff show and then how they show up for games, that's a real home field advantage. Josh Allen's balling. I love this Buffalo Bills team.
Yeah, Matt Milano. So I know they opened up his window. He's been practicing. Do we know when he's going to be back on the field?
I do not think so.
Either way, the fact that he's coming back is huge for them. I think he's a stud. He's a monster on their defense, and they're already playing very well. And I mean, Josh Allen's Josh Allen. What are you going to do? The guy's awesome.
He's undeniable, Josh Allen. He really is.
And he's smart too. Like, hey, yeah, cool. This is a big win. We know. Like, this is a great win. Whatever. Let's see if we can beat him when it actually matters.
And he's not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
Which
it's the biggest difference.
I love.
It's huge.
I absolutely love for them. Good luck to the Bills and way out. Let's go to the next one, shall we? This is from at Ratty Buh. Free Lamar Jackson. Hashtag I don't want to overreact, but John Harbaugh has got to go. Gets outclassed year in and year out against Mike Tomlin. Same lame-ass excuses after every loss. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Justin Tucker is washed. Time to take Old Yeller behind the shed and put him out of his misery. Jeez Louise.
Uh-oh.
Justin Tucker miss a few kicks, take him out behind the shed and fucking murder him.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens are the real deal, brother. Their fans are real.
Yeah.
Very passionate. John Harbaugh, he's won a Super Bowl in the past.
Yes.
Now, can he do it with this particular team? Always loses to the Steelers, feels like. What's the record in the last 9?
8-1. Steelers' record is 8-1.
So sometimes you just got him, right? Isn't that a case? Sometimes some teams just got him, and I guess if you're the Ravens, you just hope you don't run into the Steelers again in the AFC playoffs?
That's the hope, yeah. Let's not lose to them when it's an elimination game. That's the whole thing. But I still like the Ravens. I really do.
Me too. Great game. Rivalry game. Don't think you can project the rest of the year because of what happens in the Steelers game for both teams. I don't think either team can say, hey, this means we're going to do this or this means we're going to do this. It's just 4 quarters, smash mouth football.
Hell yeah.
My town hates your town. Your town hates my town. My town has beat you a lot, and we're going to continue to do that.
They do have something going on that was very uncharacteristic. They are the most penalized team in the NFL, and it's not even particularly close.
Damn.
Most penalized, Tucker's missing kicks. Obviously, the defense secondary.
Not great.
Yeah. So it's not a lot of Baltimore shit happening over there. People are mad at Harbaugh for it. Is that Harbaugh?
Tucker did. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, there's that likely play, too, the 2-point conversion
Yeah,
people are
there you go.
talking about now where, like, Aguilar's lined up, likely comes over, basically, like, moves him off the line. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if it's, like, they had a different, like, play in one of their heads or if likely just put himself there instead of Aguilar, because AQ show plays too where Aguilar is lined up kind of as like a tight end. He's blocking and likely kind of like slid in there, and then the whole play was kind of fucked from there.
Isn't it crazy when you win?
Yeah, right here.
Everything's great. Who's this from so I can give credit to?
But then Lamar's looking to throw it, or either, and they look like they're both setting the edge.
That's what I mean. It's like a weird.
There's nobody out.
It's likely supposed to leak out or something. I don't know.
Idea.
Derrick Henry not on the field. Who'd that come from there? Forget it. They probably just stole it from the NFL anyway. All right, let's go. Sarah Ellison, great work, Sarah. Way to find it.
Tucker did make I think it was a 54-yarder after he missed those 2. And he was kicking on a different field than Boz. So, like, you got to give him credit.
All right, let's go to another overreaction, shall we? A word on life. A word on life. Hashtag I don't overreact, but the Detroit Lions aren't just playing football. They're waging war. Goff is a war machine. Offensive line, fucking juggernauts. Defense, Terminators. They're not the best. They're the fucking apocalypse. Hashtag one pride is no longer just a slogan. It's a statement. Wow. How about you, Foxy?
Ooh.
Yeah, I love this. Couldn't agree more. They have broken so many team records at this point. I can't even keep track of them. But their schedule after Thanksgiving will get really interesting. Packers, Vikings, Niners, Bills are in there, so it's going to be very, very fun to see what they do in that stretch. Just got to stay healthy because losing hands alone, that's going to hurt a little bit.
Oh, yeah, broken arm, right?
Yeah, but he'll be back for the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, they said he should be back in time for the playoffs. Who knows with recovery and what it actually is, especially when you're talking about broken bones. Hope he's okay. That happening, and then what happened to Hutch, incredibly unlucky to a couple of your defensive stalwarts.
Yeah.
After Thanksgiving, you need to look at?
Yeah. Because it goes Colts and then Bears.
Okay. Yeah, this weekend. When's Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's next Thursday?
Yeah, next Thursday.
Okay, so let's worry about the week before Thanksgiving, too. Okay? Let's make sure we're doing that.
Packers, Vikings, Niners.
Trap game.
Bills.
Trap game? No.
Lions don't do well against quarterbacks that can run. We all know that.
With AR, they look different. With AR playing like he does, legit, like I view them differently.
And AR in the film, in the meeting.
Learn his lesson.
Everything. Yeah. He's the best version of himself, too. Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
For the Lions?
Run dudes
for
over.
the Colts.
What?
Yeah.
What?
The Lions are so dominant. They're going to come to Indianapolis. There's going to be a lot of Lions fans because we know how that goes.
No.
Especially in recent memory.
No.
And there's a chance they get another 50
Oh,
burger.
mama, I'm in fear for your life from the long arm of the law. You know the law is? Anthony Richardson.
Hell yeah.
And the Detroit Lions need to be running from it come Sunday.
So I actually saw tickets have gone up in price because so many Lions fans want tickets to come to.
Oh, is that how you saw it? No.
That's how I saw it.
Ticket prices went up because AR is the best AR has ever been. That's why.
We'll see.
You guys have no idea what's about to happen in Lucas Oil. And the line has?
I mean, that'd be nuts.
I believe I saw we are minus 7.5.
Wild card spot still on the line for us?
Yeah, everything's out in front of them.
7.5.
out in front.
Then we got to buy, I think.
Yep.
Leave it all on the field, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Taking Thanksgiving off.
Oh, no, you got New England.
Oh, that's right.
Can we see our schedule, please? Because we Colts got left here.
Lions betting Super Bowl favorites.
Good
now,
schedule.
Right?
Yeah.
Lions, Patriots, bye. There we go, boys. Got 2 games and you take a break.
Yeah, Broncos is your Super Bowl.
Need you to
right
win
there.
that Broncos game so the Dolphins can sneak in the playoffs.
We need to win that Broncos game because we are trying to sneak into the playoffs, bud. We're also trying to win the AFC South still, depending upon what happens tonight.
Yeah.
We are still very much.
I don't even. I mean, I guess no matter what, you're kind of screwed. But whoever gets that 4 seed has to play the Ravens week 1, probably, or the first weekend of the.
We're not worried about nothing.
Playoff.
We're getting into the dance. We're not worried.
I got you. I got
cross
you.
that bridge when you come to it.
You better hope
Yeah,
Cutler
definitely.
isn't still starting.
If we were to win the AFC South, Tommy DeVito, I know, week 17, he's going to be seasoned. He's going to have it all figured out.
Yeah, seasoning.
Well, listen, Tommy Mozzarella is a great story.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. But when Cutlich has to play against Anthony Richardson, there's a real difference in what the hell's going on here. Just remember that. That Week 17 game, we're going to be talking about the Colts still in it to win the AFC South. So we got to figure out how we take Tommy Cutler serious is going to be the question. That's what we're going to be talking about Week 17.
Yep. I mean, if he's still in there, could be Drew Lock in there.
Could be Daniel Jones.
No.
Yeah, DJ might be
Probably
back.
not. They're going to save that. Make sure they save
23 million?
23 million. It won't be.
Oh, okay.
No, I said it was strictly a football decision. You can't
Oh, it's
do
not
that.
because of the 23 million
Can't do
injury
that.
guarantee?
Not an
No.
injury guarantee.
Yeah.
No, it's
This isn't a Derek Carr situation. Why don't you just stay home?
they kicked him out of the building. Get out. How about this? How about this Saints team? How about this Saints team?
Coach
Pretty
Riz.
awesome.
That's Riz football.
Did he tear
Did he
up
poop?
the? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Had
I should
to.
ask him.
Wait till they get the Rizzler in there.
Let's call him.
Were they home? Yeah, they were home. Browns.
His legs didn't go numb this game, at least.
MVS.
What do you mean?
Last few weeks.
Where's this guy?
Cooking.
He has green text, so
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
It's like, actually.
don't trust anybody. Obviously.
Just construction phone. Surprised he doesn't have a ring back to him.
It was cool to see Taysom Hill.
Dude, Taysom Hill shit. That was cool, wasn't it? Throwing, catching, running.
Where's he been?
Hanging out.
Eating.
I don't think he's
Eating
answering.
weights.
Yeah. He might be bringing the boom in front of the mirror.
What if he answered? Taking a dump.
Yeah, he might be waiting on him.
On a Zoom with the Rizzler. How do we get you? How do we get you down?
We gotta do one of these. We gotta do one of these. We gotta do one of these.
Me and you.
I guess Little Costco said the Riz's actual name.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
Damn near
Oh,
ripped his
no,
throat out.
no.
Let's go to another overreaction, shall we? Kyle in Cleveland. Hashtag I don't want to overreact. But Big Dick Bo Nix is the truth. If this team makes the playoffs with a $50 million anchor tied to their ankle, I can't wait to see what the Broncos can become in the next few years on. Fuck waiting for Arch. We go with Bo. Hashtag Broncos country. Congrats to Kyle in Cleveland, who's a Denver Broncos fan, and amen. What Sean Payton's doing over there is creating a winner. Remember, had to have full buy-in from ownership whenever he decided to do what he did with Russell Wilson after they paid him the amount of money that they paid him before Sean Payton got there. He completely revamped that entire building, that entire team, and said, listen, I can make a winner if you let me. If you let me make a winner, I can make a winner. It's going to cost us more money than anybody else in the history of the NFL. But if you let me do my thing, we'll be able to win. They're doing that. Congrats, Sean. Congrats, Bo. Congrats to Denver. And thank you for all the hashtag I don't want to overreact, but tweets. That man is on the Houston Texans -7 tonight. D-Butch and I are on the Dallas Cowboys +7. I think all of us would say, though, this is not one to bet on. This is one to just kind of make a pick against. We have no idea why the spread is what it is. We have no clue what Cooper Kush is going to be able to do. We have no idea if C.J. Stroud's going to be able to be protected from Micah Parsons in a primetime game. We don't have a clue what's going to happen, but we do know Week 11 should end with some fireworks. This game's either going to be complete ass, and we can make fun of it, or it's going to be electrifying, and we can say Week 11 was the best weekend by far of the NFL season.
Hell yeah.
So let's enjoy this evening. Manning Cast on ESPN2. AJ, great work today, pal. Great work. Can't wait to get over to Columbus, your city.
Boom. It's going to be sweet, man. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Probably a nice, awesome, crisp fall day.
I already got a text, I think, from Brocio that said, he said it's going to be freezing on Friday.
Okay.
Friday.
Freezing. I don't know about freezing.
Friday is high of 44 with rain.
Yeah. He said 33 to 43 is what this one says here.
That was like last time. Remember last time it was rainy and cold when we were there.
Crop, absolute crop. We got to figure out what
Football
we're going to do.
weather.
The thought was
Football
to potentially take show there, because you're there, so we don't know what to do. We'll figure it out. We're not going to do that.
Just let me know. I'm good, whatever.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that one right there. Maybe it's you and me standing next to that thing at that table.
Mm-hmm.
Me and AJ just standing for 3 hours with you guys back here.
Arm wrestling.
Maybe jostling
Yeah.
like those aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those aliens right there. Maybe we'll figure it out. Can't wait to get to Columbus, legitimately. But that game day crowd, I'm excited to see what it is.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how it works, because Ohio State has hosted so many game days. So many. And we're lucky
They're pumped.
to be doing
People
it.
are pumped, though. People are juiced.
Not the Michigan game. No. Still a noon one, though. Still a noon one.
Which is better for game day.
It's better for
That's
better
what
for
I mean.
game day. Better
It's good for those players. Good for the players. You get a good home win. You get to experience college for a night.
I know you say that, and
I say that as but that's one tiny part of it. And they're like, this is kind of cool. I'm home and it's 4:15. I get to watch the rest of the games and do what I want.
As somebody who was such a low part of a totem pole that my opinion doesn't matter, I fucking hated noon games. We need to at least feel as if this one's
Because you go up for warm-ups at 10:40 and there's not a lot of juice out there.
Kicking, it's like 9 a.m. I'm out there. I'm out there at
True.
9 a.m. for these things. There's nobody out there. I'm not a morning person naturally to begin with anyways. The music's crap because who's running it? Who knows? It's an empty stadium. And it's like, okay, we had more juice at practice yesterday than we do today. And it's like, my job is to not fuck this whole thing up. We got to wait. Hey, let's
Here we go.
Let's wake up a little bit here, buddy. Can we get some of those? That's but obviously Ohio State, Indiana, you don't have to do that because it's a big one and the vibes are high. But I can see why Ohio State people would be like, so because we're good, we don't get to have night games anymore. All right, sweet. My kids an opportunity to see a fucking night game at the Horseshoe. Don't you think? Don't you think that is this entire generation's not even going to get a chance to experience the greatness of the stadium? Why? Because the big corporate fat cats want to have this. Like that is how people at Penn State were talking about it. I assume people at Ohio State are doing the same exact thing. It's still, college football season's awesome. It's electrifying. Indiana, Ohio State having the weight that it has and the gravity around it that there is. I think Oregon is guaranteed pretty much to go to the Big Ten championship.
They are, yeah.
They just have
So
one.
now who else? Is it the Hoosiers?
Who?
We find out this weekend. All right, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life, like our friends at Dude Wipes. I need to take another thing from my mouth. Starting to roll again.
Yeah, that's a long recovery, man. I had all 4 of mine taken out in high school. It's serious.
It's just annoying. It's just like an annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's right.
Does it feel like a big hole? Does it feel weird, really weird, like there's a big old painful hole?
Yeah, so I wasn't able to really get there because of the amount of swelling there was before, and I wasn't able to open my mouth. Now I'm able to open my mouth a little bit, and I can feel it, but I think my tongue's doing too much feeling now.
Yeah, it goes over there constantly.
Yeah, so now it's like almost doing too much in there. I did not know what I was signing up for, I think, whenever
It was a big tooth, though. That picture of that tooth, that was a big. Actually, no, you had it. I think it was. Is that the office? I think I saw it sitting on. Yeah, that thing is huge.
Yeah, it's a big tooth. And
Got some big old. Those roots. What is that? The bottom of that? Yeah. Gosh.
Roots.
Good for you.
Those are roots.
Yep.
Good for
Strong
you,
teeth.
man.
No cavities either. I haven't been to a dentist in 15 years. No cavities.
Big win.
Other than a tooth completely.
That's going to happen. You charge that to the game.
Part of it.
Much cleaner teeth right now, though. Like I look, I'm like, oh,
Nice.
they do look pretty good. Oh, that wasn't work.
Maybe there is reason to go to the dentist.
Exactly. Exactly. And maybe in like 3 days, if this stops hurting, I'll be like, yeah, that was definitely worth it. But up until
It stopped.
it has been a lot of, why did I do that? I should have just kept, because at least I could eat and drink. I couldn't have ice cream, which is a bummer with that tooth. Now I can have ice cream, which is sweet. But that's like basically the only. That's basically
the only trade-off.
The only trade-off has been this thing, because with my old tooth, that big-ass one, I could open my mouth, I could talk, my shit wasn't swollen, saying, talk like this sometimes. I mean, we're going through it. Every day there's an opportunity to get better, though. That's
true. That's right.
Hell yeah.
Adversity actually makes you better.
It does.
This pain in my mouth is going to make me a better human going forward, because I'll remember how much this hurts when my mouth feels good. And I'll be worrying about some little thing. And I can think back, like, hey, you remember when you couldn't fucking open your mouth?
Yeah.
And you're a professional talker?
Yeah.
You remember that? That was a shitty ass time. I'll be like, oh yeah, it was. And then boom, perspective is put right back into place. Let's do that every day. Could be dead, never forget it. You're alive, but are you living? Go live and experience something live. Shout out to SeatGeek. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice might change your life like Dude Wipes. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.